โลโลโลโลโลโลโลโลโลโลโลสวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับเฮ้ยวัสดุเฮ้ยวัสดุมาครับวันดีบล็อกโคลี่นะครับบล็อกโคลี่บล็อกเด็กแล้ววันดีบินโทด้วยครับคู่แรกเจนจีเนาะคู่สองเป็นน้องชิมครับคิงเงินใช่ครับเอาแต่หัววันนะคู่สองจะได้ดูสเกลแล้วนะครับสเกลสปอนจ์พี่ไม่รู้จักแคยูนว่ะแคยูนนี่คือเป็นดาวรุ่งครับเป็นดาวรุ่งแคยูน ADC คนใหม่ของน้องชิม แต่คู่แรกน่าจะโดนเมื่อวานฝั่งของทีมบาลอนนี่แพ้หมดเลยนำไปแล้ว2 แต้มเกมได้เสียได้บวก3วันนี้เจจีเราชนะ 2-0 ครับเพื่อดึงแต้มกลับมาครับแล้วก็น้องชิมก็ต้องชนะครับแล้วเดี๋ยวทีวันจัดให้ครับในวันศุกร์นี้เจอกับฮาวาไลจัดให้อยู่แล้วครับจัดให้งามๆครับ อันนี้เชื่อได้ไหมครับอะไรอ่ะแปรโพสทำนายผลการแข่งขันล็อกครับใน LCK CUP วันที่15วันพฤหัสบดีจะเลือกฝั่งไหนเหรอเลือกเจนจีเอาว่าเจนจีกับดงชิมเป็นกลุ่มบาลอนพอดีครับก็คือกลุ่ม T1 ครับขอบคุณนะครับขอบคุณ X Liquid ด้วยครับทาคุสโยตะกี้ไม่ได้เปิดครับหมึกพอเหรอวันนี้ยันเช้าวันนี้ต้องขออนุญาตเดี๋ยวต้องลงสตรีมอีกแล้วยังทำคลิปไม่เสร็จครับแต่ว่าเมื่อวานคืบหน้าไปเยอะครับต้องทำให้เสร็จครับวันนี้คือเพราะว่ามันทำครั้งแรกด้วยหลายๆอย่างด้วยระบบด้วยการเซฟรีเพย์ต่างๆมันแบบทำครั้งแรกมันเลยแบบใช้เวลาในการศึกษาเยอะอยู่ครับพอศึกษาจนเสร็จทำทุกอย่างครบเรียบร้อยก็ทำไม่ทันครับเมื่อวานเดี๋ยววันนี้ต้องลงสตรีมไปทำคลิปต่อโอเควันนี้เคนก็ถล่มอีกแล้วว่าก็เป็นกำลังใจให้กับผู้สูญเสียด้วยครับมันอะไรที่แบบแย่เหลือเกินนะแย่มากเลยDRX Fighting DRX Fighting
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the LCK Cup here at the beautiful Chijijik Lol Park. I'm Atlas, joined by Wolf. and we are ready to get into day two's games, hoping that things are a little bit more competitive than our second series last night, but maybe on par with what we saw in our DNS versus KT match, which did go to 3 games, which was surprising to some, given the fact that when they were DNF, they didn't do very much winning, and KT were our world's runners-up.
GENG proved a lot with this roster that is unchanged moving into the 2026 LCK CUP and LCK season, but they haven't proved it as recently as a lot of our other teams since they did not.
They did terribly at the Kesper Cup.
Yeah, I
ผม
I
อยู่
haven't
แถว
seen the
แถว
official
สมุทรสาครด้วยไง ได้ยินเสียงฮอบินไปมาไม่อยู่
today.
Oh, what? Really?
Show me
yeah.
mid lane.
A Lloydless day? I wouldn't have shown up if I had have known.
Sorry,
However, I'm here now. I will stay. Do not worry, as we do have GENG taking on DRX in our very first matchup of the day. Later on, we do have Nongshim versus BNK FearX, but that is going to be our second best of 3. Let's focus on our first to see whether DRX
พี่ยอมผมทอมาเชียร์
can
GENG
do
มันเฟดครับ
something, you know, 2022
มันเฟดครับ ไม่ได้ยอมครับ
and take their first game here
มาครับผมกับ
2026.
GENG
So
ครับ
the
ก็ไล
big
น์อัพ
change
เดิมครับ
for GENG and really the only
แล้
major
วก็
change here is that Ryu has moved over from BNK now
พี่วันก็ต้อง
to
เชียร์
GENG.
GENG ครับ
Really quite heralded as one of the best coaches at the second half of 2025 to give them that run to playoffs where Raptor was popping off and they had those Nefiri drafts and they figured out their identity. We'll see what happens with this roster.
เวลาพี่
because
ขั
I
บ
think it's
ผ่า
a
นไอ้
completely different beast. I
ก่อ
think
สร้าง
these
เนี่ย
players
แบบ
have strong opinions about draft and Ryu and they may take
แม่
some
ง
time
แบ
to
บว่า
completely
ใน
gel
ใจแม่งแบบ
here.
อยากจะวิ่ง
But
ให้
this
เสร็จๆเร็ว
roster is in the
ๆแต่ว่าวันนี้
perfect
ได้
space,
ดู
I think,
คลิปวิดีโอ
for Ryu to
ที่แบบ
experiment right
มัน
now
ถล่ม
because
อะ
they already have that
คันที่วิ่งเร็วดันไปโดน
last
แซง
year.
แซงเพื่อไปโดน
He's
โอ้
gonna come in
โห
and give
แบบ
some advice, and we're
โคตร
still
ดวง
figuring
อะ
out
โคตร
this
ดวงแบบ
patch right now
แย่
as well here on 26.1. So
คือ
it's a really good
ก็อยากจะรีบ
time
ไป
here
จาก
for
ตรงเนี้ย
Ryu to
แล้วก็
join
แซ
and
ง
start
พ
the
อแซง
season
ปุ๊บ
fresh.
โดน
Yep, I really hope that he has some more interesting drafts prepared as well. There was a lot of like, let's do some scaling
DRX
majors with tanks and
มี
stuff,
ป่า
and it
ใหม่
was just
ค
a
รับ
bit boring. And so hopefully
เลนล่างครับที่มาจากนงชิโม
2026 is
จิ
going to
ว
be a better year and a better one for DRX as well. As you can see, a couple of new junglers here in Vincenzo and Willa. We've already seen Vincenzo a little bit during the Kesper Cup, and honestly, surprisingly great. I'm not going to lie, this guy is really exciting. Gio, we know a little bit of an unknown quantity.
เมื่อวานอะ
He was great on Nongshim,
แอบ
and
เสีย
he was
ดาย
not so great on
เดียน
Nongshim
ซูเปอร์
at the
อยู่
same
คือ
time,
จะชนะอยู่
and
แล้ว
we'll just see whether we get the great version or the less.
And not to forget Willer, of course, who is a very known quantity here in the LCK and was for a while one of the best junglers when Live Sandbox back in the day was in top 3 in the LCK. He took a hiatus, played in Challengers for a year, and now he's back here and he will be starting today with the DRX lineup. And this is going to be a David and Goliath story here. And GENG, their name starts with G, they're Goliath. And this one, DRX starts with D. It kind of lines up, right? And you look at this bottom lane where the meta has really quite clearly been about. And laning is so important. I feel like so many of our games yesterday were decided by the pure 2v2 lanes. Not even necessarily matchup, but your lane ability. The matchup can, of course, put you on that teetering edge where you have to play it really carefully. You have to play really safe if you're on the losing side of the matchup. And if you make even one mistake, the entire game can be shaped by it. And it's Ruler Enduro against you, who's historically been one of the weaker laners, better with scaling picks like Smolder in the past. You know, his Zarya we've seen do pretty well when he gets to the late game. But you have to play 100% from really 30 seconds in. Those minions are going to be crashing a lot faster here in 2026. And Dio is going to have to tighten up his play here a little bit with Ondil, I think, if they're going to have any hopes of toppling GENG tonight.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that the bottom lane is going to be one of the bigger tests. That being said, UCal versus Chovy, this takes me back, Wolf. 2018 LCK Finals in summer. Oh my God, one of the greatest best of fives of all time. UCal was able to win then. I feel like every time we have this matchup, I have to mention it. It is a different time now.
ถ้าหัวหน้าห้องแพ้ก็คือจบละ
UCal has not necessarily been the greatest. We did see in the season opening some definitely, like, his celebration level was much higher than anyone else in Lowell Park, but I just don't know whether that's going to be enough to get them across the line, because you were talking about the bottom lane being a problem. I think everything is a problem right now for DRX.
Yeah, it is going to be a challenge, to say the least. And let's see what their approach to this meta is going to be, because if I had to guess, and if I were on the DRX side of things, I would say let's not try to fight fire with fire and try to play through mid or top instead of trying to play through the bottom lane and try to get advantages elsewhere. Try to play through Rich in a side lane, for example, especially if Keen picks a tank early. Try to win that matchup, try to get that top quest completed, and maybe just try to bowl GENG over with bruisers rather than trying to fight fire with the bottom lane 2v2 experience. Protect it a little bit. You don't want to just give Ruler Lucian or Aphelios or something like that early on in this best of 3, but I do think that trying to pick Lucian yourself, for example, as you, is probably not going to be the way you want to go about this.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a few maybe interesting strategies being employed to try and dodge playing some regular League of Legends. And I think it does start in the draft. I think that's going to be a very important part. And also, having a big smile on Jiu's face. You can see already starting off with pretty high spirits. I thought that there was going to be a clever little pan when Rich was on screen before, putting his eye drops in, and he kind of missed. Looked a little bit like he'd been crying, but we did watch him put the eye drops in. If we had have panned immediately afterwards, he could have just been pre-crying, which wouldn't have been a great sign. However, we know now that it was just eye drops. So everything is absolutely fine in the DRX camp, as we can see here. Andel looking cool, calm, and collected. Which I think is definitely going to be a good thing, as Ryu looking schmick in that suit.
Yeah, he always does, and he's gone from, you know, one kind of more yellow team to a golden team in terms of, you know, who he's standing behind here. So it does end up looking like it just fits for him. I also really have to say I like the new DRX jerseys. They're pretty unique, and they're not quite as mint as the D+ jerseys were a few years back, but it's a very different look for the blue DRX, and looks very shiny.
Yeah, I feel like it looks more athletics, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of our other teams a little bit more like cool and stuff like that, whereas I feel like DRX, these are athletes that are you know, about to join the game, which, as we can see now, based on the clients, we are getting ready.
A DRX pick blue side?
Select. Yeah, and yeah, their first selection was first pick, and that does mean that DRX now has the choice of side, I assume blue, and there it is. This is, as it was coined yesterday, you know, probably 90% going to be what we're going to see after first selection does come on through. And it is happening once again. So DRX will be on the blue side, however, they will be picking second. It's going to be, once again, one of these very confusing draft scenarios. Now, let's get into it in a backwards sense.
Everyone thinks about Baron Pit and Dragon when they think about blue side and red side.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
But when you think about the bottom lane and how bottom lane 2v2s work, if you're on blue side and you have the winning bottom lane, you can threaten
คะแนนแต่ละกลุ่มมีผลยังไงก็เป็นผลเยอะเลยครับก็ทำให้ถ้าเกิดกลุ่มที่ชนะก็จะมีโอกาสผ่านเข้ารอบเยอะครับกลุ่มที่แพ้ก็จะต้องไปเล่นรอบเพลย์อินส่วนใหญ่แล้วก็ไปวัดกันครับไปสู้กัน
Yeah, I wonder what the first pick is going to be if it isn't aiming for a Malphite. I know that, you know, it has been played a little bit
กลุ่มชนะก็ไป play off เลย
season, but we know that everyone was kind of spamming it beginning of the year. It's been pretty overpowered. As the Varus going to be taken away here from Jiu, one of his sort of like stealth favorite picks. I know that we do like to see him on hyperscaling champions, but this is one that he can actually go toe-to-toe in the early game on. I actually really like that ban from GENG, because that is going to be where they punish hard, right? And Jiu is not going to be able to scale his way into this.
We've seen a pretty jungle-focused draft here overall, but Azir and Orianna are up. Chovy gets his pick here, but it'll likely just be a trade, and with that Poppy ban, that is going to be the case. So see if they want to grab the Orianna or the Azir, and the Azir is so strong on this patch right now. I mean, I feel like I've said that for the last, like, I don't know, the whole time I've been here.
Yeah, it's been many years.
He was gone for like half a year, and that was it. Otherwise, he's been first pickable pretty much the entire time.
Obviously, Riot missed him a lot when he was gone. Like, never again. We're holding on to you for as long as possible. As Yunara and the Xin Zhao going to be locked in here. The Orianna was a consideration, but they decided in the end not to go for it. Pretty standard pickups here. And now GENG, what is it going to be? Is Canyon going to be playing something interesting in the jungle? Or is it like, imagine if they just locked Skana and Cassandre?
เมื่อวานก็เจอเอสเรียลกับคาม่าจัดการไปนะอุ้ยตัวนี้แคนเนอร์เล่นดีครับ
แพดดิออน Alistair that's been pretty strong with the Yunara. They grabbed the Xin Zhao, which has really fallen out of favor so far on patch 26.1, but it's a relatively safe pick here. Pantheon as a flex can be played in the bottom lane. We saw it crush an Alistair Yunara lane just yesterday, but could also be played in the jungle. And they'll grab the Corki, which is going to give you a lot of power there. It's one run of Ruler's best in the bottom lane. And since they didn't need to get the Orianna just yet, since the Azir was already locked, that'll be the round out here for DRX.
Well, let's see what GENG are going to finish this off with. Thankfully, UCal doesn't need to worry about being LeBlanc'd like Roma did yesterday. He, in fact, is already in a matchup against the Azir, and it's
ยัง
one
พูดถึง
that
วันนี้เลยเมื่อวานที่
Oriana has
โอ
done
เรียนา
decently
โดน
well,
เลอบองของโช
in
เม
the
เกอร์
past,
ระ
so
เบิด
it shouldn't
ระ
be
เบิ
too
ด
much
ค
of
รับ
an issue. Having a look at some of these bands to come through next.
Could be support focused here. You know, you could take away the Bard, for example, if that's something you're concerned about. Anything that gives you a better chance to survive through this Corki lane, I think is going to feel good. Cassante is taken away instead here, however, first.
Yep. I actually think, yeah, the Keen Sante is certainly a good one to remove. We've actually seen Cassante have a lot of success, especially in the laning phase. Seen like almost solo kills and things like that, even in the Rumble matchup and stuff like that. So it's certainly looking all right so far this season.
Lulu makes a ton of sense.
พี่กิฟต์ GENG 20โดน200ครับเฮ้ยเอาว่า GENG สู้ๆครับ GENG Fighting
They'll take away a second tank here in the Scion.
Yeah.
And that is really interesting to see. We've seen tanks still be relevant on this patch worldwide, but seeing a lot more aggressive picks instead.
GENG
Duro is
Fighting
like, I think he needs a haircut.
Yeah,
I can't see his eyes right now.
Yeah, he's getting a little long. So am I. I haven't got my haircut in a really long time.
Starting to look like an anime character, you know?
Yeah, he's getting close.
I don't know which one.
If he leans up slightly, like the shine on his glasses.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
There's the ban on the Bard here by GENG.
All right, so Brad has been gotten rid of. Gio now with first look, and it will be the Alistair taken away.
I mean, this makes sense when they ban the Bard and the Lulu. You're like, all right, well, those are the ones I was most worried about. Karma doesn't pair as well with the Corki, and I think they need a little bit more engage here. Now, this could still just be Pantheon in the bottom lane. It looks like that's kind of the expectation here for DRX. We saw this exact matchup yesterday, as mentioned before. They Pantheon into the Alistair, and it looks like Renekton is going to be where Keen goes. Good old classic GENG, the Renekton, the Azir.
Yeah, I mean, at least this does stuff in the mid game, right? It's not like the full scaling mega tank, you know, at least Keen can sink his teeth into some stuff. Pun absolutely intended. Duro, are we going to be playing Pantheon, or are we going to be picking a support? That is the question here. Could be something interesting for Canyon. Just lock Nidalee, you know, just have some fun. It could be just like Renekton. Never mind, it's Nami.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's a ranged support.
เอเดตันกับนามิ
Oh
ครับ
my god, Duro's teaching Ruler
อยู่ใน
how
เทีย
to
ร์ลิ
play
สต์พี่เลยตอน
Nami
นี้
after he ran it down in the season
Did
opening.
run it down a little bit. Now, okay, this is something I didn't think we were going to see this early on in the season. The Cannon is actually having a great time as one of the best champions actually with the Gunblade in the top lane. And when you have the range advantage into a melee who's going to look to be a bruiser, look to be a big tool to lock down the 80 carry, you're going to have to get through Cannon. The Gunblade is actually be relatively valuable.
เคนก็เป็นหนึ่งตัวที่ตอนนี้แต่เนี่ยเทียร์ลิสต์ KS หมดเลยตอนสองตัวเนี้ย
A lot of solo queue Gunblade being played
KS
for
บวก
Cannon in the top lane. This is also
แต่ว่า
a
ใน
favorite
ในแข่ง
of
ไม่น่าเอา
Bridges.
อีกนายไปหรอก
look at DRX's draft here, and I think
แต่ในแรงว่าเอาอีกนายไปไง
with the bans we had on the Lulu
มันก็เลยแบบ
and the Bard, the Alistair feels
เถื่อน
okay. The Nami isn't going to crush it as hard. I think that lane is definitely playable. We get to a mid game where Gio can finish his quest without finding himself 1,000 gold behind against Ruler, because that just tends to happen. But this draft could work here for DRX.
Yep.
It is, of course, GENG. It is Keen on one of his all-time best picks. And they did get the Azir, which is mind-boggling. They was traded for the Oriana, but still. And they picked the Xin Zhao, which is a decent ball carrier. But
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not 100% sold, but I think it could work, Atlas.
I think on paper, this draft is something that could theoretically destroy a Nexus. However, we'll just have to see whether they can play that out on the Rift. That is going to be the biggest difficulty here. As we can see, on the GENG side, some very understandable picks outside of this Nami Corki lane, which we haven't really seen. Nami is generally reserved for Lucian almost every single time, but here we are onto the Rift for game number 1 of our second day of the LCK Cup.
มาครับเกมแรกเจนจีครับ
All right, and that is going to be
เปิดฤ
the
ดู
only
กาลใหม่
fair
ครับ
chance
จะ
that
เป็
I
น
will
อย่าง
speak
ไร
through.
ครับผม
From now on, it is
กับ
going to be me on my best
ปี
behavior.
ที่แล้วที่
Drew is going to get knocked up
แทบไม่
momentarily.
แพ้ใครเลยครับ
Already
เจน
in
จี
this bottom side as barrier is
แต่ว่า
already down.
Yeah,
on
ดัน
the
ไป
I think that's
แพ้
really
ฮาวาไล
the way
ท์
he wanted to utilize it
ตอน
either.
LCK ครับกับปีที่แล้ว
Well,
ตอน
this
นั้น
is
เพิ่ง
still
แบ
an
บ
Alistair
ดูโล
level
เพิ่ง
1.
มาใหม่ๆ
And
ดูเล
now
อ
he's
เพิ่ง
an
มา
Alistair at level 1 at about 60%
เอาเล
health.
แฮนกับ
And
เพ
you mentioned it
เพส
already,
ออก
like we have seen this. The Alistair lane did not
ฟอร์มก็เลยดู
exactly
ดู
do
จะ
the
ดรอป
best
ฮะ
work. I think it was Polu playing it yesterday. Also didn't exactly play it out
ซึ่ง
all
จะจี
that
สวยครับ
well. But
เอาแล้ว
here's
แฟ
a
ดเปิดเลย
flash pulverize onto both of them.
แต่ว่า
Ruler taking a little bit of damage, but as you can see,
Thanamet ได้ดีครับ
they're dishing back a
รูเลอ
whole
ร์
lot more.
And I think the heal being used instead of the barrier is such an advantage here, especially when you consider
ยังไม่ได้ใช้ barrier ครับ
uses heal to
รู
set
เลอ
that
ร์
up in the first place. Ruler still has his barrier. When they look for a potential all-in here with another stacked
แต่
Q
ว่า
from
ฮิวทั้งคู่
Geo,
แล้ว
the timing of
แล้ว
that
ก็
with the stacked Q from Geo
อลิส
allows
ตา
him to
เสี
do
ย
a
แฟลช
ton of damage while the Corki's at level 1, but still, this is going to get tricky.
Oh, Pulverize only hitting onto one. Fast bomb. Bit more damage onto Andil here.
Level 2 about to be hit.
The battle for the minion wave is what it's looking like right now, and you can see level 2 has been gained, but only one more minion. There it is.
นามิมันจะไปออก
GENG
ไอ้
will have access to an extra
แบนเนอ
button.
ร์โหดมาก
Ebb and flow, Takluz blessing, these
แล้ว
two
ก็
things are pretty important, but you do want to have the Aqua Prism
ใช้
to
ท่า
be
อี
able to
กับ
lock
แค
down
รี่
the
แล้ว
Alistair
แค
when
รี่
he
ก็
does
ตีสโล
decide to
แล้ว
go
ก็
in.
Notice the observers have not panned
แล้ว
anywhere
ก็แรง
else. So this is what this meta is all about. And like this is 3 summoners down, obviously for 1. As they're looking for another angle here, Ruler still has that barrier.
Yep.
And that's the
Slurkle
key
does a bit
down.
of work, but not too much more. As we can see, we have moved to a different lane. As you can see, Rich having a pretty good time. Has gone for the
คิด
electric
นี่
cube
ได้เปรียบ
variant, wanting a little bit more burst
ได้เปรียบ
damage in
เอ่อ
the
ตัว
lane
เลน
phase.
เน็กซันอยู่
I
นะ
kind of respect that. As Chovy taking a bit of damage from Yukal here as well. And Yukal, beginning of the
Imperial
year,
Mandate
often pretty dangerous.
He
And I'm
certainly
hoping
has
he
been.
can hold on to that until later in the year as well.
Looking good so far here as Canyon is
มา
not
ร
that
อ
Tribe
ซ้อน
Restrict
ครับ
gives
แคน
another
ยอน
ball combo.
แต่ว่า
Ruler
น่า
trying
จะ
to
ถึ
get
ง
some
ก่อน
damage
ป่า
done
ฝั่งตร
actually
ง
with
ข้าม
the
ครับวิล
Valkyries.
เลอร์
Andil's very, very close to
แต่ว่า
dead.
ถอยทันครับวิลเลอร์คอดี
Just trying to protect his cow as Willa in this brush. I don't think he knows that he's being seen.
ก็ไม่กล้าเข้าครับ
Canyon's now going to move on forward. Nami's in Nami Pantheon is actually a terrifying combo as well because you can guarantee the Aqua Prism just with that point and click stun that the Pantheon does have. So Duro and Canyon are in the area. You could
ต้อง
expect
เสีย
that if
ส
you
องปูหรือเปล่า
are on your own, you're in a lot of trouble.
เล่นบนดันด้วยค
I
รับ
gotta say, you know, I've made it pretty clear my expectations where I don't think DRX should fight fire with fire in the bottom lane, and they have
ไม่ว่ะ
been attempting to do exactly the opposite. They are fighting super hard with this Alistair. They used summoners early, and they've been able to maintain a decent amount of control here. They're a little bit far behind, or not far behind, but just barely behind in CS is what I'm really trying to say. It's 100 gold that Ruler has an advantage, but they've been able to get through this first back incredibly well. And yes, it was at the cost of a lot of summoners here, but see how this continues to go here as the Yunara, once she gets out of lane and once the quest is completed, is going to be a big threat later on.
Yeah, and
เริ่มไม่ค่อย
already
ดีเท่า
going
ไหร่
better
ครับ
than what we saw from this
Ruler
exact lane last time around into a slightly different matchup, but still one that
ก็ยังได้
can
เว
be
ฟไป
very
เรื่อยๆนะ
dangerous.
คีน
And this back too, DRX used
แต่
one of
ว่า
the
กลับ
coach
บ้านไปแล้วครับ
voices as well. Perhaps resetting expectations for upcoming objective spawns. The
โอ้โห
Dragon,
คอ
of course, the
อลิ
first
สตา
on the
มา
menu
ช่วย
here. And we have the
ช่วยเอา
Alistair kind of
ปู
roaming
ด้วย
around here a little bit. Don't see as much of this on this patch, but in this little bit of reprieve in the bottom lane, can try to get some additional vision here on the top side of the map. He's actually doing a great job of it right now with the prio they have in mid.
I actually kind of like using the coach voice like this a bit early on to get some added direction, you know, wondering whether or not they should continue all-inning on the bottom side of the map, whether they want to aim elsewhere and see whether they can maybe double down on Rich and the lead that he could gain on this champion as Andil already out of lane. We were talking about a lack of support roaming. Well, Andil is bucking that trend. He's all about the support roaming, and they did take half of a health bar from
ตะกี้ได้ดัน
Canyon.
กลับ
It's not
นี่
exactly
เผลอ
the
ๆแคนยอน
most,
เสียแฟดนะ
but it's honest work.
Yeah.
As Andil going to look for another
What?
pulverize. He was just annoying Chovy here in this mid lane.
I'm not going to get too much out of this. As unfortunately, Chovy
ใช้ความได้เปรียบของอลิสตาครับ
But at the end of the day, you know, it's
เดี๋ยวอ
only
ลิสตา
small
มันน่าจะ
damage
ออก
still
ของ
for
ใหม่
Geo
อะ
in the
ซึ่ง
bottom
เป็น
lane,
ของที่แบบ
and that
ดี
could
มาก
have
เลยอะ
worked
ไอ
out.
ตัว
Had
ชื่อว่า
Yukal at level 6, for example, could have actually been a pick there onto Canyon in the jungle. I like the pressure there. Looks like that was really communicated by the coaching staff, or at least that's the assumption I have, that something like that was being communicated to Andil, since he was the one making the proactive play there, the hide that you don't normally see in the jungle for that roaming
เว
support.
ลาที่ CC หรือว่าสโลมันจะได้รับมูเมนต์สปีดครับแล้วก็เพื่อนร่วมทีมตีเร็วขึ้นครับแล้วโบนัสแอตแทกสปีด20%ครับเยอะมากนะแอตแทกสปีด20%ที่เท่ากับลูนอาราคิตตี้ครบเลยเยอะกว่าด้วย
Trying to see whether he can hit a cow. Might be able to do
เหมือน
something.
มีรองเท้าเบอร์เซอร์เกอร์ให้ฟรี
And so GENG playing a little bit scared here, and you can see about a 500 gold advantage for DRX to start this game off, despite there being no first blood or anything like that. It's just superior laning largely from Rich here in this top
พี่มีโอกาสเล่นเกมที่คล้ายไหมครับเห็นพี่วงโชว์อยู่ครับแต่ว่าไม่รู้ว่าไม่มีใครตอบก็เลยแบบพี่ก็เลยไม่ได้
what it says on the tin.
Hasn't been that common recently, but making a bit of a comeback as Ruler takes a chunk.
Yeah, that's a large amount of damage there. Andil also taking a bit back in kind, but he does have that triumphant roar to help him out. Duro will be able to heal up Ruler momentarily with that ebb and flow. Level 5 going to be gained, and wow, that is a decent chunking to come on through there.
And this bottom lane
DRX
has
นี่
been
ทีม
pretty
ไอโอเนียไหมครับ
stable, honestly, for Gio and Andil. As Keen is going to look for a stun here.
3ไอโอเนียนะ
To at least get a Q off, but you can see Rich able to get a
อ๋อ
whole lot back.
ข้างบนก็เริ่มจะบาดเจ็บครับ หลังจากที่เคนเนตเริ่มมีเลเวลครับ มันก็จะเริ่มแรงขึ้นเรื่อย
As you can see, Canyon towards that top side of the map. It doesn't look like
กลายเป็นตัว TS เลยครับ ตอนนี้ Kennen
their lane advantages.
เก่งมาก
Grab this neutral objective. Man, they're playing good wolf.
Yeah, this is a great start here for DRX, and like frankly, the fact that they use their summoners early could have been a problem if
เพราะว่า
there
ตัว
was a
ที่
big
เก่ง
fight
ใน
there.
แพ
But
ท
they
นี้มัน
backed
เป็น
away
ตัว
from
แบบ
that one where the junglers both showed up, right? You mentioned the Aqua Prison
Kennen
synergy
สู้
with
ได้อะ
Canyon on the Pantheon. They were like, okay, let's walk away from this one. But nothing else happened, so they weren't punished for the summoner deficit. They've got both of their all their summoners, well,
Ooh,
3 of them back
coach
up
wild.
now. This is the DRX coach comms.
Yeah. See Joker making sure that he lets them know exactly what they need to do. We'll get you some information there.
เฮ้ยโอ้โห
Trying to open fight some
แฟดไปตีป้อมเหรอเมื่อกี้เพิ่งเห็น
and scare Canyon. That's what they're looking to do.
จีวู
And that was
วันนั้น
precisely
ฆ่า
what we
ลู
saw
เลอร์ไปแล้วครับ
immediately
ตะกี้
afterwards.
1대1로 되지. 아면 이쯤. 일대일은 계속 얘기야.
There's really a lot of information being shared and a lot of discussion about how to utilize the mid prio here, coming through from Joker. And you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Fighting there.
Yeah. All right, Andal walking back to lane here, and he's going to get punished for doing so. Ruler still sitting at relatively low health, but they do manage to get that plate.
He's 10 CS up, which is really important for bottom lane quest progression. It's the lane that gets the most value out of that, and he gets the plate, so that is a pretty big win there, on top of the CS advantage that he has. That was almost a kill's worth of gold in the lead. Grub's up now.
Yep. And there is a wave to be picked up by Geo as well. As okay, there's a pulverize as Canyon throws up the shield to
3-2 นะ
try and
แค
keep
นยอน
himself
แฟดออกมา
the flash out of
หู
the way. There's the
ดันกลับสวยมาก
shot
วิลเลอร์
and Canyon looking in a whole
Shot
lot of
นี้
trouble.
แบก
That's Willow locking down the kill and first blood over to DRX.
วิลเลอร์
Looking
เอาเรื่อง
great in
จัด
this
ครับวันนี้
opening game here. The punish onto Canyon was real. The fast collapse was there. The
วิลเลอร์
flash
นี่มาจากทีมอะไร
shockwave
ครับ
ends up being what
อ๋อ
does
มา
him
จาก
in.
ที่
Canyon
บอก
is
ก็
now
คือมา
down
จาก
Keen in this tough matchup in the
BFX
top side. Can't control
ชุด
top priority, and that's
สำร
likely
อง
just
ครั
going
บ
to turn this into a grub take. They already got first dragon. I don't think there's any play without Canyon on the map that can happen cross map here on the bottom side. So the Yunara is just sitting back and scaling. And Jovi's coming over here. Now, Yukal still doesn't have his ultimate. This is going to be a risky fight if GENG go for it. Canyon can ult in, and it looks like DRX will respect
ยู
it.
คาไม่มีอันติแล้ว ลิชมีอันติจริงๆสู้ได้นะครับ
DRX had on their minds. But it looks like Canyon just going to be clearing some
แ
vision.
ปลกๆแล้วหัวหน้าห้องกูแปลก
The first one being
ๆหัวหน้าห้องครับ แปลกๆแล้วนะครับ
This is
Make
some
sure that he stays ahead.
really measured gameplay just in general for DRX. Like, they know where their advantages are. They're playing slow. They're not taking unnecessary risks.
Yeah, it's just not what I was really expecting here. I kind of thought that GENG, the well-oiled machine, not changing their roster at all. Remember, this is a bunch of changes here for DRX. Geo moving in. You've got Willa now in the jungle as well. Vincenzo alongside him, but it's Willa that's
ปล่อย
starting
มังกร
here
กลับไม่
today.
ได้ครับ
As Canyon will be the one to get on in here and take away at least one of these grubs. Willa can possibly go for a little bit of a late invade on this, but decides not to as Chovy had been
ไม่
roaming
พร้อมครับเพราะ
over
ว่าช็อคเวฟ
anyway.
คูลดาว
So, close to that 1,000 gold
ถือว่า
still here
GENG
for
ได้
DRX.
ทำมิ่ง
We
ที่
don't
ดี
have any
นะ
quest completions just yet. We'll
แล้ว
be
ตะกี้
getting
คือ
closer
คอ
and
กี้
closer
หายเลย
to
ครับ
that as
เขา
the
ก็เลย
flash
แบบ
forward, but the stun is really good.
ต้องไป
Slice
จริ
and
งว่ะ
dice as Keen still looking for it. Doesn't quite manage to get that ruthless predator off. And
ต้อง
Rich
กดอัน
just
ตีเลย
playing
ครับ
real well on
คี
this
น
cannon.
ไม่
You
งั้น
can really
เคลียร์
tell
เวฟไม่ได้
that
ครับ
this is
แม่
one
ง
of his favorites.
น่ารำคาญมาก
Absolutely.
เคน
He
เน่น
doesn't use his ultimate there either because he knows there's a possibility Canyon's going to ult in and doesn't want to commit to the fight. Now, this ends up being Canyon a little bit greedy here. The punish comes through, but the domino effect of this
ก
play
ระโดด
is
ก่อนเนาะ
that this
แล้วก็
flash Orianna ultimate
W
here
ที
is
หลัง
watch
ครับ
Willer
แล้ว
go
พอ
through to
ไคเดอร์แสบ
guarantee
ก็
this one. Means there's
เฮ้ย
no
มัน
Orianna
ดันกลับ
ult
ไป
for the
ด้าน
grubs.
ดีได้ยังไงวะ
So, GENG do end up getting the grubs or 2 out of the 3 as a result of this. It's going to call the no flash here on the bottom side. Another coach comm usage.
Yep. Get a little bit of a reminder of what we did get in those coach comms there as well. As now Ruler and Duro clearing out some vision. You've got Willa once again in the area, though they are overloading this bottom side as once more Andel making things happen. Gets the exhaust down in trade for the flash. You'll say definitely worth for that one on the DRX side. As GENG
ถือว่า GENG ยังไม่หยาบครับถ้าเกิดเสียกราฟไปแค่
patch
2
the
หยาบเลย
holes in the ship right now, and DRX are making all the moves.
Yeah, this is a
โดยเฉพาะเลนบนเนี่ยมันจะโดนตี
really,
เพจเรื่อย
really interesting start, like subverting expectations.
ๆ
This does not
ส่วน
look
เคนเน่น
like
ตอนนี้
wise
ออกเป็นอะไรวะเนี่ย
behavior here
แชทมันคืออะไรวะ
out of DRX right now.
มัน
Well, remember,
มันเป็นไอเทมใหม่เหรอ
Worlds is in North America again this year.
อ๋อกันเบสเหรอ
Do you know what that means for DRX?
ไม่เคยเล่นเลยออกกันเบียดชิ้นแรก
That's right.
That they still hold.
Absolutely.
So there that is. I don't know whether this roster is going to be able to do it, but I definitely didn't know that the last one was going to be able to do it. So I mean, this one maybe even looks better. Because yeah, 2022 DRX kind of blows my brain.
GU has his first item, the Kraken Slayer, completed, and Ruler does not. He's stacking his tier now, but you know he's still a ways away from finishing that first item, the Triforce.
เสลยแล้วจิว
A pretty big like setup across the map. Like they ended up losing 2.
ทำไมรู้สึกเหมือนอาริสตาจะออกไปไอ้นี่วะ
At this point in time, like the Yunara is
ออกเป็นไอ้
actually
นี่มากกว่า
comfortable laning into the Corki with the Alistair that has level 6. Willer once again is going to use this Cryo a second time to grab control of this Drake, and they're going to get a 2 Drake lead off of this double Dragon.
ไม่ใช่ซีกด้วยมันคืออะไรวะแชทมันคือเขาคือออกอะไร
But look at how quickly he's pushed that up. He's relatively
อย่าบอกนะว่า
that's their only cross map.
ออก
Yeah, Genji just kind of caught
Photo
napping
อะ
right now in this game, and Willer going to be able to take this one. We'll have
ใช่
a look
ว่ะ
at what
จะออก
our
เข็มกัด
next
โฟโต้เลย
Earth, Wind and Fire again.
โฟโต้
First game yesterday, first game today. Oh my goodness,
อ่าน
it's
ยาก
my
จังเลย
birthday. I love this. All right.
อุ๊ยเข้าบนโดนแล้ว
He's just going to
สวย
kill
จัด
Rich.
แก๊ง
That's
สวย
what he's
จัด
going to opt in for here, and Rich is going to do his best. But yeah, Slicing Maelstrom not going to be doing too much. And so Genji, they are on the board. I still think that getting that second Drake probably still very valuable here for DRX. And losing Rich is not going to be the end of the world.
เป็นสเตอร์แลก
Rich was
สายแทงแต่พี่คิดว่าแบบ
he was in that
มัน
brush.
ควรจะมี
And that was the go button
อาร์เมอร์
there.
เยอะกว่านี้หน่อยอะ
He knew there was a possibility because he's like, well, they're not contesting
ณ
Dragon.
ตอนนี้แบบ
This could happen to me.
น้อยเกิน
As
ส
we'll
แตท
watch
มัน
this
น้อย
again.
เกิน
Yeah,
ที่จะ
he's in. He stops his recall on the ward, and Canyon's like, well, get him. Yeah, I think you got to finish those. He does not have his Gunblade yet at this moment. Did have the Vamp Scepter, that's all, and the Alternator in his inventory. Does have it now.
Yeah, he's put that together. My favorite item in League of Legends. Just so
I
glad
I think this is the
that it
first
back.
time we are seeing it. I didn't think we saw it yesterday.
Yep,
เดี๋ยวนะ
so far
เขาบอก
today,
ว่าไอเทมชิ้น
we
เนี้ย
did see
มัน
the Kali ban. I know that she'd
อ้าง
probably like
อิ
to
ง
build it. But
จากอาร์เคดด้วยเหรอไอตัว
there's that other
Photo
new
Plus
item, the weird Trinity Force-ish type
มัน
thing.
มันเป็นไอเทมในอาร์เคนยังไงวะไอโฟโต้ฟาส
Yeah, but apparently that's
Photo
not very good on
Plus
canon, based on a question that was
That's
asked to
เป็นไอเทมใน
Zeus
อาร์เคนเหรอ
earlier.
That's a Jax item now, it seems like.
You can build it on Diana.
Yeah.
Building it on Diana a little bit. It's kind of fun. I imagine Mordekaiser uses it relatively well.
Yeah.
เนี่ยมันเขียน
An
ดูดิ
interesting one.
Well,
this item likely reference
so I thought something special was happening here,
Leo
but it doesn't look like it,
from
as
Arcane.
Rich
It looks a lot more cinematic now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
รูปเป็นไง
Maybe we can just leave it down forever. We just like, from now on,
It's
you
like
have to
StarCraft
guess.
Brood War. You kind of have to know what's going on.
You have
Don't
to
actually show
tell.
it.
It's pure tempo vibes. It's the only way that we'll ever know.
โดนทุกดอกเลยจิว
As Ruler does a lot of damage to Jiu, I'd say that Ruler has the tempo vibes. As we do get back a little bit of UI here, so that we do know a little bit more about what's
Willer
going on.
On this flank here, I don't think really wants to engage.
Ooh, decides to go in though. There's the stun back. Duro not quite in position to get an
เจ็บเลย
ankle
ครับ
pushing down.
Chovy has no prio, so I guess this does kind of work out if they can set up for this control of the tri-brush, or rather the banana brush.
ยังไม่เปิดใส่
It's not gonna
อา
amount
ริ
to
สตา
anything.
Sneaky Slurkle does come on through there, but not too much more. As Canyon once more, there's that combo we were talking about, and he'll
ต่อจนจะแบบไม่ไหวแล้วอะอ้าวแล้วจิวตายแทน
because he's down extraordinarily low. Barrier not going to be saving him from that one, but
ผม
he
ไม่
does
ตาย
manage to dash away and flash
แต่
away
ว่าค้างเห
to
ลืองเลยครับ
safety. Just in the nick of time, but that is using every single resource that
หวาด
they will
คร
not
บพร้อม
have. May not be enough to defend this turret.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a problem here. Chovy gets back control of the mid lane as well with this rotation over of Yukao. We'll be able to catch this wave. Chovy committed heavily, to try to come over there and make a play happen. I think that's why they hard forced there, because they were like, all right, well, if we don't do this,
พี่เชียร์ทีมไหนต้องเชียร์เจนจีครับเพราะว่าเจนจีอยู่กลุ่มเดียวกับ T1 ครับ
They got Yukao to
คื
come
อ
down
กลุ่ม
there. They got the
บารอน
flash
ครับ
out of Jiu and an additional plate gold. So ends up being a pretty big win here for Genji. You're only 500 gold behind now.
หัวหน้าห้องครับ
in
หัว
this
หน้า
game.
ห้อง
The
T1
Gross will be pretty relevant for the Azir. And the side lane does have his Nashor's Tooth now online. Stride-breakers up here for Keen. This next Dragon fight is going to be the first real potential grouped fight of the game. This Herald is actually maybe even a little bit faster. I just don't think Genji are set necessarily for the best contest here.
Well, Canyon
แต่ทำไม
can
รู้สึก
move in
กูเจีย
and does have
พี่
the
เชียร์
Grand
DRX
Southpaw
วะ
as
เพราะอะไรวะแชท ลึกๆพี่เชียร์ DRX เฉยเลยอะเปิดครับตรงนี้ลูเลอร์ออกมาแต่ยังมีฮิวอยู่โอ้คีพยายามจะตัดลิชแต่ว่าคีก็โอ้ยตีไม่ดีเท่าไหร่ลิชเอาแฟดยัดโอ้ยโชวี่มาโอ้โหมีบัสโคพอดีโอ้ยโอ้โหคีแต่ไล่ได้สวยมากเลย
It's incredible. This game is a 2-kill game. Yeah, but and nobody dies, but it is the big.
ลึกๆพี่ดันแบบว่าเฮ้ยเชียร์ DRX
All in attempt.
Yeah, G looking for that angle there as Ruler does have
แต่
his
จริงๆต้อง
barrier.
เชียร์ GENG นะครับ
But it's not to the full effect. G is still looking a bit worse for wear though, as Ruler now with that Trinity Force is pretty deadly.
Yeah, not to mention that Gio used his ultimate there and won't necessarily have it for an upcoming fight. That was a good, points for trying there on that one, I suppose.
ในป้อมแรกแล้วว่าโชวี่
Chovy's getting a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's somewhat of a problem. He does obviously have his quest completed as well.
That number says 192, and it's only 17 minutes into the game. What does it mean?
You guys staying in touching distance with him as well.
That's true, actually. They are both chovying effectively.
Yeah, he has had a pretty good game himself on this Orianna. He unfortunately was not there, and I guess we're not going to get a replay because nobody died. But when that engage came through from Wheeler, imagine a shockwave on top of that. Would have been massive, but he was not there, and they were able to retreat. It was a beautiful retreat from DRX, but they lose the objective.
Zandil will be taking a fair bit of damage here. Doesn't quite have the ulti back up and available, so he was killable in that moment, but relatively close to the turret, so he's absolutely fine. As Canyon started this dragon off, Willer in the area, that is so point for DRX if they're going to go for it. As you do have Rich moving up there from the bottom side, as now Andal goes in about that one as he does get put into that bubble. And now has to use the ultimate, won't have that for this upcoming fight, which is a big problem tied away to lockdown. Willer
เฮ้ยแล้วดันสองอย่างสวยแล้วโชวี่โอ้โห
and wipes them out.
ไม่ได้แฟดด้วยเราจะเอาเหรอแคนยอน
Genji were a little sleepy at the beginning of this game, but I think Wolf they have woken up.
โอ้โหล้างหมดเลยเมื่อกี้ล้างไพ่เลยครับโชวี่มา
Last fight wasn't able to catch them when he came in, but it was able to guarantee that DRX needed to be so far away from the Herald, and then this time actually sets up the kill onto the flashless Yunara.
ลิสต้องรับเวฟครับไม่ให้เวฟเข้าป้อมแต่ว่ารับไม่ไหวครับแล้วก็โดนครับฟองต่อคอมโบ
grabbing his next one 2-0-1 now on the Azir 500 gold lead. As you can see, Genji going to augment that with a Drake take as well.
เล่นลิสดีนะแต่ว่าแม่มันแบบ
and they've skyrocketed to a 3,000 gold lead. Let's see how this all started.
มันโดนการโรมมิ่งดีอ่ะ
on this Xinjiao just isn't going to be able to make a big impact when we look for a fight like this because he just doesn't have
โชวี่แกมายังไงวะแกก็เดินมาตรงๆนะดูเดินแบบเดินอย่างเดียวเลยแล้วพุ่งมาปุ๊บปึ้มเห็นแล้วนะจิวูแต่ว่าประมาทเว้ยจิวูจริงไม่ควรโดนเว้ย
I'm just going to look for the freebie. See him come down here, look for it. Knows there's no flash on the Yunara. Has the perfect shuffle in. Grabs a bonus Alistair for his troubles.
Yep, no flash required as well, so we'll have that for the upcoming fight at the same time.
เงินนำรับ 2,800 ครับ GENG
here for Genji. Everyone with their quest completed though, and we'll see what the utilization of those is going to look like as this game goes on. A level 20 Crocodile sounds very, very frightening. But Rich could also get himself into a pretty dangerous position as he out here. And the Dominus is going to come through, slicing Maelstrom in response. As Rich is still dangerous, but it's Willer that's moving in first now.
อ๋อไม่ไหว
And Canyon going to come
แค่ย้อนตันอีกตืดจึกเรียบร้อย GG เลยครับอันนี้
We were saying that Rich could be a point of power. Well, that has gone.
มาช่วยก็ไม่ทันแล้วเจอเลเน็กซ์ไตเบเกอร์กันเบดก็ไม่ไหวครับ
are available for the entirety of the game now, so keep that in mind. Is that last plate there on the top side, that last turret is also going to go down. So this will be the third plus an extra plate for Chovy.
Oh dear.
And it's starting to look like this game is well and truly Genji's to lose, as Rich here unfortunately gets very little out of his slicing mails from here.
แรงมากเลยเลเน็กอะเนาะ
Try to help, but he's just another victim here now as Canyon can show up with his ultimate. It's a numbers game. They thought they were winning, but forgot about Pantheon.
เคขีดเล่นดีเท่ากับเคทาครูสเมื่อวานอยากเล่นเกมมากเลยอะแต่สุดท้ายแล้วนั่งทำงานแล้วแบบทำคลิปแล้วแบบในหัวก็อยากเล่นเกมอยากแบบกดแรง
early game power that they had It is
เดี๋ยววันนี้ต้องรีบทำให้เสร็จจะได้แบบ
จะได้เล่นเกมได้แล้ว because it just feels like this game is just being taken by GENG.
Third and final coach voice is used here for DRX for the last moments.
Oh, Tidal Wave was a little bit expectant there from Duro.
อุ๊ยเดี๋ยวนะ
That was really cute. Chovy though, just gonna throw you.
โอ้ my god สวยอยู่นะวิลเลอร์ทำเป็นเล่นครับวิลเลอร์สวยมากอะนะเมื่อกี้ เคนนี่จัดได้ครับเคนนี่จัดการครับตรงนี้ดูโลตายอีกเฮ้ยบาลอนเอาเฮ้ยหัวหน้าห้องหัวหน้าโอ้โหแต่วิลเลอร์ตายโอ้คีนแบกว่ะทำให้เอาบาลอนไม่ได้ควอตต้าคิวของลิชเหรอไม่ได้บาลอนว่ะคีนแบกถ้าเมื่อกี้คีนแบบดูอีกรอบครับคือพุ่งปุ๊บแล้วก็ดันโชวี่กลับมาแบบบ้าเหลือเกินบอกวิลเลอร์เมื่อกี้พระเจ้าเชี่ยวิลเลอร์โคตรเอาตรงนี้แบบช่วยด้วยยูแคก็บอกช่วยได้ใครดีวะเชี่ยไอเคมันน่ากลัวเกินแล้วแฟดครับสไตเบเกอร์2
So Gein's heroics not completely in vain.
얘들아 그 마지막 턴 썼는데
지금 having a listen here to what Joker is saying, I imagine what he said was pretty important because did manage to get them back into this game. And DRX, let's see whether they can.
อยากฟังภาษาเกาหลีออกว่ะเชี่ยพี่ต้องไปเรียนเกาหลีให้ได้เลย
Judging by what we saw yesterday, the games have tended to fall out of control relatively quickly. This is DRX being able to pull themselves back in though. You can see 1.5k is basically nothing. They already have those 2 dragons.
Yeah, apparently
that's fantastic.
แต่เมื่อกี้ฟังไม่รู้เรื่องนะเพราะว่าแบบคือเสียงคนพากย์กับเสียงโค้ดเท่ากันเลย
we've seen so far, and it has been incredibly impactful for this squad right now. And
มันคอได้ตลอดเลยเหรอเหมือนจะเมื่อวานเราคุยดูมันเหมือนจะได้แค่
a big threat, and I'm looking at this game state thinking, okay, how do DRX win? Maybe a pick in the side lane here could be a first start.
Yeah, Slurko gonna come on through there as now.
Chovy
does find the Emperor's Divide onto Gio, who's tanking up the turret, but it doesn't matter. That is just going to be Willa turning up, helping Gio grab himself the kill. That will also take down this turret. Keen doing the same thing towards the bottom side of the map, and it looks like a dragon in trade as well.
I mean, they've got to start Baron right now. They have to make a snap call. There's no coach voice for this one. You're out, used all 3. And let's see. Okay, we're going to see the teleport over here from UCal. They are going to stick the Baron. They've got one more chance at this game. This could be what wins it for them if they can secure this.
Yeah, this could be a big deal. It's already down to 50% as Ruler and Dura. They know exactly what's going on. And they're waiting offside though, as you can see. Canyon will be showing up. Canyon trying to get himself into this pin.
แคนยอนไม่ทันครับแฟนลงมา
They take down the cow.
เฮ้ย
DRX, they're just looking to try and get themselves out.
พอมีโค้ชช่วยแล้วแบบ
And if they just lose the cow, 100% worth. If they lose Willer as well, probably still worth.
I mean, Chovy's TPing in to try to rush down this turret. He is in his ear on 2.5, perhaps even 3 items here. Okay, this on 2. And the Dark Seal, but he can do a lot of work to this turret. Rich is going to come over here and try to defend it. Keen also level 16, but doesn't have his ultimate. I think this is absolutely worth for DRX. Remember as well, Canyon dropped Dragon to come up to try to defend the Baron, so they didn't actually get the second Dragon of the game, but they will now, but it's going to require a long time, and they're not going to have enough pressure on the map as a result of it. Ondal's going to TP here mid to help defend.
แล้วก็คุยระหว่างเล่นเลยครับไม่มีการพอส
In this game, still 2,500 gold behind. It's even Drake's
แล้วก็โค้ชก็จะเห็นจอเหมือนที่นักแข่งเห็น
as we go on. The team fighting power of this cannon can be realized fully with a flank, with a nice TP, is still so potent that it's anyone's game to win now.
I would agree. I do think one of the scary things is that Ruler is like 50 CS up, right? This Corki is incredibly dangerous. With the Collector now completed, sitting on 3 items, and is only going to get more scary from here. Gio, of course, once that Infinity Edge is done, he will also be a terrifying threat. But for right now, Ruler is the guy to watch out for. You saw that in that fight. He just kind of blew Geo up before he could do anything.
You can see signs in game states like this. If you haven't hit turret for a while, that crystalline overgrowth is there, and DRX are like, all right, well, if you guys don't come over, I will.
ได้3 ครั้งแล้วก็ครั้งนึง45 วินะครับผม
sitting there for the taking as well as a lot of map control, and they will just get this group up and take it.
Oh, the flash forward from Willa doesn't actually get enough. As Rula was able to get that Valkyrie off in time, that could have been a huge moment. It wasn't actually the case, as now Rich has made his way in.
Yeah, that was a strange teleport there. Rich doesn't really have an angle, unfortunately, and just there's no objective either. That was a bit bizarre. But it's going to help them, control some of this vision here. They have great vision and setup for a dragon that doesn't exist. True.
แบบนี้ถ้าโค้ชใช้บิสแบบเติมตังค์เห็นเลขหมดไม่มันเป็นการมันจะเป็นมุมมองของว่ะมันก็จะเห็นอยู่แต่ว่าเขาเป็นคอมของไลออดอ่ะมันไม่มีอยู่แล้วลงบิสอะ
And they only need to get themselves another couple of drakes and they can grab an Infernal Soul. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to get the last couple.
They still have Baron to siege this turret here. I mean, they're just going to say, well, we're going to get something out of this Baron no matter what.
เราดันมามีบาลอนบัฟอยู่แต่ว่าแหมมันแปลกๆนะมีไอตัวโรปาสอยู่แต่ว่าใช้ไปแล้วเนาะไม่ค่อยคุ้มเท่าไหร่ครับโชวีได้ฟาร์มครับคุยแล้วลูเลอร์จีวูต่างหากที่จะตายครับตรงนี้ยูแคลโดนขีดไล่อยู่ฟองไม่โดน
As DRX a little worse for wear, and the Baron only 5 seconds to go, not exactly getting the most value.
แลกป้อมกันเฉยครับมีบาลอนแท้ๆ
DRX look on the back foot constantly, but they're trying to get these
และ
small
เป็นป้อมแบบ
things. And if it
ที่
was
ไม่
any
คุ้ม
other
ด้วย
team,
ป้อม
you'd be
นอก
like,
กับ
oh,
ป้อม
this is
แบบ
a
ป้อม
little rough, but
ที่
it's
สอง
GENG they're doing it into, right? When you consider the context of how much macro this team has been able to pull off in this game. Sure, Chovy's running circles around them right. He gets the top turret there. It's a trade of turrets, or a trade of a turret.
พี่ว่าชิ้นแรกไม่เวิร์กว่ะหรือมันเวิร์กหรอวัวชิ้นแรกอะ
small advantages here. It's still a 2-2 Drake game.
พี่ว่าไอตัว
if things continue at this rate here of LCK Cup 2026 thus far. Of course, small sample size.
Yeah, I mean, we did have
Bandon
some
Pie
longer games in our
ดีกว่า
first series yesterday, but I feel like it
ยูนาร่าก็
wasn't
ชอบด้วย
ever
วิ่ง
this
ตี
much back
ตี
and
เร็วอ่ะ
forth. Felt like there was one team that did find themselves a decent advantage by
แต่ว่ารอบนี้ไม่น่าบิวมัวน่าจะโค้ชบอกอ่ะเพราะว่า
17s for both of our top laners.
I mean, look at the items on Rich. He has his Void Staff.
Yeah.
เขาบอกว่า2 ชิ้นเก่งเลยเว้ย
Jill gets the flash out of Durant. Very nicely done there is now Keen, the one in trouble.
คีนครับ
Willer and
โด
Rich
น
looking to catch up to him, but
กันเบรดไปแต่ว่าหนีไม่ได้ครับ
required, and of course Flash on Renekton going to be so incredible.
เกมละ3 ครั้งใช่
because this is Geo
เขาบอกว่า
without
เกมละ
cleanse, right?
3 ค
He
รั้ง
has the barrier, and so that means this ruthless predator will be so valuable.
แต่ว่าถ้าอย่างนี้ก็หมายความถ้าเกิดมี3 เกมก็คุยได้9 ครั้งหรอน่าจะใช่นะเกมละ3 ครั้งครั้งละ45 วิเยอะนะพี่ว่าแบบเอาจริง3 นาทีมันก็ยูแคลครับฟอร์มาแต่ว่าโอ้ไม่ไหวว่ะวัวกดอันตีแล้วแต่ไม่ไหวว่ารูเลอร์เป็นเพียวดาเมจต้องเปิดแล้วครับตรงนี้โอ้แล้วแฟนสวยมากคีโดโอ้โหได้หมดเลยครับตรงนี้เนี่ยเอ็กจบเกมเลยครับจบเกมแล้วเวฟดันด้วย
I guess it just isn't going to be that long back and forth game. The back and forth ends on Genji's
ไม่ได้ฟอร์สู้เพราะว่าเขาล้อมดีเหลือเกินนะตะกี้
because it was definitely back and forth. However, if you lose a fight like that at this time of the game, you will just lose the game. Inhibitor goes down, and Genji will be able to take
ยังไม่ได้สู้แบบดีๆเลยครับเรียบร้อยจบเกมก่อนเอาง่ายวัวใส่วัวชิ้นนี้ไม่ยูสเลสอย่าได้ไปซื้อได้แรงเด็ดขาดเลยวัวชิ้นแรกไปในไอเข็มขัดเนี่ยไอปูนปลาสเนี่ยมันกากเกินมันไม่มีเกาะเว้ยมันจะเอาเกาะจากไหนวะ
coming down to a big flub here for DRX with Andal just kind of going in alone, the rest of the team retreating, and they got cut off. It was a really cool shockwave set up there as well to almost kill Ruler in a desperate attempt.
แพงป่าวะไม่แพงมากเลยจำได้ว่า2,500
I think the story that people will remember from this game
แต่ดูสแตทดิ
is not that Genji won, but they
แต่เป็นแต่เลือดอะแต่ว่าถ้าพูดกับอลิสตาแล้วก็ดูจะโอเคนะว่าอลิสตาเป็นการดาเมจใช่ป่ะแล้วเอาเลือดมาเยอะๆก็แต่นั้นหมายความว่าคุณต้องกดอันตีอะซึ่งอันตีมันกดเล่นๆไม่ได้อ่ะมันก็โดนแย่ๆครึ่งหลอดก็คือจบละเพราะว่าสเตตน้อยเกินแป๊บเดียวก็ครึ่งหลอดละ เหมือนจะโอเค
DRX,
แต่ไม่โอเค
especially in terms of macro and their setup and their early game plan here, kind of blew me away. In terms of expectations, I did not really have any for them coming into this series. And I still think GENG is likely going to close this one out in the next game, but that was
พี่กิฟเอาเข้าไปดูน้องได้เอาหินป่าไปสานต่อแล้ว
look for DRX, it can only get better from here.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the biggest test that
ไอ้
they're
ขยะ
going
มัน
to
เป็นแบ
have.
บ
Like this is GENG
ไม่เจอ
domestically. They
มันเป็น
are
สู
the
ตรลับ
best.
เหรอสูตรลับแบบ
We've seen it all last year.
สูตรลับไป
They
สาน
haven't
ต่อ
changed the roster. Theoretically, we should not change that opinion, right? Until you know. T1 with Pays just kind of stomp every single game. That could happen, but not so far.
FX
GENG looking
stat ไป
real
ช่วย
good here
ใช่
in game number 1, but we'll see what happens.
พี่ว่ามัน
We come back
เป็น
with a
ไอ
break
เทม
in
ที่
game
แบบ
number 2.
ซื้อสำหรับคนที่มีเกาะเยอะแล้วอะแล้วคุณแจ็คกี้ด้วยครับกิฟซับชี้ขยะไปไอ้เหี้ยรุ่นเดียวกันเลยรุ่นเดียวกับที่วิจัยมาเลยโอ้โหแล้วชนะแบบ81โอ้โหรุ่นเดียวเลยครับผมรุ่นกับที่วิจัยมาเลยแล้วมันตายแบบมันเวลาหมุนแล้วแบบเข้าไปเวลาหมุนกด W แล้วมันแบบมันดีลีทปะสูตรเนี้ยมันดีลีทปะหรือมันก็ยังรู้สึกว่าเฮ้ยซื้อเป็นเวทดีกว่าคือมันจะมีสายเวทที่แบบพุ่งเข้าไปแล้วแบบแค่กด E กด Q ตีหนึ่งทีแล้วแบบตายแต่แบบอันนี้มันต้องตีอ่ะฆ่าหนึ่งคนเลย แล้วคูดาวตีโคตรไวอ่ะ
달렸다. 오리온 오플.
อันตีดีเลยครับดูโลตรงนี้
미드가. 남이 일로 와.
유명 막는다. 유명 막았어.
에 넘어갈게. 괜찮아. 여기 오리온 노플. 어디로? 와우. 시원한데.
จ๋า
끝난 거 같은데?
끝난 거 같아.
คือพี่ต้องดูเกมล่าสุดผมใช้ความสามารถมันคุมจัดไล่หวดต้นเกมเลดเกมเพื่อนแบกละและเฮกแฟตก็ดีนะเว้ยพี่ว่าเฮกแฟตก็เป็นอะไรที่แบบว่ามันแบบมันมีลายแกงที่แบบว่าแจ่มขึ้นอ่ะอย่างสมมติว่าแบบเราขึ้นไปเลนบนใช่ป่ะเราสามารถเฮกแฟตขึ้นไปแบบที่ป้อมแล้วเราหม่งแบบส่วนมันแบบมันจะไม่ทันได้แบบเหมือนใช้แฟตเลยพี่กิฟไป MSI ไหมไม่มีข่าวเลยครับ MSI นี่ไม่เคยได้ข่าวเลย MSI จัดเกาหลีนะพี่คือมันผมพวกนี้มันต้องให้ไลออดเขามันเป็นของไลออดอะคือถ้าเราจะไปแบบซื้อบัตรเองทุกอย่างเองมันก็แบบแล้วไม่ได้ดู MSI ด้วยมันก็คงจะ ไม่รู้เหมือนกันว่ะต้องดูอีกทีครับแต่ก็อยากไปอยู่แล้วครับขนาด LCK ไปก็ตื่นเต้นครับแต่ว่า MSI นี่อีกแบบเดือน7เดือน8นู่นอะใช่ปะเดือน6เดือน7อะนานนะครับมิถุนากันยานู่นอะอีกไกลครับช่วงนี้ก็จะเป็นแบบ LCK CUP ก่อนแล้วก็เป็น First Stand ในปีนี้จัดที่ไหนนะ First Stand ปีนี้จัดที่บราซิลครับบราซิลเฟเลสเหมือนเดิมครับยังคงเฟเลสเหมือนเดิมจริงๆนะน้องๆเราดู MSI จากพี่ ปีหน้า First Stand จัด C เหรอเฮ้ยเขาบอกเลยเหรอเขาประกาศแล้วเหรอก็น่าจะเวียดนามเลยวะ ประกาศไว้อ๋อประกาศไปแล้วประกาศแล้วค่ะแต่ยังไม่บอกประเทศเดี๋ยวรอดูเทียร์ลิสต์พี่แล้วกันเพราะว่าเทียร์ลิสต์ก็มีแบบมีสูตรลับตัวอื่นอีกครับอันนั้นไม่แค่น้ำจิ้มครับมอไฟสายนี้เป็นแค่น้ำจิ้มยังมีตัวอื่นให้คุณผู้ชมได้ร่วมเอนจอยอีกครับก็เดี๋ยวรอเทียร์ลิสต์เสร็จก่อนนะคือช่วงนี้มันแบบคือพี่ตัดคลิปเองทำเองด้วยไงมันก็เลยแบบต้องใช้เวลานิดนึงครับเพราะว่าเราไม่ได้ถนัดขนาดนั้นนะก็ตอนนี้ก็เครื่องไม้เครื่องมือก็พร้อมแล้วครับแล้วเมื่อวานก็เรียกว่าโหลดโปรแกรมติดตั้งโปรแกรมแล้วก็ลองเทสเริ่มได้วิดีโอมาแล้วอย่าบอกจัดที่เกษตรเดี๋ยวLCK ปีนี้คือสนุกแน่นอนเดือดแน่นอนใช่ครับมีครบตำแหน่งมีครบทุกตำแหน่งครับมีงานวิจัยตั้งแต่เลนบนยันเลนซัพพอร์ตเลยครับเพราะฉะนั้นก็อดใจรอเทียร์ลิสต์นิดนึงครับของดีมันต้องอดใจรอครับมันต้องให้เวลาวิจัยครับวิจัยโหลดรีเพย์ดูแบบต้องมันเข้าไปดูรีเพย์เกาหลีแล้วได้ไปดูพวกแบบ OTP เกาหลีดูมันบิ้วของดูมันเล่นมันใช้เวลาอยู่นะมันไม่ได้แบบว่าทำแป๊บเดียวอ่ะแค่รีเพย์ฮีโร่นี่ก็มีเป็น100ตัวดึงดูทั้ง10 นาทีก็100แบบเท่าไหร่แล้ว1,000 นาทีแล้วอ่ะ1,000 นาทีก็แบบ10 ชั่วโมงแล้วแชท เพราะฉะนั้นก็ต้องให้เวลานิดนึงครับเวลาผ่านไปไวมากเลยพี่แบบนั่งดูบิวไปเรื่อยๆแล้วแบบเฮ้ยตี 2ให้คิดไม่ทันนะเนี้ยยังไม่เสร็จเลยแล้วก็แบบโหลดโปรแกรมรีบแบบโหลดรีเพย์ตี 4ต้องนอนแล้วเหรอขอทีสักตานั้นคือตั้งแต่ทุ่ม 1ยันตี 4แบบได้พักกินข้าวอย่างเดียวที่เหลือนั่งทำเทียร์ลิสต์ใช่ก็คือแบบว่าพอเห็นเวลาแล้วแบบเฮ้ยไม่งั้นเราจะไม่เล่นเกมเลยนะเว้ยวันนี้อยากเล่นเกมสักตาด้วยอย่างน้อยเล่น TFT ก็ได้เดี๋ยวถ้าเกิดเล่น L เดี๋ยวมันหัวร้อนแล้วแบบไม่หลับไม่นอนปรากฏ TFT ชนะที่1-2 ตาแม่งยังรู้สึกไม่เต็มอิ่มเลย มันอยากเล่น L ไงเพราะว่าทำเทียร์ลิสต์มามันก็อยากจะไปลองของใช่ป่ะแต่แบบอุบไว้ก่อนเดี๋ยวไปลองของแบบเหมือนมอไฟเดี๋ยวมีคนแบบไอ้ขายยาไม่เห็นแล้วเดี๋ยวอดใจไม่ไหวอ่ะก็เลยเอามาบอกช่องแชทก่อนมันมีสูตรลับหลายตัวมันไม่อุบไว้ก่อนผมรอมอไฟแล้วพี่ไม่ไหวเลยบน05กลาง04ล่างบอกไม่แก๊งบนบอกจังเกิลดิพี่ผมว่าพี่ต้องวิจัยเพิ่มนะพี่ก็เป็นไอตาล่าสุดที่พี่เล่นอ่ะพี่ฆ่า41ฆ่ากลางฆ่าล่างฆ่าบนทุกที่อ่ะพี่ฆ่าป่ากลางแม่น้ำเสร็จปุ๊บแล้วแบบไอ้นั่นก็ติ๊กให้ไปบนแล้วแบบบนมันเคนเคลอยู่ที่ป้อมมันฆ่าไม่ได้มีอันตีอีกอ่ะแม่งก็ติ๊กให้ไปแล้วแม่งพอเราไม่ไปปุ๊บแม่งเข้าไปบวกพอไปบวกปุ๊บแม่งด่าว่าแบบเฮ้ยแม่งไม่มาวะแต่เราก็ไม่สนพี่ก็มิวแม่งเลยแล้วพี่ก็ไปหม่งเลนอื่นต่อแต่ว่านั่นแหละครับสุดท้ายแล้วก็ไม่เป็นไรครับแต่ว่ามันแรงมากอะไอมอไฟบิวที่พี่บอกอะมันแรงแบบแล้วกูดาวก็โอเคเลยไอ้ขยะมาซื้อแบบตามที่พี่แบบบอกเลยป่ะมาดูดิขยะมันแบบมันบิวแบบตามที่the main point is that they have to secure third Drake here but what they do แล้วมันมาทักกูที่วันวินอะYou can see the positioning as well. Like they're gonna engage the fight because they want to get the mid priority. But at the same time, your jungler is fighting for the scuttle here, right there. And then where's your mid lane? Your mid lane is stuck on the top lane at the same time. So they're ผิดนะถือว่าผิดอยู่ถือว่าจดสูตรมาไม่ครบอันนี้ถือว่าสูตรผิดสูตรคุณไม่ได้จดไปให้ครบคุณขยะคุณถือว่าไม่ผ่านนะไม่เห็นแรงแต่บอกแรงแต่ดีอยู่ไอแทนลองดิแทนสูตรนี้สูตรบาสเตอร์เกาหลีจริงๆไอที่เกาหลีเขามีมอไฟเล่นกัน3 สายบ้างแล้วแต่ว่าพี่ว่าสายนี้มันน่าสนใจดี
I think it was just really heads up play from GENG and just DRX too many things at once need to focus on one thing. And
แบบ
obviously having the 2 dragons already, I really think if they'd been able to secure that 3rd game could have been completely different.
ไหนมาไม่ทันสายไหน ไม่บอกแทนนี่สายแบบว่าสายที่แบบว่าฟาร์มไวแล้วก็โคตรโหดเลยแต่ขยะคือซื้อของผิดเว้ยอันนี้ถือว่าผิดพลาดถือว่าคุณโจทย์สูตรมาไม่ครบอันนี้ที่หักคะแนนนะ
somewhat throw some skill shots out to help out but you know with already
ผิดพลาดหักคะแนนไม่สนแล้วไปดีกว่าไปเลยไปแทนไปเลยโจทย์ผิดนะขยะต้องซื้อรองเท้าก่อนต้องซื้อรองเท้าแล้วก็ดาบ250เพราะว่าพอตอนที่เราย้อนกลับไปบ้านรอบแรกอะแล้วเรากลับไปซื้อรองเท้าก่อนอะจะทำให้เราสามารถที่จะใช้แฟตคือเราจะหกแล้วเราจะใช้แฟตแล้วเรามงมันก็จะได้อัลติเมทฮันเตอร์เลยคือไม่ไปฟาร์มต่อขยับมาหกแล้วอันติไปใช้ถ้าเราได้รองเท้าลดคูลดาวน์กับรองเท้าลดคูลดาวน์เราจะสามารถใช้แฟตกับอันติและลดคูลดาวน์ได้ดีที่สุดเลยแล้วของไอเทมดาเมจมันก็ไม่ได้ต่างขึ้นมากนะแต่ว่าการที่ไปหม่งแล้วได้อัลติเมทฮันเตอร์เลยต่างเยอะ
So 1,500 in total. Now it's 750.
เอ้ยธนชิตมันจะโจทย์ว่ะเดี๋ยวไม่เอามาเล่นกับกูทำไงวะเนี่ยเดี๋ยวมาเจอโมไฟป่า
So if you're getting Baron, you really need to make use of the buff and get some towers.
ผมกำลังไต่แรงอยู่อ่ะ
not getting the value.
So that's why you have to aim for Drake
stacks
more because Nashor it's up in 20 minutes but it's a lot tankier than before. So you have to think about okay if we really want to do this Nashor then we have to clean it, you know. Then after that we have to play for the Nashor and also the Drake afterwards. But if you only aim for the
ไปเล่น normal ดามา
and then just get Nashor with
ไม่ได้ cashback กับ up post velocity ไม่คุ้ม
You said earlier you want to see people snowball with the Baron. You can't kind of
แล้วก็
DRX learn the lesson the
ยังไม่
hard
คุ้ม
way.
มันต้องซื้อไอ้ดัสแซนดอร์
1-0 after a good effort. Let's see if DRX
ดัสแซนดอร์โคตรแรง
Thank you so much for
มันแบบ
and I'll be looking
แรง
for
มาก
some TFT tips immediately after this. And yes, time to get into game number 2. If anyone
คุณแจม
got that
บอกผม
reference,
มั่ว
I got
ๆโดน
it.
กัด
Shout outs for down. GENG looking pretty good. But DRX looking way better. I think that's what we learned. Really did like the first YT.
ตีกันเลยค่ะ
That was great.
Yeah, it was great. I think really showcasing some of the errors that hit at that specific moment as a DRX creator here.
Welcome.
I think draft has been so important in terms of how the bottom lanes have gone so far in, again, small sample size, but here at the LCK CUP thus far. We really thought that it was going to be tough for the Alistair lane to do well. I ended up talking to Umti about it. I ran into him actually commenting on the Korean desk today. We talked about he was also pretty surprised, really impressed with how it was played out, especially those trades, the summoners, and how much attention Willer gave that bottom lane, so it just could not actually fall out of favor for them. And the game plan coming in for DRX was so clean with their draft. They knew there were vulnerabilities, but they knew how to cover for them. And that's something we just don't see for teams that get formally a Rise Group Team DRX. We don't know what's going to happen this year, but I think this feels like an upgrade already.
Yeah, and we've seen actually DRX deciding to go for second pick rather than
มันเล่นมิดได้ไหมผมถามแค่นี้
first pick or picking blue
เล่น
side
ได้
or anything like that.
แต่ว่าไม่ค่อยเก่ง
So it will now be GENG with first pick priority and also the blue side.
เล่นมิดมันไม่ควรจะเสียไพออเล่นบนเสียไพออได้แต่เลนมิดไม่ควรเสียไพออเว้ยคือถ้าเกิดคุณจะเล่นแล้วแบบมิดเสียไพออแล้วป่าโดนเวทก็นั่นก็คือเรื่องของคุณแหละก็คือคุณปล่อยให้ป่ามันแบบว่าเจ็บช้ำละกำซวงไปส่วนคุณก็แบบว่าฮ่าคือล็อกโซลิด
Love to see the Ryu crouch. He's
คือหินมันต้องโลมดักฆ่าแต่ว่าปัญหามันคือมันดันไม่มี priority คือถ้าเกิดมอไฟได้ priority แสดงว่าเลนกลางอีกฝั่งหนึ่งมึงต้องแบบมึงต้องหนักมากๆอ่ะมึงต้องเป็นตัวที่แบบตัวอะไรวะคือดันสู้มอไฟไม่ได้ต้องทีดาแมนเลนกลางอะไรเงี้ยมอไฟดันได้
in the LCK CUP certainly has been something that's been happening a lot. Do you know what? I'm into like short hair Chovy. I think short hair Chovy might be a thing from now on.
Yeah, no, he looks like he's going through a new complete arc, like he's on a reset.
It was like I
เขา
think
บอก
it
ว่า
was
โชวี่ร่าง
Arnold
นี้
that
เป็น
like was
ร่างโห
tweeting
ดครับ
about
ร่าง
it.
ผม
Like
สั้น
some of the shoots came out for like the new GENG outfits.
Yeah, it looks
and I think a lot of people were worried, you know, like, oh, they just did their basic training, you know, like they're not gonna have like, and then Chovy has like that photo shoot, like damn.
He's got some bad boy energy.
He certainly does.
He's limit broken.
เล่นมิดไม่น่าเล่นสายตีด้วยสายตีมันแบบเหมาะกับป่ามากกว่าป่ามันได้ตีแบบตีมิด ตีคลิปป่า
You sort of like trim it back
เนี่ย
so
ไล
it
ฟ์
can
มา
come
แล้ว
back stronger.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. All right, well.
แล้วแคสซิโอเปียไม่โดนแบนนะสามารถเลือกได้นะยูคาวแคสซิโอเปียเลือกได้เปล่า
to prove how much power he has.
Yeah, everyone's getting a glimpse into what was spoken about for the
แล้วมาเลยครับ
entirety
แค
of
สซิโอเปีย
the pre-game.
J4 ครับ
before we got
เอามา
into
ขัง
that
ไลฟ์
match.
กล่าวว่าแบบว่า
Alright.
These ultimates will pair incredibly well with each
มันๆเลย
other
ฮะ
here for DRX, and they have the counter pick for the Rise, so they left it up. Banned away the Jace and the Malphite, then they get the Cassiopeia counter pick to the Rise. They looks like
ซี่
they
กับไล
expected
ฟ์
based on how quickly
กับ
they locked
J4
those in. Let's see what the response is going to be here for Canyon.
เคยอนจะเล่นอะไรครับ
See what it is
วาย
gonna
ไม่
be.
มีแล้ว
It's not going to be Zinzao, which we have seen paired alongside the
ไม่มี
Rise
เฉา
quite
ว่า
often,
วู
but
คองครับ
looks like this is
เอมเบซ่า ก่อนเหรอ
monkey angle or
ไม่มีเลเนกตันแล้วนะ ไม่มีเลเนกตันกับเคดเดนครับเอมเบซ่า
And
ก็
something that Canyon has actually been finding a lot of
ช่ำ
success
ๆครับ
on in the new season.
ท็อปเลนอาจต้องเป็นเล็กไซว่ะแต่เล็กไซจริงๆแล้วก็
Yep.
คือถ้าเกิดเล่นไม่ได้ดีมากแบบเพอร์เฟกต์ที่ไปฝึกกับแฟนเดย์มาก็
Might give us an additional
ส่วนใหญ่จะระเบิดครับ
as you don't want to necessarily
และเจอ
split your
คีน
bottom
ด้วย
duo here, so we'll get either a jungler
เคซันเต้ยังเล่นได้อยู่ครับเคซันเต้เล่นได้ แต่ ก็ไม่ได้ดีมาก เล็กไซดูจะโอเคครับเพราะว่าเข้าไปหากับ J4 ได้เวลาอันติ
I'm playing Gnar. Just gonna grab Bard, just push that prio up and say we want a range support.
กดบาทครับก็คือเขาคอมมิตเขามีonly have one shot ครับคือวูคองกับเอมเบซ่าคอมมิตแล้วก็ใช้บาทอันติในการเคลือบเพื่อแบบตัดแบบ one shot คอมมิต
pretty flexible with what you can do with it.
There's so many picks that do fine into
Ben
Ambessa
Nord
left in the meta. So
ตอนนี้มีไปอยู่นะ
you really can just
เอาไปมาแย่ๆทำให้เขาแบบเสียอันติได้ครับหรือว่าบิสแคง
You only have 2 bans, and Rich has already shown he's happy to play the cannon. They're not even going to try for it.
He is going to play Cassante though, isn't he? If given the opportunity.
He might. I think it would suit the comp so far. But it also
คิดว่า
could
เล็ก
be
ใส่อ่ะพี่คิดว่าเล็กใส่
completely
นะ
different. Like he could go Jax here, look for some side laning power. It's been an old favorite of his. The Gnar is a little bit niche, but making a little bit of a comeback right now. I don't think he's going to be the one to play GP. So support bans going down here. The Varus gets taken away. They don't want to lane into
จ
that.
ริงๆ แก๊งแพงก็เป็นอีกหนึ่งตัวที่เทียร์ท็อปเลนดีนะครับตอนนี้เพราะว่าเอเซนลิเวอร์มันกลับมาแบบซื้อด้วยชีนแล้วดีมาก
Dive set up here with this Ambessa and the Realm Warp. They can set it all up. So Rakan and Nautilus both kind of make sense here.
Yeah, I actually think getting rid of a lot of that engage is going to be a great option. There's still Rel. Duro, certainly a fantastic Rel player, so it could be the option as far as starting off fights, might be what they're looking for. But one final ban to come through here from GENG, and it will be the Sivir taken away. So they're going to stay with the bottom side of the map as their focus.
I think you can't play Aphelios here. It doesn't work. It's too risky. It almost feels like a Zeri angle, even though Zeri Bard is not necessarily the lane where you're looking for all-ins. It would just be blind if they locked it here now, so they'll probably save it for that final pick. But I'm curious now where we're headed here for Rich, because he's the one who's going to get this lock-in here. And it's going to be Sion. Okay, so not going to be looking for an aggressive pick, a strong side laning pick, just looking for a tank, which reinforces the idea that it is going to be a strong scaling 80 carry pick like that Zeri here, potentially for Jiwoo in this final position.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
On the other hand, could be incredibly powerful for GENG here.
Yeah, it's not. I was thinking Lucian because there is the Jarvan and Cataclysm can be, you know, somewhat mitigated with that Relentless Pursuit. Of course, Ezreal fits that bill as well, and the Lucian's more difficult to pick because you don't have the Nami option. Of course, Braum is still there, but it's kind of interesting that we've seen Nami picked up already in this series.
I think they're just going to karma here. The movement speed is very useful. They already have tons of hard engage. They don't need an engage support here. The Rakan and Nautilus would have paired really well with everything they already have, but they're just going to look to crush the lane. They don't care what 80 carry it is. I'd say that, but it's the classic instead. Duro pulling out the Leona, the last one left, and it's just going to be Jin here for Geo. So instead of going for that scaling hyper carry, is going to look for something to follow up on all this front line. They have the Jarvan, they have the Scion, the Cassiopeia will do a lot of consistent damage later on. Great pick into the Rise. Take the nameplates off here. I feel like these drafts are almost dead even.
I mean, I'm a little bit worried though at the lack of damage on the DRX side, right? Like so
Leona
much of this is
เป็น
gonna
tier S
come
นะ
from
ของพี่
Yukal, and he is very single
tier S
target.
บวกด้วย
Outside of his ultimate, he's going to be wanting to
พี่ว่ามัน
twin
เก่งมากเลย
bang
แผ่นเนี้ย
someone that's in range, and he doesn't have a whole lot of that. You look at GENG, I mean, there are 4 threats.
There's 4 threats. Ezreal's range is going to be a problem for objective setup, so positioning is going to be really important. But I do think Ruler is going to spike pretty late in this game. The traditional 2 item spike for
ปกติ
Ezreal
Leona
has not really
มัน
been
มีปัญหาคือ
as powerful
เข้าแล้วออก
on this
ไม่ได้
patch, but we've
แล้วก็
seen double tier builds as well coming
เข้าแล้วแบบ
through. Might be
ดา
what
เมจ
we
ไม่
see.
พอ
We saw that from Smash yesterday. I'm
ก็คือมันเข้าไปปุ๊บแล้วมัน
not 100%
ตาย
sold on that right now. I think it's a little bit
แต่ว่า
slow, but
แพท
with a
ปัจจุบัน
draft
อะ
like this, he could certainly pull it off.
ไอตัว
If
ไอ
he
เทม
loses, it's hard, because of his
Bundle
mid laner as
แบน
Showmaker set up
แบน
for
เดล
Smash
ไปปะ
yesterday.
แบนเดลไปอ่ะ
And maybe it
มันทำให้
just
เข้าแล้วอ
doesn't
อกได้
matter, but
คือแบบมันมี
I'm
มูลส
really
ปีด
curious
เพิ่ม
about Chovy's build as well, because that
แล้ว
is
ก็
going to be an insane amount of damage output if he hits 3 items.
มูล
Gets
ส
that
ปีดอะ8 วิเลยนะเว้ย
actualizer online.
แล้ว
Like
เพื่อน
you said,
ตี
there
เร็ว
is a
ขึ้น
bit
แบ
of
บ
a
เหมือน
range
มี
issue
เบอร์เซอร์เกอร์
here.
รองเท้าเบอร์เซอร์เกอร์
Outside of the
เพราะฉะนั้นมันก็คือแบบ
Jin, it's just so easy to engage on with the
เข้า
competition
ปุ๊บแล้วอาจจะออกก็ได้ หรือว่าจะเข้าแล้วก็
then nothing of what I
เพื่อน
said
ทำดาเมจ
about
ก็แบบได้
scaling
อะ
and
มัน
damage and all that sort of stuff is
มันดีมาก
going to matter as here we are onto the Rift for game 2. All right, let's get into it. See whether DRX can once again have a good start. I think the bottom side, like lane matchup in the first few levels, way better this time around for DRX, and we'll see whether they can leverage that.
แต่ว่าเทียร์ลิสต์ของพี่มันไม่ใช่เทียร์ลิสต์ใน
Doing a bit
แข่ง
of
นะ
battle here, but not too much to worry
มัน
about.
เป็นเทียร์ลิสต์แบบในแรง
And
นะ
there's already
เพราะฉะ
Coach
นั้นก็แบบ
Voice Wolf.
Yeah. I
ใน
actually
แข่ง
didn't
บางที
hear
ก็อาจจะ
who,
ไม่ได้ยิน
in fact, pressed it. DRX pressed it.
DRX are
อย่าง
really
วูคองพี่ให้
good at
เป็น
pressing
เทียร์แบบ
Coach
เทีย
Voice
ร์
Wolf.
เทียร์
they
ซีเลย
did press it a lot. They pressed it all 3 times. Joker may have even pressed
เพ
it
ราะมัน
4
ฟาร์ม
times,
เยอะ
and
แล้ว
it
ก็
was
แบบ
told by
พึ่ง
the
เพื่อน
referees
เยอะ
in fact
ใน
he's used
ใน
all
แรงมัน
3 of his
Yep.
voice comms.
That may have
ทำอย่างนั้น
actually
ไม่ค่อยได้
Well, let's see what the plan is going to be. I think, like, isn't it a little bit of a waste? Weren't you just talking to them in the draft? Could you not have, like, you know, all of this is pretty pre-plannable.
Yeah.
บอมกับ
If
เท
we're
ส
gonna talk about, like, Coach
บอม
Voice
เทียร์ S
meta,
บวกเหมือนกัน
this may have
เทส
been a
เทียร์ S
misuse. As Dura goes in, level 1,
แต่จริงเทสนี่
not
พี่แบบ
exactly the
ให้เป็น
highest
เทียร์
value there,
OTP
as
เปล่า
both
ไม่มั่น
heroes
ใจ
are going to get popped.
แต่บอมมาเทียร์ S บวก
Actually, a decent
เพราะว่า
trade
ซื้อ
there
ไอ้
for
ตัว
GENG, despite
แบน
them
แบนเดอ
having
ร์ไปเหมือนกัน
melee support. Ruler is actually
ส่วน
sneaking
เทส
in a
ที่
lot of these mystic shots.
จำไม่ได้หรอ
As I said,
คือ
this
เทส
is-
มัน
this
ดี
is one
แต่ว่า
has been pretty good at evening
เอ่
up these
อ
trades.
ที่เกาหลีอ่ะมันเทสอะเป็นมันเหมือนรีซินอ่ะ คนมันชอบไปซัพพอร์ตชอบเล่นกันแบบเล่นกันตลอดเพราะว่ามันแบบตัวมันสนุกดีอะเก็บสแต็กแล้วก็แบบมีฮุกมีแบบหนุกดีมันก็เลยแบบไม่ว่าจะแพทไหนเทสมันก็เลยอยู่เทียร์แบบคนเลือกเยอะ
Having the Zenith Blade,
แต่ว่ามันก็ซื้อ
is going to be
Bundle
good,
ไปเหมือนกัน
right? The combination for the stun, but
แล้วพี่กินได้เทียร์อะไรไอ้แทนได้บอกไปแล้วเว้ย
and maybe just after shock not going to be enough. So you do kind of want that level 3.
วิลเลอร์อ้อมมา
They
ว่ะ
do go for any all-ins at that stage.
เพราะว่า
Now, Willa
ได้ priority ล่างครับไม่ได้ด้วยนะ แต่ว่าเอาเรียกคอมา
might actually be able to steal this one away.
Canyon
Okay,
ก็
Canyon moving on now
ปัก
towards
กวาดแล้วก็รอให้เขา
Canyon
โดน
wants to
เลด
move
บัฟ
this
ตี
up
ไป
and
เรื่
does
อยๆครับแล้ว
still
เดี๋ยว
have
แย่งกันครับตรงนี้
The vision here. There is a magical journey and actually
โดนเวทเลสไปครับเป็นแทนที่ได้คอละคอต้องบวกเลยบวกดูโลบวก
Did not even notice until it procced that Andal has taken electrocute here, which is pretty aggressive. Did end up doing a little bit of extra damage there, but doesn't amount to a kill.
เฮ้ยทำไมมีเดี๋ยวไว้โค้ดไว้ของ DRX
He's not happy, I think, about the fact that they lost brush control there, but he's talking about the lane setup at level 1.
Yep. Just making sure that they know exactly what they need to do. Get that early setup sorted out. And for different compositions, it can be different, so maybe they just didn't have enough time to discuss it before we actually loaded onto the Rift. Making sure that everyone is on the same page is going to be a good thing. As GENG currently behind about 200 gold, so Coach Voice worth 200 gold so far in this game.
Indeed.
Don't know whether that's entirely true, but you know what I mean.
We have the cocoa potions and the special cookies as well on this patch. I didn't realize that was still a thing.
Oh,
at least in the UI. I don't know if that's actually in game. I don't think it is. I thought the Rift. Yeah, the Rift's changed. Anyway, in the UI, it's cool. It's still Christmas.
Yeah. And it's not. It's actually a really long time before we've got Christmas. Because as soon as Christmas is over,
กินน่ะ
then it becomes like, you
No,
know,
Atlas,
300 days until next Christmas.
คือระบบ L อ่ะ
cookies in the
แม่งแปลก
inventory.
เวลาเราจะใช้สกิลให้โดน
Nobody's
แบบ
ever eaten a gingerbread cookie outside
เรา
of
ไม่
the
ควรเล็งที่
holiday
ตัว
season.
เราควรเล็งที่เท้าเว้ย
Yeah, well, I mean, they're just not quite as good because they're obviously a bit stale.
แล้วเวลาหลบสกิลอ่ะคนหลบให้หัวไปโดนแล้วเอาเท้าหนีอะไม่เหมือนสลับกันอะรูเลอร์ยอมตายไปอ้าวเลนล่างครับผม
And GENG already off to a phenomenal start this time.
I have to watch again. I think Gio was like just moments away from hitting that final shot. He's flashed on there. Does not get the fourth shot there. Ruler survives with a sliver of health and is then able to clean up with some help from Duro there in the final moment as Ondil is unable to get that last auto. The brush as well you mentioned, preventing the minions from really getting involved. And it's 2 kills here to GENG. So the initial setup here is on to Gio. First shot, right? He's trying so
ล็อกขา
hard.
ติด
Shot
เป็น
out, flashes
ไป
on
โดน
him. He's so close to it. And then Leona here gets the stun, gets into the brush. The minion aggro is dropped. And Ruler survives with, I didn't see exactly much health, but it looked like sub 20.
Yeah, it
พี่
was
จำไม่ได้พี่ให้จิน
definitely
เทียอะไร
the
วะ
lower
แต่
end
พี่
of
จำได้
the
ว่าจิน
double
เทียแบบ
digits.
ต่ำเลย
We'll say that. So Ruler really playing that one to the limit. And if he had have died, would have still been a huge win.
Yeah, no,
that's the ridiculous part. Is now Chobi trying to sidestep some of this, but the ulti does come through from Yukal. Now Chobi with that phase rush is looking to try and run away.
อย่าเวอร์โชวิ
That is going to get him to safety. Nicely done there, but does have to use a whole lot. Not the flash though, just Ghost.
Yeah, just Ghost. He did take Ghost this game. We've discussed this a little bit, starting with the pre-show even yesterday, but Rise takes Ghost most of the time in this meta because of the empowered recalls.
สโมเดอร์นี่เทียร์ซีเลยของพี่อะ
Will be backing away. Good sidestep from the deadly flourish, but still
TSC
able
แบบ
to get that
ไอ้เชี่ยคือ
with a bit of a meep slap.
ไม่ไหว
DRX now setting up for a dragon by the looks of things. As Chovy looking a bit worse for wear here in this mid lane, but will be able to get that wave shoved in. And that means that Yukal will be able to make his way back there to pick that one up. So a little bit of respite given to GENG. So we do have that reset coming through. So Chovy looking to home guard his way back.
เทียร์ซีก็แย่แล้วซีซันนี้มันโหดมากเลยนะ
Doesn't quite have, you know, anything put together just yet.
สุดท้ายแล้วพี่คิดว่าคือคำว่าโหดของเราอ่ะมันคือช่วงไหนมากกว่าถ้าเป็นช่วงแบบว่าโอเคมันเทียบกับ ADC ตัวอื่นอ่ะมันก็ในช่วงเลทเกมมันก็โหดแหละแต่ถ้าเกิดช่วงต้นเกมอ่ะในห้องแบบพวกแรงสูงๆนะมันจะไฮโลตัวที่เก่งอย่างอาเฟเลออดหรือลูเซียนมันดีกว่าเยอะเว้ยอย่างลูเซียนอย่างเงี้ยได้บัฟมาอย่างเงี้ยมันเทียเอสบวกมันได้แฟตดาเมจมาเปอร์เซ็นต์แฟตของ AD มามันเทียเอสบวกเราจะบอกว่าสโมเดอร์เก่งเพราะ SS River แต่ว่าพอไปเจอหน้างานจริงๆแล้วเจอลูเซียนตายห่ายังไม่ได้ทำที่อะไรเลยมันก็มันถ้าเกิดไปถึงเลนเกมมันเก่งแต่ว่ามันไม่ถึงเลนเกมไงเหมือนกับอารมณ์แบบคอมแบบ X เท่าอ่ะโคตรเทียเอสเลยแต่ว่าไปไม่ถึงจะตายก่อนเอาแพ้7 ตาติดเลยได้ X เท่าเก่งโคตรเลยแต่ตายแล้วแพ้เข้าใจปะคือเทียมันไม่ใช่ว่าแบบว่ามันจัดยากอยู่ในมุมมองมันเป็นมุมมองของแต่ละคน
The 4 is the big deal and having a Jin standing next to a 4 feels correct.
He just doesn't want us to see it.
Yeah. When that plate does go down, Gio's going to have to go to the top lane where it's
อย่างอาเฟเลออดอย่างเงี้ยได้ไอเทมใหม่อย่างเช่น Storm Laser ซึ่งมันเหมาะกับแมชกับแพทนี้มันก็เก่งซื้อ Storm Laser ชิ้นที่3เงี้ยแล้วมันก็เก่งแล้วมันก็ฟาร์มแล้วมันก็รวยแล้วมันก็สู้ได้อันนี้มันพี่ก็มองจากมุมมองหลายๆอย่างละคืออย่างเวลาพี่ให้เทียใช่ป่ะพี่จะมองว่าตัวไหนอ่ะมันเก่งก่อนในแพทเนี้ยแล้วตัวนั้นอ่ะมันเคาน์เตอร์ตัวอะไรพี่ก็จะให้ตัวที่โดนเคาน์เตอร์เป็นเทียตรงข้ามเลยนึกออกไหมสมมติว่าแบบสมมติว่าการเล่นเงี้ยโดนเคนเน่นเคาน์เตอร์อย่างเงี้ยแล้วเคนเน่นเก่งในแพทเนี้ยการเล่นก็คือเทียต่ำเลยเพราะว่าภาษาเลือกเคนเน่นได้คือการเล่นก็คือเราสมมติเราสแปมการเล่นอยู่เราเห็นเคนเน่นเราไม่อยากหยิบแล้วก็คือแสดงว่าตัวมันไม่ได้เก่งในแพทนี้ แต่เคเดนสามารถที่จะบายพลิกได้
over, but I don't know if he should be.
Yeah, he's on vision himself, but you got the miasma going down. There's the knock up onto Trophy. Remember, doesn't have the flash. True Shot Barrage sails through though, as UCal has to flash away. Does manage to find the petrifying gaze, but it is still going to be him that falls down.
ไม่ไหวแล้วครับต้องหนีครับผม
Sad meep sounds and 2 kills to GENG.
I mean, UCal went for the 1 in a million
คือ
play there.
ตอนแรกพี่ก็นั่งสรุปกับตัวเองก่อนว่าแบบเราทำเทียร์เนี่ยเราทำเทียร์จากอะไรแล้วก็สรุปได้สั้นๆว่าแบบมันต้องเป็นตัวที่แบบเล่นไม่ได้ยากเฮ้ย
As Ruler is going to be able to dive off to the side with the arcane ship. Still Jew is alive, and that is good news. Deadly Flourish not going to quite land.
Jin should have upgraded his
คือ
clip.
ถ้าเกิดเป็นตัวที่สามารถบายพลิกได้เล่นไม่ยากมากอ่ะนั่นคือเทียร์ S บวกเลย
Actually, no way. If he saves it.
I mean, Duro's coming in. There's the flash out, and Andrew just slaps him down. Just overstaying the welcome is now Keen. Could actually be to the
Oh my God, Lish.
And Rich is able to lock down
the
the solo
kill Keen.
Chovy is going to be able to answer here most likely.
แต่ว่าตายครับ
just need another Q or two, and Rich will be going down. Does get
S เดียวพี่ให้อะไร
buying a little bit more time.
S เดียวยากมาก
Don't tell me he
พี่เลยให้เป็น
gets out.
OTP
Do
เว้ย
not tell me he does not get out. Thank goodness.
แต่ว่าเดี๋ยวคิดว่าจะปรับ
exchange,
S เดียวกับไคซ่า คือมันไม่ได้เก่งในแพทแต่ว่าถ้าเกิดแบบพวกแบบ ADC ช่ำๆมันเก่งไง
Doesn't really have any AP, so it's going to take a little while, but it's getting a little bit of a
คือมันก็เก่งในแพทแต่ว่าไม่ได้ถึงขั้นแบบว่ามันต้องเก่งด้วยตัวเองมันคือ S เดียวอ่ะ
And that's with 3 grubs, so that is going to
คือ S เดียว
just a little
ถ้าคุณเล่นไม่เป็นแม่งคือแบบใช้สกิลที่อะไรไม่โดนเลย
잠깐 나오는 거 맞대도 될 것 같아. 오케이. 집 안 갈게요.
เช่นเดียวกับไคซ่าถ้าเกิด
So just
ไม่
talking
รู้
to Duro
มันก็
about
ก็
how
พูดยากมากเลย
Duro's
อะ
been
พี่ก็เลย
playing
แบบ
this
คือ
one
เดี๋ยว
out.
ขอคิดอยู่ ADC เนี่ยยังติ๊กไว้อยู่ว่าแบบตัวนี้แบบเดี๋ยวมานั่งคิดไป
Focus on moving further forward, and obviously it did kind of work because then they got 2 kills.
Yeah.
You can't fault
คือ
it.
ไคซ่ากับ S เดียวเป็นสองตัวที่พี่คิดว่าแบบ มันนอกเหนือกฎเกณฑ์อะ คือมันสามารถเก่งได้เลยถ้าสมมติว่าแบบแม่งแบบคือถ้า S เดียวใช้สกิลโดนเรื่อยๆแล้วแบบรู้วิธีเล่นจะแบบเชื่อไหมก็คือเหมือนไอริเลีย
They're the ones who have the first dragon. DRX did get the grubs, which eventually got a second plate for them in the mid lane, but the situation here looking fairly dire.
Yeah, the
จริงเหรอ
problem
ซาบิ
is
หลา
that the money is on Chovy and Ruler.
ซาบิหลาพี่ไม่ได้ติ๊กเลยเพราะว่าพี่เอาเกณฑ์เรื่องของ
Mondo got the kill on the ruler earlier as
เรื่องของ
well.
จำนวนการเลือก
That
2%
was pretty funny. I'm sad we didn't get a full replay of that one of ruler being like, maybe he'll use his last shot and we kill
คือ
him.
ถ้าเกิดเลือกพลิกเรทต่ำกว่า 2% พี่ไม่ได้เอามาคำนวณเท่าไหร่
And that didn't quite work out. But watching a very bloodthirsty support go for the flash meep slap, that was definitely very fun.
มันเป็น
So glad
เทียร์ลิส
we saw
เชิง
that.
สแตท
He
อะ
takes
มันไม่ได้
the map
เทียร์ลิส
out.
เชิงแบบว่า
Yeah, the
วิจัย
electric
แบบ
bar Jin lane
คือเชิงสแตท
did
แล้วก็
not
แบบเฮ้ย
generate the
เขา
lead
ออกมา
that
เล่นแล้วแบบ
DRX were looking for in this
มัน
one.
ตรงนี้มันโอเค
Yeah,
เพราะว่าเขา
claiming
บิว
to
อะไร
have
อะไร
killed
เงี้ย
is probably
แบบนั้น
not,
มากกว่า
the thing they wanted. As Tempered Fate goes down, Curtain Call comes in as well as now GENG looking to try and turn it. The Cyclone is enough just to kill Andil outright as now Willa inside the Cataclysm, but who's trapped in where with who is now Jew looking for a little bit.
DRX โดนไล่ป่าแบบยับเลยว่ะ
Just going to transfer over towards killing UCal to keep himself safe. True Shot Barrage onto G. The flash forward from Chovy. The easy 1-2 punch here as GENG throw out the alley-oop, and it's 8-2.
ไม่ได้เห็นเลยแต่เห็นเขาเล่นในพี่เห็นด็อกเตอร์ดูสเล่นซามิลาท็อปใหม่ดูสนุกดีนะผมว่าคือพี่เห็นเขาเล่น ADC ท็อปเยอะครับแต่ว่า
very much
ก็ไม่ได้คือเขาสตรีมเวลาที่พี่สตรีมนั่นแหละพี่เลยไม่ค่อยได้แบบได้ดูมาก
of DRX as we've talked about like game times and stuff like that. The game time where the Nexus explodes hasn't changed as much as maybe people have said, but your ability to come back in games like this that gets so off the rails. So I'm looking at you, Romer, yesterday. It's just not really possible. As you know, there's not a great target for Gio in this fight. He like shoots a cannon. And he's like, yeah, my carry on the top. UCal, I can't really peel for him that well with this. And then UCal just kind of tries to rejoin and dies. And they chase here for some reason, which is kind of absurd. Gio gets hit by the True Shot Barrage. Chovy gets the flash finish. And it's starting to look like a little bit of Harlem Globetrotters at this point. Some quests start to get completed.
Yeah. This is going to be an uphill battle. Let's just say that 4,000 gold is the lead. That is kind of where I feel like DRX got out to a pretty decent advantage at the beginning of game number 1. And it was turned around by GENG, but it's really going to take some heroics here in this game. And I mentioned already that this is a kind of composition where they will have damage issues
เวลาเปิดก็คือ
if
จะ
they
ได้
are
บูน
not
สปีด
ahead.
Yeah, I mean
And
this
they are not
อยู่
ahead.
8 วิวิ่งเร็วเพิ่ม 20
is just kind of
20 ป่ะ
hoping the game doesn't explode. The Nexus doesn't explode for a
20
while. and
แล้วก็เพื่อน
when you look at what the Jin is
คิด
trying to
ง่ายๆ
do
เลยถ้าเกิดเพื่อนจะได้เหมือนจะได้ attack speed
I mean Sion's ahead
เหมือนมีเบอร์เซอร์เกอร์เหมือนมีรองเท้าเบอร์เซอร์เกอร์
that's kind of a thing
Almost 400
ก็คือประมาณ
gold.
20% เยอะมาก
All right, so Rich just needs to try and transfer that lead into getting more done. As
เห็นปะลีโอน่าวิ่งเร็วขึ้น
now you've just got a Hail Mary, right? Look for that Chovy side lane pick again. Maybe that'll work. Worked out kind of okay on the Azir in game 1.
Oh. These mystic shots are really starting to hurt. Ruler is doing some damage.
แต่ว่าเมื่อกี้ไอ้ 20% นั้นคือแบบตัวตีไกลนะถ้าตัวตีใกล้ 30% ด้วยคือแบบเล่นกับป่าก็โหด
They wanted to try to collapse onto Chovy, but Chovy stayed back, played safe. The rest of the team comes over. And now they have Prio on Dragon. And they'll gladly take another double Dragon here. This DRX is in game 1. This time it'll be GENG's. And I just don't think there's a real contest in this one. DRX tried last time.
Well, let's see what they can actually get done here. It's actually Ruler that takes down
ดูดิ
the
ดู
Dragon.
ดาเมจดิ
He
ชัด
does nothing and down goes the Bard. Now Willer is in a lot of trouble
คือมัน
himself.
ตีไวมากเลยเว้ย
Out of the way. UCal not going to be so lucky. Petrifying Gaze onto 2.
คือถ้าคุณเล่นบูคองแล้วคุณพุ่งเข้าไปมันเกมด้วยท่า E นะแล้วแบบลีโอน่าตันให้นะคือมันแบบไม่แบบปั๊บคือไวมาก
And Jeer does get a bit of a wave shoved in towards this turret, but I don't think in the neutral is really going to be able to fight against Ruler here as Willer comes down, does find the Cataclysm.
แต่ว่ามี
Ruler has Flash and Barrier, and Jiu is reloading again. Ruler's like, try me.
Oh no. Well, he will find that bullet.
โอ้โดนแล้ว
Ruler's going to have to possibly use something to get out of the way, but there was no vision.
โดนไล่แคนยอดไปไล่
It's just not going to happen. Canyon moves in, but he's just trying to deter them from sticking around. And yeah, we don't need to look at the top lane. It's not all that interesting as Andal might be dead again.
ใช่แล้วราคาแค่ 2,000 ด้วยแม่งโคตรโกงอ่ะคือตัวไหนที่ออกไอ้แบนโดไพอ่ะที่ให้ Tier S เลยคือออกได้แบบไม่เขินป๊อปปี้พี่ยังให้มาเป็น A เพราะป๊อปปี้อ่ะแม่งใช้คิวหรือท่า E อ่ะก็ได้ผลของแบนโดไปที่ให้เทียเพิ่มมาเลยขนาดเป็นซัพพอร์ตป๊อปปี้เลยเว้ย
And that candle analogy, you know.
และตัวที่แม่งออกแล้วดีมากๆอย่างลีโอน่าบลอมคือมึงเอาไปจัดเต็ม
Rich is just bailing himself out of there as Gio is also going to die. Chovy and Ruler making short work of the Jin. The Sion, as we can see, is defecting. Just thinking that maybe GENG is going to be the right call for this game. But he is just going to be able to make it out. Cute little use of the unstoppable onslaught to make sure that he is going to survive. But GENG, in the meantime, will be taking the Rift Herald, and it's a 7,000 gold lead.
Yeah. This is the second Dragon contest where we're like, not sure what the plan is here. We do have a Cassiopeia and a Jarvan setup, but we don't actually have the ability to close the gap. We have no setup here. Send it anyways. Like, they have so many tools. If this game state is closer, and if they had Prio, it could have worked out.
Oh, in the meantime, got a bit of a fight here towards this bottom side. Solar Flare not quite getting the stun onto UCal. Looked like it was very, very close, but good sidestep there. Avoids that. But it looks like Duro and Keen will be able to absorb this pressure, actually doing a bit of damage back towards UCal as well. That Eclipse now completed. And Ruler with some spare time. This is what happens. I mean, DRX overloaded the bot side. They had a few extra members there. But now Duro is actually going to go for this. As now UCal could be in trouble. Means that UCal is just dead, and Willer tries to get back towards that side of the play. Straight underneath the turret is actually surviving for a bit.
แล้วขี่ต่อ Oh my god หนีได้ปะแบนเดอร์ไปได้ปะ Oh my god ดูโล
They go into Duro's ear and say, all right, can you just pilot the Rift Herald to murder someone as you are almost definitely going to go down, and then watch Ruler get a solo kill in the mid lane? That was probably not what was said, but
เดินฝ่าลูกกระสุนมันก็ไปยิงใส่จีวู
Yes. Wow, that was
ไม่ไหวอ่ะสู้ไม่ได้
that was everything. I was going to say that was something, but I think it was actually quite
that was a lot of things.
Yeah. No summoners for Duro in that exchange, by the way. Just all clean, you know. Go in, tank for Canyon to get the charge, reboot into the Herald, and then turn around.
และเมื่อกี้ไอ้แบนเดอร์ไปอ่ะ
The Ruler's just
ดู
making
ว่า
a highlight reel
สเต
over
ตแม่ง
here.
โกงแค่ไหนราคา 2,000 นะเว้ยมี ability H 15มีเลือด 200มีเกาะกับกันเวทอย่างละ 20คุณว่าแม่งบ้าปะ
does come down, but I think the damage has been done as Gio is immediately punished now for killing Prince Ruler, and Canyon will be able to deal with that as he flashes forward to pick that one up. Now Rich, they just left. As UCal was teleporting in,
yeah,
that's why.
TP is just a little bit too late. I want to get instant replay on the fan cam, because the fans were like loving that ruler play, but the second they wanted to give the support, he just got shot by Ju there, and they just probably had to look sheepish and be like, well, I mean, it was a good play, but the timing was awkward. And yeah, right now I feel like the only thing we don't know about the end result of this game is whether Ruler or Chovy is going to get POM.
Yeah, that's a good
because
point.
like Chovy game 1, 100% game 2, perfect KDA, but it's kind of been the Ruler show here.
And Ruler had a pretty good game 1 as well. So, I mean,
recency bias means my prediction is Ruler's going to get it, because I mean, watch this.
I mean, he does this, right?
Yeah.
And that might be enough just to get it regardless. Man, that was a sick outplay. What was that is what he said.
I want to say he called him a youngin as well there at the end. If I understood that correctly. It's like Willie's like so much older than Will, and he's just like, I guess I have better hands than you, bro.
Yeah. That is a very Ruler thing to say. I would not put it past like whatsoever.
Who's
ผม
the
โดน
young?
แบนหินเปล่ารัวเลยบอก
1 year off, that's what you get.
Yeah, well, I mean, just shows that, you know, some of these hands that have been around for a little bit longer are still working just fine. My excuses are running thin, let's just say.
ถ้าอยากได้ตัวใหม่ต้องรอเทียร์ลิสครับผม
Ruler, yeah, I don't know.
ยังมีงานวิจัยที่ทำให้คุณได้จะลิ้มรสถึงความอร่อย
We'll see what happens to the
รอ
rest
ดู
of
เที
this
ยร์ลิสแล้วกัน
game.
All right, well, DRX, they're not out of it just yet, but they're very close. It's 11,000 gold, and we do not want to, you know,
เมื่อไหร่สุพี่จะมา
yeah, we don't want to say anything that may lead to us sounding like we are not being
แต่ติดปัญหาเรื่องเทคนิคแต่ว่าตอนนี้ปัญหาเรื่องเทคนิคหายหมดแล้ว
This game is borderline over. As Canyon is
ทำได้แล้ว
going to get engaged on here. Let's see whether
เพราะว่า
he
ปัญ
can
หา
find
เทค
something
นิค
as
มัน
the
เยอะ
Cyclone does get a couple of knockouts.
การโหลดรีเพย์มันยากอยู่
For a very long time, however, will be taken out. But look at these health bars. They're so low. Great sidestep there from Chovy at the same time. Does get interrupted, so he's not realm warping away. But that might be a dangerous thing as he gets a big old shield from the Seraphs, and in goes everyone. Ruler's now showed up. That's a bunch of extra money. I mean, Giu does manage to get the kill onto Chovy, so that is a big deal for picking up that cash. But I just don't think it's going to be worth it when Ruler is going to be picking up his 9th kill in a couple of moments.
Yeah, I mean, does this really change the landscape of PO votes that much? Like, it was really impressive from Chovy, but it wasn't an actualizer highlight, you know? It was,
yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, he ghosted, which is
Ruler
killed a Scion, so that's not really like that many points in his corner either.
But he tanked the zombie Scion, which I think is a big deal.
I mean, some points in Ruler's column is he's not going for the double tier build, which, you know, I think it's fun, and double tier is back, and that's cool.
มีงานวิจัยทีโม่ไหมครับ
I don't think it's that good. Chovy here.
ทีโม่ไม่ค่อยมีใครเลือกอะที่เอาตัว
as you said in the play-by-play.
Yeah.
He does massive amounts of damage here, and then Duro shows up, gets on the back line.
ไม่เปอร์เซ็นต์เลือกก็เปอร์เซ็นต์แบน
was not in vain.
เป็นตัวตั้งในการเอามาพิจารณาในการไปวิจัย
Wait, we're gonna go for this.
ไม่งั้นมันเยอะเกิน
Okay. Didn't we have? Never mind. He was saying something, so we will be able to get all of the info.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He called him a youngin, essentially. I was right.
He's like, I'm so young, and now I'm older. As he died. As we've got a little bit of a fight here towards the top side.
I'm so young,
Public
and now
execution.
I'm
Tempered Fate locks up a few of them, but unfortunately, Andil is still going to die. Yukal also looking a bit worse for wear as it's a triple kill already for Ruler, and let's see whether he can lock down the Penta this time. Rich is going to go down for the Quadra, and Giu is just running for the hills. Another denied
แต่พี่อยากรู้ว่าคลิปอะถ้าที่พี่ทำอะคลิปมันถ้ามันนานเราโอเคป่ะวะ คือพี่ก็อยากพูดถึงทุกตัวตอนแรกพี่คิดว่าแบบเราหรือเราควรทำคลิปแบบไม่เกิน15 นาทีดีวะแต่แบบถ้าเราพูดทุกตัวมันก็จะนานนะก็เลยคิดว่าช่างแม่งกูทำพูดแม่งแพ้หมดเลย
Yeah.
ใครว่ามันนานก็ดูแต่โลตัวเองก็ได้
will last long enough for that to come through. Oh, Jin versus Turret. Turret wins.
Oh no!
โคตรเล่นเลยอ่ะทุเล่นจนแบบอุบาทอะ
Oh my God! Turn it off.
เห็นแล้วแบบเห็นแล้วเครียดอะ
Like that's just inappropriate to show that.
เป็นการตายที่แบบ
Like that might have
สำหรับผม
been
พี่ว่ามัน
the
แย่นะ
lowest
เว้ย
point in Giu's career. Like that specific moment might be like the worst he has ever felt in a pro game.
Oh no!
Oh no!
And if
maybe it was when Guma sniped him.
I was gonna say, like, if you've been watching for a while, then you'll know that that is a big call. That's a big call, unfortunately.
Guma killing him on the Smolder game might have been the most low point, but
yeah.
Oh God!
It didn't feel great for anyone, I think, involved. As Ruler does one shot towards that turret to do 1 billion damage to it. Willer almost just dies as an afterthought.
วิลเลอร์เข้าไปปุ๊บเกือบตายแล้วอะต้องเรียกซาเฮนแล้วบางเฉาตอนนี้ผมว่าไม่ไหวแล้วผมต้องแบบต้องเรียกซาเฮนแล้วไม่ใช่เฉาเจโฟหรือไป
As it's a double for Ruler so far, Chovy grabbing a kill himself. And man, this Ruler guy is pretty good at this video game. 17, 2, and 6, and finally, GENG will put DRX out of their misery.
ยังไม่ได้ดูเลย
Pretty quick game 2 here. 24 minutes
เฮเลีย
in.
คืออะไรอ่ะ
Game 1 a lot more interesting. DRX decided to send it big on those 2 dragon fights. They came up with nothing.
อ๋อ
And when it comes to the best team here domestically in the LCK, you give them an inch, they take a mile. And they smash game 2.
เรียบร้อยครับ 2-0 ครับหัวหน้าห้องครับ
Very convincing fashion.
นำแต้มกลับมาคืนสู่ทีมบารอนครับเดี๋ยวคู่2ครับเรายังมีในส่วนของนงชิมครับสเกลกลับมาที่เกาหลีแล้วครับเจอกับ BFX
It was like 29 matches or something absurd. And
that
included EWC and MSI and all sorts of stuff. This was a team that just did not lose
แล้วก็
throughout
แทยู
most
น
of
ครับ
last year. And obviously they didn't win
LCK ใหม่
worlds.
ครับของ
And
น
so
ง
you
ชิม
can say
ส
whatever
ปอน
that
ด้วย
means
ป่าใหม่
to yourself. But I mean, this roster is absurdly strong. So kudos to DRX for their game 1. Game number 2, I think maybe they used all
ไหน
the
200 บาท
energy in
ไหน
game
200 บาท
1. And
รอ
unfortunately
อยู่
didn't have enough left in the tank to withstand GENG the second time around.
My comment, I've got it ready. I'm sending it in. I'm locking it in.
Are you just going to copy exactly what Dan said yesterday? The stop it, he's already dead? Because that's basically what happened this time around as well. Was there a ruler that got it for you as well? Is that how it went?
Yeah, I did go with ruler.
Okay. I don't know who I would have voted for, but I don't have a.
รอคลิปเทียร์ลิสต์เหมือนกันค่ะคลิปเทียร์ลิสต์ที่พี่ทำแยกเป็นตำแหน่งไปพี่หรือรวมๆเอาแยกก็แยกเป็นตำแหน่ง
So I'm not salty about it.
ท็อปเลนเลยก็คือทุกเลนแล้วก็เดี๋ยวทำเป็นไทม์สแตมป์ให้
A lot of stuff in game 1 as well.
I mean, he had like an incredibly pop-off game in game 2, so I think he probably deserves it for that.
Like, you know,
Plus, we get to talk to him about those crazy comms, which I think is very important.
Chovy,
yeah.
He always gets it, man.
Yeah.
Like, just give somebody else a chance. Like, that's not even the first time we've made that joke, but this also happened.
Yeah.
Okay, no 4th shot for you.
Look at this. Look at his
kite back.
Okay, this is just
where
going
DRX
to be a ruler highlight reel, isn't it?
Yes.
Missed a mystic shot. Probably should go to Chovy.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll take it all back.
This one we've seen like 4 times now, but it's always good for another rewatch.
Yeah.
Watch this guy.
Oh, barrier value.
Flashes the cataclysm.
แฟดหลบอันติ
See you
ไอ
later.
เจโฟด้วย
And then Duro here sets this one up. They're so split. And like the Bard ultimate.
พี่ไม่ได้ไปเลยอ่ะ
kind of
เดี๋ยวต้องไปตีแต่ทีวันพีซีคาเฟ่ที่เกาหลีเหรอหมายถึงว่าแบบก็คือเบสแคมป์เหรอ
Gio gets away.
หรือมันมีอีกที่เหรอ
But is he really the winner in
อ๋
the
อ
end?
มีอีกเหรอ
Because if we speed up.
ที่ไปเกาหลีไปไต่แหล่งน่าจะไม่มีเวลาไต่ครับ
Oh no, that's not going to be
Ruler does eventually get the
เพราะว่า
official pental.
ก็ไปดูแข่งแล้วก็ดูแข่งแล้วก็ไป
We're not going to. No, we're not watching it again. We're not watching it again. We can't do that to him.
Oh yeah, we
ก็จะ
are.
ไปพักผ่อนด้วยครับ
Oh God. All right. Well, I mean, he's still there.
Surely we watch it again. Surely
We're
the
watching it
unofficial
again.
penta.
We're in the midst of watching it again. What's he going to say?
มีเลนรีเวอร์ไหมครับ
죽여달라는데?
I think he's gonna die, and he dies.
Yeah.
이공식 펜타네.
Yeah. He's like, that's my penta. That's my penta. Give it to him. Give it to him.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about my ruler vote.
Yeah. I would say that the ruler vote's looking pretty good.
พี่จะเอาอะไรไปให้เฟกเกอร์เซ็นเดี๋ยวก่อน
Not looking great on the DRX side. GENG really just kind of running away with it that time.
พี่ถาม ChatGPT แล้วเขาบอกไม่มีนะแบบว่ามีคือถ้าเกิดอยากจะเจอนักแข่งแบบสุดๆก็ต้องไปอยู่ทางข้างหลังทางเข้า ที่รถตู้มาส่งตรงนั้นน่ะไปยืนรอตรงนั้นน่ะได้อยู่
It's a ruler day, and I'm happy that
พี่กิ๊บไปดูแข่งของแมตช์ไหนครับ B วันทีวันกับ KT วันที่23ครับแล้วก็DN Super กับทาวาไดวันที่24ครับก็คือได้ดูทีวันทุกคนที่เมื่อก่อนทั้งเซตอะได้เจอกูบายุชิซูสได้เจอหมดอะไลฟ์ไม่ได้ครับก็จะถ่ายแบบสั้นๆแบบนิดหน่อยเป็นวีล็อกแบบเขาอาจจะข้างในเขาอาจจะห้ามถ่ายเยอะแต่ถ้าเกิดได้เจอโดรานแบบคิดไปแล้วว่าจะทำอะไร
Very strong. I like how much utilization they had of Coach Comms. Game 2, that game was kind of unplayable after the first disaster, and then the second one got worse, and then the third, like, Dragon contest made it just so it was 100% done. Yeah. But I feel like you can look at Game 2 and be like, I guess DRX aren't as good as they were in Game 1. Well, that game state was pretty unplayable.
พี่จะบอกให้โดรานแนะนำตัวครับแต่พี่จะแนะนำตัวเป็นภาษาไทยก่อนพี่ตัวสวัสดีครับผมชื่อโดรานนะครับฝากติดตามเชียร์ด้วยนะครับฮายโยเซโยฮายแล้วก็ให้โดรานพูด
And this was their very first match in 2026. This is a new roster coming together, trying to figure things out. And as soon as
แล้วเรื่องที่พี่พูดไปรับฝากซื้อเสื้อทีวันที่พี่พูดจริงไหมเอาจริงเหรอเดี๋ยวถ้าเกิดสมมติว่าแบบไปถึงที่นู่นแล้วมันมีเสื้อขายเดี๋ยวถ่ายรูปแล้วเดี๋ยวก็ให้ติดต่อมาทางเพจแล้วเดี๋ยวดูอีกทีเพราะว่ารับตอนนี้มันคงไม่ได้เพราะว่าเราไม่รู้ราคาเราไม่รู้เลยแล้วก็ขอกำไร500ต่อตัวจริงไม่ใช่กำไรหรอกก็คือพี่ก็จะส่งให้อ่ะจะส่งให้ถึงบ้านอ่ะมันก็ต้อง500 บาทก็ไม่แพงถ้าไม่ใช่เสื้อทีวันพี่รับยูไว้ไม่รับเลยเพราะว่าพี่จะไปแบบเป็นบางจุดอ่ะไปบางจุดแล้วก็
one shot 3 people on DRX and then one shot the water immediately afterwards. That's sort of how it went.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a pretty good explanation.
ไปบางจุด
I'm looking forward to the second series. I'm also looking forward to this interview.
ที่มันมีขายสัมภาษณ์รูเลอร์ครับหลังจากที่แบบเป็นระเบิดฟอร์มมา
This is Steer for the POM interview translation. We are here joined by Ruler on the side of GENG, who just secured a 2-0.
ไม่แต่รับไม่เยอะไม่ได้รับแบบมาเป็น20ตัวรับเต็มที่ก็5ตัวอะไรอย่างงี้ก็บอกว่าซื้อกลับมาใส่เอง
With GENG's victory, Baron Group takes their first win. So, you won your first match of LCK CUP. How do you feel? Our first match was a victory. It just makes me really happy, and I want to make sure that we're ready for our match. From game 1.
แต่เงินมันหอพี่แบนนิดนึงอาจจะได้เที่ยวทั้งทริปคือเดี๋ยวไม่ได้มันไม่คือมันมีตารางสิ่งที่ต้องทำเยอะครับมันเลยแบบไม่ได้วาง
How did it feel playing them?
ก็เดี๋ยวดูอีกทีว่าจะ
it wasn't
รับฝาก
easy.
ฮิว
It
ไว้
was pretty tough facing them.
พอพี่แชทอยากได้เสื้อทีวันเยอะแล้วก็แบบ
I think we had a really good match against them.
ก็ถามพี่แบบในเพจมาเรื่อยๆ
I think it was overall pretty tough. So winning that tough match must make you really happy. And game 2, you're Ezreal. You got an early duo kill in the laning phase and got many more solo kills. And going lethal tempo really must have paid off. So did you consider this kind of skirmish? Yeah, I think lethal tempo Ezreal is really hot right now.
ลีเต้าดีครับเพราะว่าถ้าเล่นกับเลียวนาที่แบบเอาออกไอตัวแบนเดนไปมันก็ติดลีเต้าไวครับลีเต้าติดครบ6สแต็กไว
With your Ezreal, we want to take a look at these replays. That's right. I'm still young. Suddenly I'm old again. So Ruler, you said I'm still young.
คู่ต่อไปก็ต้องเชียร์น้องชิมครับเพราะว่าน้องชิมอยู่กลุ่มบาลอนครับเดี๋ยวพี่ขอไปรักจมูกเดี๋ยวแชท
Duro. Always tell me that I'm so old. He just calls me an old man, so that's why. Yeah, Ezreal is Ruler. Ruler is Ezreal. You got an unanimous POM, but with your Ezreal. Please give it up for Ruler. And that unofficial Penta as well. You know, was it a bummer that you didn't actually get a Penta? Yeah, it was, but you know, I'm sure I'll have more opportunities in the future. And everyone's been saying that this is the biggest bot meta update, so how important does bot lane feel after playing on stage? Yeah, I think the laning in bot definitely has become more important. I feel like in the early to mid game though, the upper half of the map is more important, more crucial as of now. And your roster stayed the same, but head coach Ryu actually joined the team. So how have you been getting along with him? You know, in game, he has been giving a lot of help, so I can feel that I have been getting better. And yeah, I can feel the difference. There are so many fans on site today. And it looks like there is this cheer fan sign. That is very supportive of you, 두존젠, which is a wordplay about how GENG has double buzz cut. How creative. You know, your parents are even here today to cheer for you. What do you think? I know everyone's all so attentive about my hair. They're always focused on my hair, and I could really use less attention on my hair, but you know, any attention is good. Thank you so much for your support. And any word for your parents?
คู่หน้าใครจะชนะหรอพี่คิดว่าน้องชินนะ น้องชินเป็น
So maybe next time, please cheer for
ถ้า
me
เจอแบบ
harder
อย่างเงี้ย
and
สู้ได้
louder.
แต่ถ้าไปเจอพวก Gen G ฮาวาไลท์ไอพวกแบบ T1 อะไรเงี้ยระเบิด
How affectionate of a message. And your next match will be against KT. I'm sure you're eager to win. What is your mindset? I want to be well prepared, just as how well prepared we were today for our next upcoming match. Thank you so much. And that's the end of the interview with Ruler. I'm back to the space. Thank you.
ผมอยากได้แจ็คเก็ตเหรอ
Thank you very much, dears. We do a
มี
hair check.
มี IRL ไหมครับ
Do the
พี่
hair check
ต่อไป
as
ก่อน
well.
มีครับ
While
มี
we
ครับเดี๋ยว
remind
มี
you that
IRL ครับ
GENG take the victory 2-0. Ruler, there you go. Hair check. Yeah. Hair check. Everyone's got it, but we don't have the skills that Ruler has. He gets himself the POM, and he leads the world in kills per game, 11.5. It's just fun little stat there early on in the season.
ต้องยกให้ลูเลอร์จริงครับ
But yeah, not really surprised you got the 13 out of 13. A very showy performance in that game too. A lot of moments that we saw in the highlights where he's really styling on the opposition.
Yeah, I mean, beginning of the season, it always happens. You know, the stronger team, a top-tier team, always stomp the lower-tier team because of the meta change. And I think they need to figure out what champion works, because I don't think we're gonna see Ezreal, Leona versus Jean Bard matchup on the bot lane at the end of the season. You know, that matchup is really unplayable.
Yeah, well, let's see how this match basically unfolded in the first moments here. It was Ruler taking hold of the POM in this amazing 2v2.
This was such an intense play because Duro gets his initial engage.
Yep.
And then we get Ruler going aggressive. And this is actually a great stun that comes out
from
the
Q flash.
The redirect, which makes it look close, but then Duro blocks the deadly flourish
Duro
here.
block
And then this
โคตรโหด
flash comes out to make sure the Mystic Shot is secured here from Ruler. It's super tight. It's super close.
Oh my god, it was so clean by both players, you know, and also, I mean, I think Ruler is gonna die here.
Yeah, look how low he gets. The minions are hitting him.
Oh,
Gets to three health. No! It's 17. So close.
Yeah, actually.
เลือดสาม
It's so insane.
Threes in the chat, please.
I feel like so many people would just back off. I would have assumed you're gonna die there. And
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
I feel like Ruler hit 3 health.
แต่มีคนตอนแรก
but then he had 2 extra
มีคน
health.
บอกว่าเอา
I
ไทรอัมมาแต่ว่าจ
it
ริงๆแล้ว
was
เอา
the value of the lethal
Pressure of
tackle, you
Mind
know?
มา
I
นะ
think if you
แต่ว่าพี่ไม่ได้ตอบ
have
พี่ตอบใน
PK or anything
ตอบใน
else, then
ตอบใน
I don't
ใจ
think
อะ
you can
แบบ
survive in this
เพราะ
moment.
Pressure of Mind มา
But
ครับ
I think
ไม่
the
ได้
reason why
Triumph
he could survive there
เพราะ
is
SL
because
ต้อ
of
งการ
the
มา
lethal
หน้า
tackle, and also like keep auto attacking enemy team was like really impactful.
Yeah, and my comment, you know, new year, new season. It's the set. He was doing this last year. Ruler is just extremely good at the game, and that hasn't changed. You know, you can change the game, you can change the rules. He's still gonna pop off.
I mean, what can I say? No hair, no problem.
He did specifically.
Yeah, we did. He said let's stop focusing on the hair. He said.
I mean, that's messed up. I already wrote down the poem before his interview, so I'm sorry, Roller. But yeah, I mean, I had to do it.
Next Mystic shot is aimed at you.
เวียดนามเขาดูแข่งกันไหมดูนะดูเยอะนะ
That was good.
เวียดนาม
That
ดูเย
should
อะ
be
เล
a
ย
comment.
แบบ
The pommet of the pommet.
ก็
Let's see what else that we had for pommet.
แอลก็
No, this is not from me, by the way. It's not from me. It's not from me. It's not from me.
no hair no
Let me
problem
check. I saw. Yeah, we did requested this. I see a
Wait,
comment.
what?
Yeah,
You're looking at the blank screen. No, you're not looking at the Slack. You're not looking at our messenger app. Don't show me like that. I love you, Luller. You're one of the best AD carry in LCK. You're my favorite. You know, like you can't do that.
Is he telling the truth, Chad, or did he turn it off when he turned it off?
No, I didn't.
I think he broke it. Why
There's
you gonna have
Wolf.
to pay for this with it?
Wolf with the translations while we heard everything, all the comms on there. The youngest man on the Rift showing why with some huge outplays there on the Ezreal. It was great to see, and Wolf keeping track of that one. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
This is wars.
This is so
This is wars.
This is so
Helios, you can't.
You know what? I lied with it. Next Mystic shot is coming for Helios.
No! Oh my God.
Next two shot barrage is coming for Helios as well.
Oh no.
Oh man.
That's messed up. Well, I mean, Chobi at least was on that last graphic. Overwhelming power, 50,000 strategies there from Prince.
I mean, there was a lot of overwhelming power, you know.
Yeah.
Hard to out-strategize that.
Oh my God.
I'm just stunned that everyone had the same idea. Everyone had the same idea for their comments. I would love to be beaten to death by Ruler.
Oh.
I'm not sure about.
โอเคระหว่างรอผมเราควรที่จะเล่นดีครับเพื่อประสบการณ์ที่ดีที่สุดกดคอนโทรลและบวกเพื่อขยายใหญ่ขึ้นอ้าวทำไมมันเล็กลงอะ What
Laxana, you are a crown guard, and your time has come to uphold our name.
เอ้าทำไมมันเล็กลงอะ
Knowledge is best acquired through experience. So you will step into the waters of military strategy, starting with Demacia's earliest years. Let the lesson begin.
แป๊บนึงนะทำไมมันเล็กลงวะตะกี้มันใหญ่กว่านี้คือไม่น่าไปกดเลยแล้วต่อไปมันจะเล็กลงแบบโอเคกลับมาเท่าเดิมแล้วครับเอาละครับรับออฟไปเลยโอเคสร้างอาณาจักรแห่งเดมาเซียตั้งแต่ช่วงวางฐานลากฐานไปเยือนถึงยุคสมัยใหม่อันรุ่งเรือง
Laxana, you are a crown guard, and your time has come to uphold our name. Knowledge is best acquired through experience. So you will step into the waters of military strategy, starting with Demacia's earliest years. Let the lesson begin. Do you recall, Laxana, the name of Demacia's first settlement? This is Zephyra, or Demacia before there was a Demacia. Though they are not glamorous, your resources are what will feed your nation. That is all you can do for now.
อ๋อเป็นเธอเหรอ
Our defenses require soldiers, and soldiers require training. Hunger, the most pressing adversary for any army.
โอเคได้อาหารมาแล้ว
Zephyra is growing too big for its borders. Time to expand, Laxana.
เคลื่อนที่ส่งไปยังใช้เวลาในการเดินทางด้วยหรอ โอเค
The stage is set.
ต่อสู้
I won't let you down, Aunt Tiana.
for Demacia โอ้อ๋อแล้วนี้กดต้องใช้ Silver Shield โอเค
Come now, Luxana.
รับได้โดยการเล่น League of Legends และ TFT ไอ้เชี่ยกูมีมันเยอะ16,000คือยังไงก็แบบไม่หมดปะวะ มี16,000อ่ะแบบเวอร์เกินอ่ะไม่พออีกเหรอ16,000ยังไม่พออีกเหรอโอเคครับผมนี่ครับรักบอกว่าโอ้โหพูดมากมายมีชีวิตอยู่กับความกลัวแล้วความเจ็บปวดมากขนาดนี้ได้อย่างไรเราสามารถถอดอดทนได้กับทุกสิ่งหากสิ่งนั้นทั้งหมดเป็นสิ่งที่พวกเขารู้จักก็อาจจะใช่แต่ทุกคนย่อมมีครอบครัวเป็นของตัวเองและความหวังและเป็นความฝันเป็นท่านจะทำอย่างไรหากท่านมีชีวิตอยู่ในตอนนั้นท่านอาเทียนาเจ้าลืมไปแล้วเหรอรักตราบใดที่คนเรายังมีความตั้งใจแน่วแน่ก็จะไม่มีภัยใดที่ทำให้เขาสั่นคลอนได้บางทีอาจจะได้เป็นราชินีนะข้าขอไม่ยุ่งเกี่ยวกับสมมติฐานอะไรแบบนั้นดีกว่ามันมีแต่เบี่ยงเบนความสนใจของข้าในตอนนี้ What you want man อัปเกรดได้สังงานครับผมอันนี้คือสามารถต้องฝึกยูนิตทั้งหมดที่รู้จักได้ไม้เพิ่มขึ้นอันนี้เพิ่มอาหารอ๋อคือแบบความว่าอาหารมันจะจองแล้วทหารจองอาหารเป็น1แล้วอันนี้เราก็จะสร้างเป็นเอาไม้เหรอเราก็ต้องไปตรงดีใช่ปะทีดีอันนี้เราต้องทำอาหารเพิ่มครับต้องใช้หินวะแล้วจะเอาหินจากไหนหินเอาจากไหนหินต้องเอาจากที่นี่ถ้าไม่อยากสร้างอะไรได้ปะวะแต่มันก็ไม่ได้เสียอะไรดิเธอดึงมันก็ใช้อะไรก็ได้ดิอ๋อสามารถสร้างฟาร์มนี้ได้
Strength is not enough. It is our
งานวิจัย
ingenuity
ช่วยปลด
that
ล็อก
guarantees
ฐานและยูนิตใหม่
survival.
อัปเกรดกองทัพของคุณโอเคมีการอัปเกรดนะครับโอ้ปลดล็อกบาแลกที่สามารถที่จะช่วยให้คุณฝึกฝนการ์ดที่ฐานต่างๆได้ไม่มีหินปลดล็อกอ๋อนี่ไงผลิตหินตรงนี้ปลดล็อก
I challenge you to find a more
อ้าว เวร
sophisticated
แล้วพี่ไป
display
สร้าง
of
ที่เรียบร้อย
craft.
อาหารไม่มีไม้รีได้ปะพี่ต้องเอาทหารก่อนเคลื่อนที่ส่งไปยังเมืองนี้และเราจะเคลื่อนพลไปยัง บลูคอโลเฮ้ยดีป่าวะดีกดอะไรกดรีได้1 รอบเหรออ๋อไม่รีก็ได้ครับสบายสร้างหินเรารอบเกตหินกันวะหินแม่งจำเป็นวะใช้เหล็กโอ้ my god อาร์เชอร์
Though our military prefers the crossbow, its elegant cousin excels in speed.
อย่าเพิ่งรีบตัดสินตัวเองสิเจ้าได้เก่งกว่าที่เจ้าคิดนะรักที่จริงแล้วเจ้าทำให้ข้านึกถึงตัวเองตอนอายุเท่าเจ้าเลยนะข้ามีอายุเพียงไม่กี่ปีตอนที่ข้าบรรจุกองทัพแล้วท่านถวายการรับใช้กับร่วมกับท่านพ่อใช่ไหมและท่านลุงด้วยใช่ไหมใช่ตระกูลของเราคาดหวังในตัวพวกเราเสมอแต่ท่านก็สามารถยืนหยัดเหนือกว่าพวกเขาได้ในที่สุดใช่ไหมท่านอาเทียนาข้าไม่มีวันลืมแรงกดดันนั้นหรอกแรงปรารถนาที่พี่จะพิสูจน์ตัวเองอะช่างเป็นช่วงเวลาที่เหนื่อยล้าแต่ก็เพราะแรงกดดันนี่แหละที่เป็นตัวสร้างฉันเลิศเลยเอกเช่นแบบเหล็กก้าของเดมาเซียกันคิดว่าเรารับมือกับแรงกดดันต่างกันนะท่านกับข้าเจ้าจงอยู่ในวิถีของเจ้าไว้นะลักเซนาเจ้ามีศักยภาพและข้าจะเป็นคนช่วยเหลือให้เจ้าเข้าถึงศักยภาพนั่นเองอะเสียงกูเป็นไรครับไหวปะวะเนี่ย
Hold nothing back.
จงอย่าได้ยั้งมือพอฟอร์เดบัสอุ้ยไม่ไหวแน่เลยว่ะหักมันโหลดมันโหดมาก
I am the worst at this.
จีโค้ดดิฟโค้ดดิฟอันนี้อาหารมี4ดีกว่าต้องใช้อันนี้3ฝึกการก่อนแล้วธนู1กาด2ธนู1รอบนี้แหละ-10คือถ้าเรายิ่งใช้เทิร์นเยอะยิ่งลบยิ่งต้องไปเล่นในโหมดธรรมดาเยอะดีว่าด้วย-10เรื่อยๆอ่ะแต่ว่าลบทีละ10ชิวๆวะเรามีเป็น1,000เลยเคลื่อนพลส่งไปที่นี่เลยหรือกูไปข้างล่างก่อนดีวะเดี๋ยวคลัก1เฮ้ยไปข้างล่างก่อนดีกว่าข้างล่างดูจะง่ายกว่าเคลื่อนพลเคลื่อนที่ทำไมมันยังสู้ไม่ได้วะรอบที่26แล้วสู้
Show me the strength of the Crown Guards.
สบายครับผม
Excellent. You have been listening.
แล้วเราก็สร้างนักดวิกเคลื่อนที่อ้าวเคลื่อนที่
Sticks and twigs alone will not suffice, Laksana. A great nation
แค่กิ่งไม้บางอย่างเดียวมันไม่พอหรอกนะ
materials.
ลักษณะเพราะชาติที่ยิ่งใหญ่อะไรสักอย่างจำอ่านไม่ทันทรัพยากรอะไรที่มันสำคัญวะอ๋อมีช่องไม่พอด้วยว่าแล้วอย่างนี้ถ้าเราจะส่งไปสู้พร้อมกันทำไงอะนะช่องได้แค่3ว่ะต้องเพิ่มช่องอะปลดล็อกควอเตอร์มาสเตอร์ที่เพิ่มมอบบัฟความเสียหาย 25% กับยูนิตที่โจมตีค่ายศัตรูที่ติดกันป๊อปปี้หรอเพิ่มจำนวนยูนิตแต่ขึ้นอีก1เอ้ยอันนี้ดีกว่า150เลยวะเราต้องการไม้วะ
Wow.
โอเค
Ooh.
โอเคทีนี้ทหารเราก็จะเก่งขึ้นถูกปะแล้วเราก็ส่งไปลุยเลยครับผมดีครับพี่สวัสดีครับผมทำความดีได้รับ LP 2 เท่าวอเตอร์ฟังเล่นป่านะเอาอะไรอะ
Stand with your soldiers and never falter.
เอาไอ้เหี้ยโดนบุกมีโดนบุกด้วยWhat แกบุกบ้านเมืองฉันแกต้องโดนเพิ่มยูนิตแล้วก็ไหนว่าเพิ่มยูนิต
Show me the strength of the crown
ไม่จะเพิ่มเลยสบายอีซี่ล็อก
Yes.
เล่นคราเวียนอยู่เหรอครับ
การโจมตีทางตะวันตกเฉียงใต้มาแล้วเตรียมตัวขับไล่ผู้บุกรุกอัปเกรดได้ตะวันตกเฉียงใต้นี่คือทางไหนวะเนี่ย
roster, but I think this one is going to be a little bit closer this time around. Well,
I think this is the best game that or like on paper, the best game of LCK Cup so far, because you have a roster of BNK players that looked really strong at the end of 2025 against a Nongshim roster that's massively upgraded, but also struggled a little bit in Kespa Cup and didn't really reach the ceiling we were hoping for. So with some of these things kind of mashing up against each other, it's really tough to predict. This is definitely one of our predictions of the week as well. And if you take a look at this, our standings, of course, neither of these teams have played just yet, but it is going to be interesting to see the level of Scout here because he had some rough starts in Kespa Cup, but he had a few really impactful games there. Outside of BNK, like what form is Vikla in is a question we always have to ask. Like what's Raptor been playing in the jungle because he's a big thinker. He's one that is somebody who's pushing the meta forward faster than others. And they don't have Ryu anymore either in the coaching booth.
Yep, and another thing that we did see as a bit of an issue in the Kespa Cup was Taeyun. He did have a great time on WE over in China, but unfortunately our first look as he came back to Korea was very similar to when he was back in Korea. So we'll see whether he has upgraded that form just a little bit because I think he has the biggest challenge on the Rift today because Diablo, like BNK managed to hold on to Diablo. That is the biggest thing of the offseason.
Yeah, that's crazy.
In my opinion.
I actually cannot believe they were able to keep him. Sponge looked pretty good, to be honest, in Kespa Cup. I was very impressed with
season opening.
Demacian innovation knows no
sorry,
bounds.
Sponge, yes. I was talking about Scout. Scout looked like a great jungler in the season opening as well. Unfortunately, in the mid lane in Kespa Cup, like you were talking about, not necessarily as good of a performance as what we saw out of Sponge. But now it is time for us to actually hear from Scout. So here is him in the interview.
안녕하세요. 오랜만이라 기대되고 재밌을 것 같습니다. 제 개인적인 느낌으로는 대회 준비전이나 대기실이나 아니면 로비에서 약간 좀 더 가벼운 느낌이 있는 것 같고 LCK는 LPL은 좀 직원분들이랑 또 마주칠 그런 상황이 별로 없고 좀 더 살짝 좀 더 무거운 느낌이 있는 것 같아요. 팀 분위기는 제 생각에는 좋은 것 같아요. 저한테는 다들 잘해주는데 다른 선수가 느끼는 건 모르겠네요. 많은 기대를 받고 있는지는 잘 모르겠고요. 아무튼 뭐 잘 해봐야죠. 열심히 해보겠습니다. 감사합니다. 농심 화이팅!
농심 파이팅!
All right,
pretty succinct there from Scout, you could say.
Yeah, let's talk about this roster. So Daystar is an official player here, but that's the only change to the roster. Edo, though, is getting called up. So for those who don't know who this guy is, this is kind of one of my weird collisions with another esport. Edo was actually the coach for Live Sandbox Kartrider team.
Wait, really?
Yes, he coached Live Sandbox and Neil, arguably the best Kartrider player of all time, and has a ton of experience there. He was actually a Clash Royale pro gamer before becoming a Kartrider coach. So this guy kind of, whatever he touches, he's a thinker, he's a very smart person, has been with his org through Kartrider, right? And moves completely differently now into League of Legends through the CL system and now into the LCK. It's a very unique coach, though, very different from Ryu, who's an literally League of Legends pro gamer, LCK pro gamer of legendary renown. And Edo is just kind of a different beast entirely, and I am curious what he is going to bring to the table here. I think the input from Rather, and especially Lyra, is going to kind of guide him through this period, but I am really curious because his Kartrider team was extremely dominant, had some of the best players.
Yeah, BNK were kind of dominating. I actually think it's really interesting that we have two Kartrider commentators here today, as Sunke is over there as well.
That's true.
Also another of the Kartrider commentators here in Korea. So very interesting that Edo will possibly get a shout out on both of the broadcasts. But here we are, as the players are making their way out. Nongshim do have the right of selection in this first game. And we'll see exactly what they do decide to choose as they are making their way out now. Kingen versus Clear is a fun one. I think Kingen has shown great form throughout the end of 2025. I don't think that is going to change moving into 2026. But I think Sponge is that big uptick that we saw find great success in the Kespa Cup. And he might have just developed into an even better player moving into this year.
That is the crazy thing, though, that the truth of what we were shown is this is very, very awesome to see.
He's also so large.
He is extremely huge.
So big.
Like he can.
Wait,
not
is that
really
just behind us? Yeah, they're just behind. We could like. We could almost touch his ear.
Yeah, he's that tall. We're just above that. But it is crazy that you mentioned that of the changes to this Nongshim roster, so far from what we've seen from Kespa Cup, which I think is going to be a pretty good indicator, Sponge has outperformed Scout and Taeyun, who were, you know, Taeyun didn't have the greatest LPL year, but he's Scout and has had some incredible years in the past. And Taeyun, who everyone was telling us has found great success. We saw the Ezreal clip, but the meme of when Koreans are watching, he's like Boo from Mario. If you look at him, he disappears. But when Koreans aren't watching and he's playing the LPL, he apparently does good stuff, and you hear about it. But we did not see him have a great laning phase. And my biggest concern is Diablo's on the other side. Diablo and Kellen really boosted their laning phase massively at the end of the year last year. And laning is seemingly, in the bottom 2v2, the most important part. And Taeyun's laning was one of the worst at Kespa Cup, so hopefully he's had some time to build some of that synergy up with Lehens, who we know has been a very outspoken, very critical support of his new AD carry partners. He's had quite a few over the last few years. So they're going to have a stronger look here than we saw at Kespa Cup, but they're going to need to if they're going to win this series.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's some things on BNK that are going to really work in this current meta and some things that just won't, right? You mentioned the bottom lane already. They were our highest duo kills in the league. Like, this is exactly what you want for this style of play. But then they have Vikla, who just wants to play Morgana and like put shields on stuff and be like, it's okay, I don't need to win lane. But yes, you do actually need to win lane now to avoid getting snowballed on. So I think that like there are some positives and some negatives, and I think that Raptor, if he works with Vikla, can make things happen. Because honestly, Vikla wasn't as bad towards the end of last year as he has been in the past, right?
Yeah. That's 100% true. I think he had some
ยิ่งกว่าคอนโทรลกระบวกแล้วมันไม่ได้แบบเต็มจอ
Don't ask any spacers about the Talia games, but we will certainly.
It's all right. Talia's like 0-2 now. Like that champion's done for the year, I reckon. It's just no one's going to be trying that anymore.
I will certainly be watching his potential growth here with great interest this season.
Yep.
I'm also feeling like it's a great meta for Kingen, a top laner who loves bruisers, loves to get ahead on Rumble. Been one of his best picks, still incredibly relevant here. As Edo takes the stage. Edo famed in Cartwriter for his map selection in draft there, or the track selection, I should say. And so maybe that's part of why he ends up being used for ban picks here.
He chose some today's match. What do you think about that?
I think it's a really great track for League of Legends. I personally like it more than Howling Abyss.
Okay, fair enough. I kind of like the Pirates one. That's pretty cool. All right. Yeah, not necessarily going to be leaning into that particular part of his skill set, but will still be very interesting. That's a pretty cool Taeyun picture.
Yeah. Says Big Bro is here.
Well, stop watching. That's all I'm going to say.
No, don't do it to her. She's been waiting for this moment, okay? She might have missed Kespa Cup as B&K are going to choose second pick.
Some second pickers in the chat. Okay, it's interesting because we haven't necessarily seen this work just yet. Nongshim have decided to hop on over to the blue side, so they will have first pick and blue side, which is, you know, normally that's kind of what you want.
Some Edo strats coming in already.
Oh, coming in hot already, Wolf. Let's see what the counter picks are going to look like here. As we could just be loading up into Twisted Tree Line. We don't know. We're just playing Dominion out of nowhere. Oh my goodness, it's going to be so much fun. Okay, some first bands are likely to come in soon, but we don't quite have them here just yet, as we are just taking our time momentarily.
When I saw Kingen yawn, I knew there was a problem. Kingen is like the most like pause yawner. You know what I mean? Every time there's a pause, someone King just has to let out the largest yawn.
And he's almost always on camera as well. Whenever there's a pause, it's very, very good. I'm glad that we've got him here.
Production knows that. Like, hold on. We got to pause. We're going to have to put Kingen on.
And actually, like all of our camera guys, if there is a pause before we get into draft, the camera guys are always on the top laners, right? Because they're the ones that are choosing the first ban. And so that's where we're going to look almost every single time, which is probably why we get that to happen. We're going to be handing over because we are into this pause now.
You should also be an analyst of production. Are you able to pick that up and figure that out and lay it all out?
I've worked out some things in my time. Mainly cameraman mechanics, not too much more than that. But I've almost finished cameraman mechanics. I'm almost ready to get on to the next lesson. I'm a slow worker, but once I get there, I really get there.
Hoping for a POM on Scout's 10-year anniversary of his debut.
Very cool. That's very interesting that it's the 10-year anniversary on his debut, and like his first 6 months playing in the LCK or something like that. He did have a very, very brief stint behind Faker on T1 very early on in his career, but then very quickly moved over to China. So it's kind of crazy. It's super weird as well, Wolf, because I remember he made the move to China after I'd stopped casting the LPL.
Yeah, I mean, players like Poby, EasyHoon,
yeah,
you know, they just haven't quite got the same renown as Scout. You know, he seems to be the one that was in Faker's shadow that ended up doing a lot.
Yeah, and it's interesting because EasyHoon has a skin, you know, for
what was the
SKT.
What was the player reverse legendary that was also one of Faker's subs? Why am I not remembering his
Tyrion?
name? Yes.
Yeah.
Tyrion. He did not quite reach Scout's levels of success either.
Why does not very many people remember Tyrion, and we all remember the Pogo? It's interesting. I just feel like Tyrion didn't have the same level of like atrocious situation to be in, where it was, you know, everyone was worried about Faker and it was like the injury and all that sort of stuff, and that's why he had to step in. Tyrion, it was just like, let's experiment, and it just didn't quite work.
มีอะไร YouTube ไหมครับปีนี้ก็ถ้าเกิดมีพวกเกมผีก็จะไลฟ์ครับ
Champion select back on. I think our players are very close to getting back into Champion select
เกมพวกซีรีส์แบบว่าเล่นแบบยาวๆอะไรเงี้ยก็จะไปไลฟ์
Having a little peek over my shoulder.
แต่ถ้าแบบไลฟ์ปกติเล่น L เล่นต่างๆก็อยู่ใน Twitch.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's a small issue. I don't think I haven't heard anything about hardware.
ไม่รู้ทำไงเหมือนกันเสียงครับมันเสียงมันขึ้นจมูกอยู่อะ
So rebuilt.
Yep. It's just all a little bit client related, so we don't have to replace anyone's mouse or anything like that. We are
This track
fine.
slaps though.
Yeah, I mean, how have you felt about the new music? I feel like it's really adjusted where my brain's been at.
I feel like I'm the person who cares the most about music for some reason at the LCK, and I think that the theme that we have with like post-draft with the Demacian banners and the music that's played then is really good. I like the second phase of the draft, the kind of drop that we get there, because the draft music is otherwise very similar to what we had last year, but it kind of hits a little bit harder.
Yep.
It's a remix track, so I've been really enjoying LCK's production value in terms of the soundtrack and the music and the ambience. Like, pauses usually aren't this epic, but I feel like I'm like, yeah, we're gonna mention Pyrion, we're gonna go into some history, we're gonna look at the solution drawing, like yes,
we're gonna talk about like
we're gonna buy some time real hard.
Cameraman mechanics, let's do it. I'm inspired.
เกมพี่บอกทับป้าทอน
Let's go.
About to start talking about Dark Souls 3 if this doesn't start soon though.
And we've got a guy in chat saying casters start the game already, and we just need to apologize on behalf of us as casters. We haven't started the game yet. We're going to work on it. We're doing our very best from here. I do have a pen. What I need is about 1,100 more pens, and then I could attach them all together to use the keyboard of one of the players to start the draft.
You could just like Pantheon Q, hit the enter key from far away.
So yeah, you can see my pen here. I would be using that in order to, if it could, like Go Gadget pen. Wow, Matt, like Inspector Gadget would be able to do that.
There are like
people, guy in chat.
There are like people going in and out of the tunnel below us. Really nervous you were going to drop your pen and hit an unsuspecting spectator.
No, it's okay. It's a Jeju-Air pen because it can fly.
It says, from the opening day, the spicy flavor of Nongshim. Show us the spicy flavor of Nongshim into the bottom part there. And the power of Raccoon, says there on the bottom left.
Oh, it's
a foreign fan with a Korean sign.
That's
really
impressive. Cool. Very impressive. She can't hear us though. She's only listening to the Korean broadcast, so we can't really give her a...
Clearly she doesn't need us with a...
I know. And, you know, Sungkei today, he's got such a beautiful voice to listen to, I believe. He is flanked by Cloud Templar and Umpty on the Korean broadcast. Man, that is stacked.
Here we go.
Thankfully, they're not, like, competing with us on Twitch or YouTube anymore, so we can big up the Korean broadcast as much as we want.
We're not going to get any King and Rumble in this first game, and something tells me you probably won't be getting it in this series, or maybe not for a while, for more series to come. As we'll see, second selection here for B&K, second pick.
มอไฟหลุดหรือเจสหลุดแน่นอน
When are we? Is it ever going to be not awkward to talk about the first
เขาจะเลือกมอไฟไว้น้องชิมอ่ะ
side pick selection?
ถ้าแบนมอไฟเขาเลือกเจส
My shower thoughts moment today was trying to figure out is like ROFS easier to say than right up.
อ้าวน้องชิมได้ตัวทีเด็ดว่ะ
I don't know. We're gonna have to figure something out.
โอเคเลือกมอไฟ
We'll work on it. We'll
Maybe
work on it throughout the season.
Is Rof
แบนตลาดแล้วด้วย
Whoa.
Malphite.
Rock.
Malphite. Man, Jason said a Malphite.
The pause has really broken my brain, but that is going to be a sponge rock.
Yeah.
ตรงนี้จะดีต้องเลือกแบบต้องเลือกแบบว่า Dr. Mundo
like coral or something like that, you know, from the ocean. No, it's that
limestone.
Yeah, no, it's that there is like a very specific like volcanic rock that does look like a sponge.
Yeah, it's not pyrite, is it?
I have no idea what it's called.
Let's back to this draft though.
If anyone in chat knows exactly what the spongy-looking rock is called, please let us know. If you're a geologist, you probably are not watching, but if you are, please let us know.
They did not pick one of these safer AD carry options into the Malphite. I mean, Yunara has a dash when she's in her ultimate, I guess, but they could have picked Corki and tried to dominate the lane and play through that instead, but they are playing this hyper carry into a Malphite.
Pumice!
Aphelios.
Pumice is the name.
Pumice, that's right, that's right.
Thank you. What is this? Daijo DJ. Thank you so much.
That's exactly the rock I had in mind.
Good luck on the decks.
That's exactly the rock I had in mind. All right, it's all fair.
And Brendan Valdez just pointed out that coral is not a rock. However, it does kind of
I wasn't going to say anything.
When it's not alive anymore, it is rock-like, okay?
I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah,
Valdez
แต่มันเล่นยากเหมือนแบบ
definitely
เหมือน
did.
KT
So
อ่ะ
we're turning this Yunara comp
ยังไง
into
เจ
a
ออารี
dive
ด้วย
comp now, where
ก
Victor
ระโมง
pulls
แต่ละ
out
ครั้ง
his
คือคิดหนัก
famed Ari, and you know there has been famed on both sides. Some great games, some less great games. They have the Nautilus. They're going to look to try to, you know, just get on top of this Aphelios and blow him up. And hope that the yarn does not get caught by the Malphite or a shove in the process. It's a little janky of a draft here so far for BNK, whereas the identity, I think, a little bit more clear on the side of Nongshim Red Force.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting, the priority on the Nautilus, for me.
Also, the Thresh probably should be banned here, since it's an Aphelios comp and you're running Ari.
Yep.
So probably you want to be able to have the Thresh to keep him alive.
Lahens was the guy that was playing Thresh when Griffin came up with the really cool like Impale Lantern strategy like 15 years ago or something. But he was that guy. That's what launched them into fame, the very beginning of the Griffin days.
Now if you ban Thresh, they just play Lulu though, right? They banned Nico, which is another thing I actually kind of forgot when I got this deep into the draft.
That got through.
I feel like Nongshim Red Force have so many angles here. There's so many different things they can play that actually feel all great right now. Aphelios is incredibly strong on this patch.
ป๊อปปี้ก็แบบไม่ดีกับนอติลูดิ
Mesa is taken away. It's another tool
for
dive that's gone. Mundo surprised
Bad
about
Mundo
that.
อ่ะ
People are saying they don't think Mundo is that strong
ถูกแล้ว
in this
Mundo
meta, but
ที่พี่บ
will
อก
be taken away from Raptor.
Yep. Seen a bit of it looked at.
Also doesn't really suit this draft that much to me, but they're going to take the Lulu themselves.
Wait. Where's Nautilus going?
What?
That's fun. Is
Hey.
Raptor like, is he cooking
Not
in game
one, no.
one? That's really cool. Okay, well, unless Clear is going to be playing at top lane,
หรือว่า Not
that
ป่า
is
แช
going
ท
to be a Not jungle. It's
Not
been a
อะไร
while
วะเนี่ย
since we've seen it. Did used to dabble
Not jungle เหรอ
in the jungle. I think it was more recently
Not
outside
jungle เหรอ
mid laner. As all right, Sion going to be the look here for Kingen. Not exactly the most fun.
What?
It makes a ton of sense when you're running this Aphelios comp, and
just
it feels very safe.
Put some big tanky boys around the blender. That's what you kind of want to do. Let's see
Not
what the Hands is going to
power.
be picking up here. Going to be picking for himself.
I mean, Thresh is not going to feel great into Lulu, but it's not Lulu, so
เอา
I think
ว่า
it's
เดี๋ยว
fine.
ดูดี
It's just
ว่าแบบ
Singe.
เฟเอ็กจะดับอะไรตัวสุดท้าย
Okay, Karma Aphelios just to shut down the Lulu. No, it's not Lulu. I don't
แต่
really
น็อตบน
understand
นี่น่าจะ
why
ระ
they're
เบิด
going to go
ครับ
for the
โดน
Karma
ไซ
here,
ออน
to be
น่าจะ
honest.
ระเบิด
Well,
ยั
I
บ
mean, it adds range, right? So pretty much what you want to do is fight for lane priority.
Kisante
And
เหรอ
that's what they're doing.
อะไรวะ
Karma is sort of the classic, like, I can win lane style champion.
Yeah, and
and that's sort of the school of
It's a
thought.
neutralizer
Lakeside.
for sure, and can get you a pretty big advantage over the Nautilus.
Nautilus
if that- we don't
jungle.
know, where this is going.
เฟเอ็กซ์โอ้จัด
Let's
ให้ครับ
find
ผ
out.
ม
It's Rek'Sai in the top lane.
เมตาพี่หลุด
If it's
อันนี้ไปได้ยังไง
Lulu in
อ่ะ
the bottom lane, which
I mean, it is.
yeah, I
ไม่
mean,
ไม่อยู่
I
ใน
was like,
ไม่
is
อยู่
there
ใน
some
เทียร์ลิส
Lulu
เลยอะ
tech in the
นาติลูจัง
jungle?
เกิลอะ
I mean, is Peanut here? Is
the
Spirit here?
fuck?
Because they were the Lulu
Yeah,
junglers. If you watch
Naughty
the Lulu
jungle.
Champion Spotlight, Freak does say that you can build a Trinity Force and player in the jungle.
I'm going to be honest. I feel like I overthought this draft a lot for the side of BNK. I thought we were going to see something crazy. I was even trying to consider, like, is there any way where you can play Lulu into Sion? But
it is Nautilus jungle.
คือไอ้ท่าลิฟทายอ่ะ
There's that.
it is,
มันมี
it
เอ
is
ฟเฟกต์ใหม่
Nautilus
ก็
jungle
คือ
with Ari, which
ทำดาเม
actually
จ
feels
ใส่
pretty good if you can connect your dredge lines and set up charms
ตัว
that
แรก
way. And
คือ
that
the
is
first hit
certainly
against
a
monster now
strong
จะ
setup.
เพิ่มดาเมจครับ
trying to get on top of this Aphelios through the insane front line though. Anal's hook doesn't
ก็
reach
คือถ้า
that
เกิดเป็นฟาร์
far.
มแบบพวกเลดบัฟหรือว่าตัว
Karma
ไอตัวเดียวอ่ะ
doesn't protect you
มันก็จะ
the same
แร
way
ง
that
ลิฟทาย
it would in a
ซึ่งแรงขนาดไหน
Right,
เดี๋ยว
honestly,
ต้อง
just
มาล
doesn't
อง
protect
ดู
you at
ว่า
all, like,
มัน
the way
จะ
Fresh would,
มัน
but
จะ
if you're
เวิร์กไหม
playing
ครับ
the
ลิฟ
Lulu,
ทาย
then that's a tough time. They just want to neutralize that, to get the bottom lane quest online, get the Aphelios to 2-3 items. You get the quest, you get that big surge of gold, you get more gold for minions and takedowns. Try to get the Aphelios online here for Taeyun. And for this comp, it's a dive sort of with the Yunara on top of it.
Yeah, I'm very interested in how this one is going to go. I think Raptor has certainly been cooking a little bit, but on this patch, you can kind of jungle everything. Who was it? Was it a Vandal?
Diablo's not even going to play, Atlas.
Oh, wow. Diablo's insane. We do have the zoom in on the fact that he is just not there.
Guys, all right.
Oh, no.
It's,
no.
you know what? I've been waiting for this because we've been having a lot of bathroom pauses while I'm not here. Guess what, Diablo? Wolf's here this time.
Yeah.
You gotta go before, okay?
Yeah. And look, I know there was a pause. There was a slight pause before we got in, right? But that was not that long. The game was long. Would have been longer than that.
It's game one, all right? You gotta go in. Okay, this is what you do, by the way. This is what you do. If a player, this is actually the correct response, all right? I'm gonna give you guys a little bathroom pause analysis. 100% the correct response if the enemy team bathroom pauses, 100% you send someone to the bathroom. Oh wait, this is his teammate actually.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Wait, hold on. What you do now to delay though, if you are in fact on the opposite side as Nongshim, Kingen goes, you know what? I want to wait till they come back so there's no awkward moment in the bathroom. I gotta go now.
There's something to be said about the moral high ground play of like, well, we don't need to go. For we already went.
That's just not efficient.
That's not efficient. I mean, it's absolutely not efficient. However, it is like playing the mind game as you're about to load onto the rift can be powerful. We'll see, because, you know, maybe they've got something planned, some like weird Scion tech, get them on the back foot, you know, look like you are the more solid team by doing that.
I will never be okay with bathroom pauses in sports. I actually will never be okay with it. No one can convince me it's okay.
I think there needs to be ramifications.
Yeah, I don't know. It keeps happening.
Yeah.
It's happened so many times. It happened at Kespa Cup, and then I think it was D+ did the delayed bathroom response I was talking about.
Did.
They're like, oh yeah, you want us to wait? Oh, okay, you guys are back. Oh, I think actually I gotta
And then
go.
they all
you
just kind of left one after the other as well. They really milked it. They made sure that was happening. It's, yep, there it is. Okay, welcome back, guys.
Luckily, League of Legends is not decided by bladder strength. They've got a good comp, sort of, maybe, I don't know. They've got a dive comp. Diablo's a really good Yunara player.
I mean, actually,
let's get on the rift.
League of Legends has now developed into a bladder strength type game, though, because now that you load onto the rift so much quicker, you know, and you get it in the lane so much quicker, you can't do the loading screen bathroom.
That's true. That is absolutely true, in fact.
Yeah, that's just not a thing that you can do. So you really have to plan out when you're going to be going to the bathroom if you are going to be having like a...
It's tough, too. You get like 3 dodges in a row. You're like, I think I got time to play one more, I'll go to the bathroom later. But then you have like 3 dodges and you're kind of like, oof, it's getting a little long. Sorry to interrupt the fan cheers. It's not been the smoothest start to our second series, at least.
I like that you interrupted one fan chant, caught yourself, and then just went ahead and interrupted.
Well, you got to make it even.
That's a good point.
I got to be impartial. What do you think? I'm just going to interrupt Nongshim only?
I just want to let everyone know that both of the fan chants went through perfectly, and there was nothing that you missed. So there that is. All right, here we are. We are onto the rift. We are seeing. I went to have a look at what Nautilus jungle is building right now, and I cannot see any Nautilus jungle that's really being played by so we'll just have to see what Raptor is going to do.
I didn't say anything about it before.
หัวสีทองเหมือนกันเลยอะ ดูดิ
I had like this false memory maybe that
มันคล้ายๆหัวสีทองปะ
when they gave
ดู
everyone
ดิตัวเหมือนกันเลยอะ
remember they made Jace a jungler and when Ambassador was a jungler. I thought perhaps Nautilus was also on that list, but
I think
it was so long ago I don't remember.
He may have got the buffs a while ago, and it just wasn't enough to actually make it into anything.
Well, I think when you consider how this draft was looking, they were like, okay, we're going for a little bit of a dive comp. Also, we don't want to lose lane.
Taeyun's ghosting. Kellen's getting the heck out of there. And
oh my god, ทั้งโกสทั้ง
shield himself up. We have to remember that you know, there are shields on both sides. There's no true sustain for either team, but this Calibrum is putting in a lot of work here as Diablo's really getting shoved around.
If we theory craft a little bit in the draft, they picked the Lulu before picking the Rek'Sai, right? And
คืออยากดูนอต
perhaps if
ฟาร์ม
they
ตอน
had
เนี้ย
kept the Lulu hidden, they
Come
wouldn't
on,
have
man.
been landing into a Karma for the Lulu for their tech swap of the Nautilus.
อัลติเมทฮันเตอร์ด้วยเราที่รู้ไอ้เหี้ย
Deny the Lulu from Lehens, right? Like Lehens is a
Oh my
fantastic Lulu
God.
player, and then that would have been another enchanter that would have really helped this Aphelios. So
ขน
maybe
ลุกเลย
that's
ว่ะ
more the thought.
Yeah,
No.
It's not a positive result
ไม่เอา
for
ร
them
อง
at
เท้า
this
ด้วย
very moment in time.
No, we're not seeing it really working out as Nongshim have the shove entirely here towards this bottom side. A 10 CS advantage here for Taeyun. And so far, so good here for the Nongshim bottom lane as they will be able to get, you know, their first crash, first plate, and already about a 200 gold lead here for the Aphelios in lane. And that's going to scale quite comfortably alongside this Yanara as well. So a little bit of a scary start. Not exactly end of the world or anything like that. You can
แบบ
see
นี้
only
ก็น่าจะ
100
ขึ้น
gold
เป็น
is
แบบไอ้
the lead across
ซี
the
กอะไรอย่าง
board.
งี้ป่ะนอตอะ
Yeah.
เฮ้ยฟาร์ม
starting to
ไว
build
ว่ะ
a
จ
little
บ
bit
2
of
นาที
advantage.
40
Raptor is seen on this
เฮ้ย
board, so not really much he can do to impact this, especially because Sponge is also
เฮ้ย
here.
ฟาร์มไวครับผม
Yep, some tanks going to spot one another here as they move into the river.
A very funny little interaction now around this scuttle, but with the bottom side prio here, Raptor's going to have to run top.
Lehan
He does have
มาช่วย
good
ว่ะ
prio at least.
Land's moving up as Raptor is going to back up Vikla, who is taking a fair bit of damage. Does mean that this crab is going to be successfully taken by Sponge.
ได้รีเซ็ต
Gonna
ก่อน
look to go back as well as now BK fresh off a bit of a reset here. It's just a cull for Diablo. And Scout just channeling the back here, I think was never intending to actually go home, doing it right in front.
So, first consolation call of the season.
Yeah. And honestly, respect. I think it sounds like a good idea. They've been having a bit of trouble in that lane so far.
Calm down, Karma.
Yeah.
Karma is a chatty support.
She certainly is. I mean, it's no Lissandra. Thankfully, we're not in a Lissandra meta anymore. As in Korea, that is definitely a more difficult one.
I think only Ezreal understands what Karma is saying. Like, the other AD carries are just like, I have
Does he have
no
a map
idea.
to know what she's saying?
Yeah, is that how it works?
I don't think that's how it works.
ทั้ง
This
คู่
pause
คือใน
really has
ตัว
broken my brain a little bit, I'm not gonna lie.
ลูกแก้วหมดเลย
It's a difficult one.
ป่า
I mean, the
น่า
multiple
จะขึ้น
pauses,
ซี
of
กทั้ง
course,
คู่
thanks to
Yeah.
some certain players who did not go to the bathroom before the
dear.
All right. So, the lane is lost. The CS is starting to stack up, but at least they have the call to fall back on, as we'll have a little bit of a tussle up here. No ultimates yet.
Yeah. Kingen doing a pretty good job. You can see Clear taking some bites out of the Scion over and over again. And as this lane goes on, the Rek'Sai is just going to be more and more immovable.
Yeah, this is a really common response to the Scion. We've seen it all throughout the end of 2025, where it became meta again when Scion was king for a little while.
Yep.
We'll see what Malphite can get done at level 6. Obviously, that's where he's actually starts to impact lanes. Otherwise, he just kind of covers. And he does have his Kendall Gem online. Rest of that first, you go Zeke's. That's the thing. That's the new meta. We've seen a few other different builds with like Malignance for full AP, but in Pro, I think it's going to be Zeke's Convergence inevitably. Lehens.
Getting slowed down by that Slurkle quite a bit. As he does manage to connect the tether
Lu
on
น่า
the
จะกลับบ้านแล้วดิ
Kellen. Doing a fair
จะไม่
bit
กลั
of
บ
work
เหรอ
there as well as Taeyun turns up. Kellen's still sticking around, but Sponge is here. Only level 5, so doesn't have the unstoppable force just yet. But there's a Nautilus in the area. And Raptor not really going to be able to offer too much back, especially with this Lulu so incredibly low. It's a dangerous prospect to go for a 3v3 here. So another plate likely to go over to Nongshim here, as we can see.
Yeah, just really stacking up the advantage in this bottom lane with the Karma pick. And you know, it's not going to be safety.
ป่าแบบเซจูรี่มันผิดพลาดตรงไหน
how to
วะ
say that into words
มันทำไมมันถึงไม่ดี
It's gonna be a
ป่า
lot
แบ
of
บเซจูรี่
safety,
อะไรเงี้ย
against the dive, but it is so incredibly powerful to get your bottom lane ahead, and that has just been the name of the game here on 26.1.
Oh, Sponge taking a little bit of damage here from Raptor as you got Diablo moving over. Hence is very low as the Slurkle comes in, and now Vikla has popped the ulti. Great dredge line is going to connect. The charm lands as well, and that is first blood going over to Diablo. Now Taeyun has the Chakram stacked up, but it is not enough as Vikla is going to grab that essence back to heal himself up.
ก็แฟดโลบ้า
BNK
อะไรวะเนี่ย
blood, and they do a great
What the
job.
fuck?
I mean, this is a kind of scrappy fight where the Ahri is going to shine, has a setup CC, and even in the early
พี่ก็นึกว่าแบบยังไงก็แฟด
deceptively
หลบ
strong is Yunara in these skirmishes. Has a lot of support here.
คือถ้าไม่แฟดหลบเลยก็โดนแบบแต่มันพุ่งมาแล้วเนี่ยไม่แฟดหลบเลยก็โดนแน่นอน
Like, where is the Talia? Showing up
แล้วเป็นหินแท้ๆดันไปหลงรักอาลีเฉย
charge flashes away here. Taeyun is
อุตส่าห์เป็นหิน
taken out. Lehens That's running away
อาลี
with
แค่
his
ชา
tail
มก็หันไป
between his
หลง
legs
ซะ
here.
แล้ว
Has to use his flash as well. Just a really good roam from Vikla there, and a fight that Nongshim should not have been forcing at this point without their Malphite ultimate.
Yeah, and theoretically, with Weaver's Wall, Scout should have been able to
Malphite
get
นี่เป็นเหมื
there
อนแบบ
very
ถ้าเกิด
comfortably, but I think Vikla had control of
จริ
the
งเป็นเหมือน
wave
แบบ
at that
ไท
point
ทัน
in
เลยปะ
time.
เป็นเหมือน
And
แบบ
the
ว่า
early Spirit
กอร์ด
Rush
อ
was
วอร์
allowing
ที่เป็น
him
แบบ
to
ไท
get
ทัน
in there. But
แบบ
honestly,
พ
Raptor
ระแม่ธ
getting
ร
his
ณี
first
เลย
red
ปะ
light, that's what did it.
Chat.
And really beautifully done here by BNK, showing that early aggression in these skirmishes that we know and love from this team. And this is the squad that has not
ใน
changed,
ภู
right?
เขา
And they were getting better and better as the
ก็คือ
2025
ตัวแบบ
season went
ใหญ่
on.
มากอะไร
And I'm
เงี้ยหร
really
อ
glad that they kept this roster together because I felt like
อ๋
they
อก็เป็นเหมือน
were
แบบพระแม่ธร
slow
ณี
and
แบบว่าไอ้
steadily
นี่เลย
improving
ที่
over
ที่
the
ที่
year. Looking
กอร์
forward
ดอวอร์
that we get to see even more from this squad. As now Taeyeon
แล้ว
with
ไป
some
หล
red
งรัก
white
อา
guns,
ลี
so
เฉ
feeling
ย
a
เล
bit
ย
dangerous
โอ้
despite the lack of range. But now with a BF sword in the inventory.
และปัญหาคือยูนาร่าได้ไป2คิวครับเงินนำไป500แล้วอาเฟเลออดนี่เลนลำบากเลยโดนดึงตรงกลาง
Yeah, fantastic one as well. As there
เนียน
is
ตีอยู่
the flick back onto Vikla, but Scout still in a
เอ้ย
fair bit of trouble. Raptor still looking for it, but doesn't quite get another auto.
He did not commit his ultimate there either.
Wow.
ไอ้เหี้ยอะไรวะเนี่ยแรปเตอร์แม่ตีอะ
Yeah, I feel like that
อะไรวะ
no
นะ
flash had been used by Scout yet, so maybe not wanting to use it because the flash was.
มึงไม่เอา
was
Ultimate
still up.
Hunter เหรอ
It's strange. Probably could have been a way to at least get the flash.
What
Never
is
mind.
this
Either way, it still gets a huge win in the mid lane, and we'll be able to take the grubs off of it.
คือตะกี้วิกล่าก็บอกไม่เป็นไรไม่มีอันติใช่ป่ะแล้วหันไปมองคูดาวอ้าวมึงมีอันติมึงมีอันตินี่
Now they have level 6 with Taeyeon.
And Raptor is just going to be
แต่ว่า
taking
Raptor
out
คิดว่าแบบ
these
ว่า
grubs, make
ก็
quick work of them as well.
คือ
so you can see.
ในมุมมองโปรเพลเยอร์เมื่อกี้พี่คิดว่า แค่นี้ก็คุ้มแล้วไงเพราะเขาต้องกลับไปรีเลือด แล้วก็เราได้นั่นฟรีแล้วมีอันติอยู่
Yep.
ในมุมมองก็อาจจะแบบไม่ได้เป็นแค่เรื่องค่าก็ได้เพราะว่ามีออเจกตีฟอยู่ก็คือแบบมีกราฟอยู่ถ้าเรามีอันติไปสู้ตรงกราฟน่าจะดีกว่าแล้วโมงครับด้านล่างเดียโบแฟดหลบไม่ทันครับเพราะว่าโมงมาจากด้านหลังถ้าเราแฟดถอยหลังอาจจะ
It's a really tricky call in Diablo's defense, you know, on the initial flash.
คือมันยืดด้วยเมื่อกี้คือแบบคือสปอนโมงสวยนะครับโมงแบบเผื่อมาด้านหลังเยอะ ทำให้ถ้าเดียโบจะแฟดอาจจะแฟดมาโดนโมงต่อส่วนลูลูอันติตัวเองเรียบร้อย
He thought maybe it would buy him enough space. It did not. He doesn't have ton of information, but he knows now, okay, Malphite's coming, does not flash the initial
คือจะซี
ultimate,
ซีไม่เห็นด้านหลัง
survives here thinking he has enough, but just ends up getting taken out by a ranged attack
ไม่มี
from
อัตราคาแล้วเหรอ
Taeyeon.
ครับไม่มีราคา
And if it was only
แพ
a
ทใหม่
Malphite
ไม่
that
มี
was
แล้วอัตรา
attacking,
คา
that flash would
อั
have
ตรา
made
คาโดน
sense.
ซาเฮดฆ่าไปแล้วครับจบแล้วครับ
Now he doesn't have it for potentially a follow-up in an upcoming fight, so Nongshim back on the board here. Won't be able to take this dragon, however, BNK in
แล้วนอต
return.
เขากำมันติไว้แน่นเลยนะเว้ย
So
คือไม่
already
ใช้สัก
this
ทีอะ
Nautilus has kind of worked out. Only 100 gold behind after that dive does
เฮ้
come
ย
on through, and
แล้วขึ้น
that
เป็น
is
ไอ้
grubs on the board as well. So
Battle
nicely done here.
ไป
Oh, man. Vandal
Takluz
pipes already.
Whoa. Okay.
Vandal pipes on the Nautilus. We're getting attack speed. Everyone's attacking fast. Nautilus is going to be putting out the CC. We should have known. I was like, yeah, Nautilus jungle is a problem.
เดี๋ยวนะถ้าสองนอติลุสมัน
kind of see Nautilus
มัน
playing
ไอ้
the
นี่เปล่าวะ
bagpipes.
มัน
You
ส
know,
โลว์ปะ
obviously they're under the suit, but I can see that. I think it's got like a bagpipey type vibe.
Well, doesn't it kind of require a lot more dexterity than I think Nautilus's fingers would allow,
Well,
though?
I mean, you just don't know how much dexterity they have inside those metal gloves.
สโล
You know, maybe inside those
นั่นหมาย
metal
ความ
gloves,
ว่า
there
มี
are
ทั้งคิวอัน
actually
ติแล้วก็
bagpipes.
ถ้า
Maybe it's
ที่แบบ
vandal
ทำ
pipes.
ให้เกิด
Nautilus and
ไอ้แบนเดล
Strong
ไป
Bat, the
ได้
best Vandal pipes players.
Exactly. It's just like he's a closeted Scottish guy just in a suit.
คือได้หมด
Probably
เล
an
ยครับ
astronaut.
มันได้ทั้งสโลแล้วก็
This is a 3v3
CC
here that
คุ้มอยู่นะ
looks like will not come to pass, but definitely an angle potentially there for Raptor to look for something. Fortunately, not able to find it, and we kind of reset. As I think maybe Coach Comms were used. I actually did not catch, but
perhaps cinematic mode on us again, which I really like. Raptor level behind here, as he does get a little bit of a snare onto Sponge. You got fights on multiple fronts. The Slurkle comes down. Though. Sponge actually eating a lot of damage. There's the depth charge for the double knockups. And Vic for the angle, and they find Taeyeon out of nowhere. How did that even happen?
This
อัน
was
ติ
a bit
แล้
of
ว
a
แบบ
disaster. Nongshim
ชามมาโดนอาเฟนแท
is
น
unable to get Prio and arrive. TP's in late.
I mean, it's really hard to
นงชิม
match the
อา
global
การแย่
presence
เลย
of
ว่ะ
an Ari Wolf.
Yeah, I like also the fact that
สปอนจริงๆตอนอยู่ DRX นี่แบกมากเลยแต่พอมาอยู่อันนี้แล้วดูแบบกดดันเปล่าหรือว่ามันแบบโค้ดให้กูเล่นตัวอะไรก็ไม่รู้อะแล้วแทยูนคือแบบไม่เฉลียวเลยดูเลยคือแค่จะไซส์สเต็ปอย่างเดียวมีแฟลชแต่ไม่ได้กดลง
throws Taeyoon under the bus.
The saddest part is Taeyoon had flash as well. But like, how could he have predicted his Malphite would just doom like that?
Yeah. Oh,
how could he have known?
Goodness. Wow, he got sponged. Sometimes you just get sponged. You can't really. Sometimes you can't help it.
You would think a sponge would soak the charm.
Yeah.
Instead.
And Raptor the whole time was just playing his pipes, having a great time.
แย่แล้วว่ะคิงเงินเฮ้ยแต่ว่าไทยอยู่ได้เพจครับแล้วซื้อสตอมเลเซอร์ชิ้นแรกด้วยคืออาเฟเลออนอะสตอมเลเซอร์ดีมากครับแต่พี่คิดว่าชิ้นแรกมันพี่ว่าคอลเลกเตอร์ดีกว่าแต่ถ้าอย่างนี้ชิ้นแรกก็มูฟไวดีครับอ๋อแต่อยู่แม่งอ้อมไม่ได้ลดไม่ได้ไม่รู้ทำไมหินมาป่าได้ครับตัวไม่น่ามาได้มันได้บัฟมาครับได้บัฟท่า W มาเข้าป่าตีแรงขึ้นแล้วก็ของซีก็ขึ้นแล้วดีด้วยครับ
Diablo is definitely fighting. This is what he wants to do. Another death charge is going to connect onto Taeyoon. He's there to follow up. Oh, good sidestep. No dredge line for Raptor this time.
And no flash required for the Aphelios. Raptor had to use his, so ends up being a trade up here for sure.
Yep, really nicely done. Scout is also this time going to be able to catch Vikler in transition, which is definitely something he hasn't quite been able to do so far this game.
Scout fans were waiting for this guy to come back to Korea for a really long time, and it feels like they're still waiting in this game.
Or at least waiting for him to come down to
the
bottom lane.
Maybe
he'll do it this time. He's got his Weaver's Wall. They're trying to make a play.
Challenger แบบแต้มโคตรเยอะ
Not quite, but they
go.
Oh yeah, this is crescendum into a turret, and that means that one is going to be a lot of plates. Scout now going to take further damage as he does face check a charm. But Taeyoon going to be able to claim that first turret as well. Once again, extra gold.
ด้วยความที่มันซื้อ Storm Laser แล้วดี
Put them ahead by about 500, which is not too bad.
The top lane quests have been completed, but we don't really want to watch this
จริงๆเลนกลางก็มีตัวหนึ่งที่แบบ
Scout's still waiting for his mid lane
พี่
quest
ก็ไปดูมา
to
แล้วพี่รู้สึกว่า
be
เก่ง
done as
นะ
well.
คือ
So
Twisted Fate
Vikler is already there on that one. Malignance
มัน
is now done.
มันมูฟไวดิมันฟาร์มไวแล้วก็รีเซ็ตไวแล้วก็รวย
So a very even game, honestly, and there was that slight gold advantage built up by Nongshim by taking that outer turret, but
แต่ไม่ค่อยมีใครเลือกว่ะ Twisted Fate
BNK have been able to put a bunch of that money back into their coffers, so nicely done.
It's a pretty much dead game in terms of gold. The Aphelios sitting on red-white here for this dragon fight, potentially, as the setup is not there without Scout. Does get his boots now. Still hasn't finished his quest, so doesn't get tier 3 on them, but is going to run back as fast as he can. Weaver's Wall at the ready, but if the rest of this game is any indication, I'm not sure if he's going to use it. The rest of the team is kind of posturing like, please use it! We need you to be here!
BNK teleport, another
โอ้
teleport
สู้ครับมาแล้วครับคิงเงินตรงนี้หม่งเข้าไปแล้วครับมอไฟไม่มีหม่งนะตรงนี้เคลียร์มาด้านหลังยก2แทยูนแฟดเข้าไปเหรอเอ้าชิเลแฮนงงเลยแต่ไม่แฟดก็น่าจะตายครับเพราะว่าเคลียร์น่าจะกดอันตีตามมาแล้วตรงนี้คิงเงินเลือดเต็มอยู่สเกลครับยกสวยแล้วดึงขาครับเลแฮนแจ่มมากอันนี้เคลียร์พยายามจะติได้ไหมได้แล้วแฟดออกโอ้สเกลโชว์ฟอร์เมื่อกี้ถือว่าหลอกล่อได้ดีครับแต่แทยูตะกี้คือแฟดเข้าไปยัดเลยครับและชิ้น2จะขึ้นแบบเป็น LDR
up working out for them. We'll see the quest now completed for Scout
นงชิม
as
พอไหวไหม
well.
ครับเหมือนค่อยๆเร่งเครื่องขึ้นมานะ
Vikler has a flank angle here, but he's not actually able to initially impact the play. It's actually the engage from Sponge that gets onto Raptor, puts him low, which guarantees the Dragon's going to go over. On the other side of the fight, it's a wild growth here onto Taeyoon. Forces him back.
จะแฟดขึ้นด้านบนไปฆ่าเคนเล่นเว้ยแต่ว่ามันติดหินที่แฟดขึ้นไม่ขึ้น
And Scout's able to defend himself. Thought we had something happening in live, but
Not quite.
No, not really. Ultimately, this ends up being a win for Nongshim, as we just saw moments before. Clear really wants to get the kill here on the scout, forces him to flash.
ดาเมจเลยขาดครับพอ
He does
แทยูน
escape,
ตาย
but the flash is still expended.
Yeah, really well played by Scout though in that last fight. Really
แต่ว่า
saving
สเกลแบก
it for Nongshim. So showing up where it counts. We've got a Herald crash into this outer turret on the top side, and Nongshim.
แต่ว่าเลี้ยงดีครับเลแฮนดูรวยอะ
Clear will show up. I don't know whether this tower is actually going to go down, because the knockup does come up through on the sponge.
He has grabbed him, so it's kind of hard to do anything here.
Yeah.
นอตมาตรงนี้แต่ว่าน่าจะไม่ถึง
That doesn't even really help his mobility too much there, as we saw. But still, Nongshim now with King on the bottom.
คำถามคือดาเมจจะพอปิด King N ได้ไหม
Nongshim kind of running them around the map at the moment.
แต่ว่า King N เองก็
A team that is known for really wanting to skirt.
คือซันไฟมันไม่ได้แบบเหมือนเมื่อก่อนที่แบบไปยืนใกล้ๆแล้วเผาแบบโอ้โหโคตรแรงอ่ะตอนนี้มันก็เผาแต่ไม่ได้แรงมากเน้นเคลียร์เวฟมากกว่า
And that's the end of it. He is on a flank angle here, but I don't think he necessarily is going to be able to turn that into anything.
Yeah, Kellen going to get knocked up though, as we can see here. Looks for it. And Kellen is extremely squishy. Still going to survive. Was very close to the turret and had Raptor
ผมได้ขอนะขอบคุณมากได้
to back him up. Vikler also now on an angle looking for a little bit of an approach, but was spotted on a ward and pinged out here by Nongshim.
ดาบช่องเราก็จะได้รับถ้าเกิดปีใหม่เลยก็จะส่งของไปให้ครับในการขอบคุณครับหรือว่าเป็นการติดสินบนนั่นเองครับ
The scaling questions we have get really interesting in this one because it's Yunara versus Aphelios. Aphelios with a Storm Razor, relatively safe, going for a pen and a second item to deal with this front line. Has the karma for shielding, but I think otherwise this Yunara is set up for great success. A single target blow up onto this Aphelios that doesn't have a thresh in this game. Like so much of the peel tools here are normally used as pick tools. Like Scout will have to use his flip, his rocks defensively. Sponge may even need to ult defensively, and then it's Kingen who's the front line here.
ไปอวดได้ไปอวด
So I think Taeyun has a really tough game to play here.
ในห้อง
Always have to keep an eye on both AD carries flashes. They both
ไซออนคือซื้อไอตัวไม่ไซออนครับมอไฟซื้อไอตัวโปรโตปาส
Yeah, Clear is just going to take a little bit of a tunnel out here, but Scout is going to be able to catch him. Doesn't hit the seismic shot, but it won't really matter. Taeyun, he's got some red light guns and will be able to cut down Clear, as we can see. It does take a little bit of time, but they will get there in the end. Let's see whether BNK can actually make anything of this, and the answer is no, because the teleport from Kingen is going to come on through.
I mean, at least
so Nongshim once again just running them around the map.
At least Vikla gets something back here on the top side. Pop that corrosion and grab 2 plates, it looks like here, but does not feel like it's worth in comparison, as Aphelios already headed back to mid lane, and Kingen is going to be able to come up to the top lane pretty quickly.
แต่พี่เจไปแพ็คส่งให้แบบก็ขอบคุณพี่เจเยอะๆเลยอะพี่เจไปแพ็คส่งคนเดียวเลยเนี่ยเพราะวันนั้นพี่ก็สตรีมเนี่ย
into that turret there in the bottom side of the map as well.
พี่เจบอกแพ็คจนปวดหลังอะหลายคน
30 seconds here, but it's going to take a lot more, I think, than just the solo play we've seen in this mid game to start that one up right now. Even though both of these carries do a ton of damage, the 80 carries in particular.
Yeah, there's also 25 seconds on the Drake as well. Cloud Soul this game. The extra movement speed you can imagine for Taeyun's going to feel absolutely fantastic.
Kingen is just once again left to the side, pushing another wave through. There's no answer.
Just kind of, speaking of no answer, not really too much.
เลแฮนพยายามช่วยดันกลับมาสปอนต้องอันตีดีไม่ทันครับโดนชาม
Unfortunately, the rock is just cut
ไซ
down
ออนไม่ถึงไกลเลยไซออนพี่เวียนตีบวกไม่ดีเท่าไหร่แล้วมังกรเกิดแล้วเสียมังกรแน่นอน
their second Drake of the game.
A bunch of pings tossed onto Kingen here as well.
ดาเมจคือไม่เข้าหนังไซออนเลยวะ
This is going to be a tough contest to
แต่ว่าอุ้ยขังสวยอันตีไว้คิงเกนโอ้โหอีไปทางไหนวะน่าคิงเกนโอ้โหอีแบบอีขึ้นฟ้าอุ้ยไทยุนแฟนหรอวะเลแฮนช่วยหน่อยเลแฮนใส่โล่อยู่ช่วยไทยุนก่อนไทยุนโอ้ยยิงไม่ได้เลยคิงเกนจะตายแล้วคิงเกนบอกถึงแค่นั้นก็ไม่ไหวเตะอีไม่โดนอีกแล้วมุดดึงไม่โดนเหมือนกันแต่ว่าสเกลแบกว่าสเกลแกแบบตำแหน่งยังไงวะเลือดไม่ลดเลยแล้วมาแล้วครับหินมาแล้วไม่ต้องห่วงทุกคนหินเดินถ้ามีโปรโตบัสแล้วก็ไม่ไหวว่าตายอยู่ดีว่ะแต่กี้มันเพิ่มเทเนซิตี้แล้วก็เพิ่มรีเจนนะแต่ว่ามันไม่ได้เพิ่มกรอบแบบสเตอร์แลกมันจะเป็นรีเจนค่อยๆรีเจนเรื่อยๆซึ่งถ้าเกิดใน มันก็อาจจะไม่ได้ได้รีครบจบเท่าไหร่ตัวนี้มันอ้อมมาด้านหน้าแล้วคือแล้วจริงๆแทยูนต้องเสี่ยงเดินเข้าไปในป้อมเลยมั้งคือเลแฮนก็เพิ่มโล่จะไม่รู้จะเพิ่มยังไงแล้ว
100% was worth it here for Nongshim.
Yeah, and the huge Scion with like the massive amounts of armor is quite difficult for this Yanara to actually kill. Doesn't quite have the armor penetration
เสียดายที่แบบ
just yet.
โปรโตพลาสแบบไซออนอาจจะไม่ค่อยดีหรอกคือมันไม่ได้เป็นแบบสเกลลิ่งจากเปอร์เซ็นต์เลือดตัวที่ดีที่สุดในเกมนี้ที่ว่าให้เป็นออนดีสุดแล้วมอไฟเหมือนจะดีนะแต่ว่ามอไฟมันเวลามันเลือดมันโลมันเกาะมันน้อยตายอีกแล้วครับยังไม่ทันได้เห็นว่ามอไฟมันไม่ได้แบบสเกลตายไปแล้วเขาบอกเชยเฮ้ยขับรถมาดีๆขับรถดีไม่ได้วิกล้าแล้วง้างทามิ่งแบบวิกล้าเป๊ะอันนี้สวยระเบิดครับคิงเงินเฮ้ยคิงเงินคิงบอกแนวแบกแล้วไม่ไหวว่ะน้องไอ้เชี่ยสปอนเด้งมันเป็นหนักมากสปอน04บอลไฟแบบหนักโคตรคืออยากให้เขาซื้อเมอร์เคทสักอันจริงๆเลยคือมันไม่ได้ถึกขนาดแบบนั้นนะเด้แล้ววิกล่าตีโคตรเร็วเห็นปะวิกล่าคือแบบเป็นอารีที่ตีเร็วมากอะแบบงงอะเพราะว่านอติลูสแม่งแบบซีให้สโลให้แล้วแบบไอตัวแบนเดจไปมันทำงานไม่ใช่น็อตทางแก้ไอ้น็อตมันแบบมันไม่เท่าไหร่แต่ว่าสปอนมันหลอนมากเลยอะคือด้วยความที่มันกำมันตีไว้แบบต้องใช้อันตีเพื่อแบบเพื่อเปิดแล้วมันแบบต้องอันตีดีตลอดมันไม่ได้มันก็เลยแบบเครียด
On the other side, there's a Lulu, and the wild growth adds to these fights so much. It's unavoidable.
ด้านหลังโดนอีกแล้วครับแทยูเลยพยายามจะช่วยทุกอย่างไม่ได้ไหวครับแล้วซีซีรัวเดียโบจัดการครับยูนาร่าวันนี้คิงเงินมีแจ็คโชว์แล้วยืนแทงโคตรนานแต่ว่าตีเรื่อยๆได้ครับเดียโบมี LDR แล้วแพทนี้เนี่ย LDR มันบัฟมาด้วยคือมีตัวแจนสเลเยอร์แล้วแล้วตรงนี้เกียร์ขับรถหนีแต่สเกลบอกขับเมื่อกี้ช่วยหน่อยพยายามจะยกเกียร์ไม่ได้สเกลเมื่อกี้
Not going to quite work out just yet. He now has Lord Doms completed as well. My God.
The sale said 180 carry plus 2 TPs. Look at this. Taeyeon dies, so they get double TP, and then both soul laners who show up here for Nongshim are like, it's like the guy with the pizza, you know, that meme? Yeah. They're like, well, you know, maybe we just let this turret go, actually.
คิงเงินแบกแล้วแต่เหมือนจะไม่ไหว ADC ตายเยอะไปครับแล้วก็ป่าก็คือระเบิดระเบ้อเลยสปอนคือตอนนี้แบบคือสปอนเล่นพวกแบบเป็นเมดดีกว่าสปอนถนัดเล่นพวกเมดเลยเมกกับไฟเตอร์ถ้าให้เล่นแทงมันแบบเสียดายสปอนอยู่ให้เล่นพวกลีเลียอะไรเงี้ยแต่ถ้าเกิดเป็นโปรเพลเยอร์แล้วเล่นแบบตัวพวกนี้ไม่ได้แบบเล่นได้แต่พวกเมดป่ามันก็ไม่ได้นะเว้ยแต่ด้วยความที่สปอนแรงแบบชาเลนเจอร์แต้มเยอะมากในเกาหลีมันก็มีของดีอยู่ครับเนี่ยเครียดมากเลยเป่าปากตลอดเลย
Spike normally for Diablo is you end up getting that belt that gives you a big ult, but you know it was hard to deal with the Scion. Now he has LDR. Now he can deal with the Scion, and Diablo is ready to fight.
แล้วปิดมาสวยอยู่แล้วยกน็อตแต่ว่าตรงนี้วิกล่าพยายามจะขัดแล้วตรงนัดนี้มานะแรปเตอร์มาแล้วไอ้เคลียร์มาเคลียร์ไปที่ไทยุนไม่โดนไทยุนพยายามขายอยู่สปอนอันตีเข้าไปที่เดียเบิลกระโดดยิงเคลียร์พยายามจะขัดอยู่ด้านหลังนี่เคลียร์แม่งก็ขัดเหมือนกันตรงนี้เคลียร์จะตายแล้วเคลียร์ตาย เดียวโบ้เกือบตายแต่ไม่ตายไม่ไหวแล้วเว้ยเครียดสปอนบอกเครียดสปอนก็เลยตีช่วยสปอนมึงไปตีสปอนไม่ตีกูอยู่เทียนแม่งกลายเป็นล่าซอมบี้ตีแบบบาสโคนมาจะเข้าไปซัดแล้วสปอนไม่ขวดปูไม่หยุดแบบตัวต้องตายแต่อยู่ระวังโดนชามกูลงไปโดนชามโดนชามโอ้วิกล่าสวยจัดแต่แรปเตอร์ไม่ตายเหรอตายแล้วครับผมตรงนี้สเกลยกมาปุยมันกันเดียวปุ๊บตายไหมวิ่งหนีสปอนบอกโอ้ยไม่ไหวอินเตอร์ไปเถอะน่าพี่บาย
other than him, and Diablo is able to lock down his target, and now Vikla has another Spirit Rush, so he'll use that to take down Scout. My God, what a fight!
I mean, what a fight! That who says LCK is not a hands region? Watch those moments. Okay, so initially, oh, we ran coach voice for some reason, but I really wanted to watch the replay of that fight, as this is actually the B&K call. So we're basically talking about the item builds here. So, or the item spikes. The LDR is done for Diablo. So both AD carries actually survive the onslaught. Right? As you see, Scout and Diablo also gets by King and Sponge. So
ไทยูนด้านหลังสวยนะเลแฮนกับไทยูนก็พยายามจัดการเคลียร์คีเงินก็แบบเฮ้ยอยู่ไหนวะดาเมจกูอยู่ไหนแล้วดูสปอนครับการแก๊งตรงนี้ตีปูกันบอกไม่ไหวไม่มีเลือดตีปูกันเอาเลือดก่อนแล้วกลับไปอีกรอบแล้วไทยูตรงนี้คือโดนชามจากวิกล่าดูการสายสเต็ปฟื้นไม่น่าเชื่อว่าจะใช้ลงมาด้านล่างเหลือเชื่อว่าวิกล่าเมื่อกี้คือเดินไปด้านบนแล้วไงคือ300 IQ ใช้มาด้านล่างเอาเคลียร์พยายามจะจัดการด้วยไทยูแบบโดนหนักมากCCรัวๆจนไทยูไม่รอดแล้วเคลียร์ก็ตายเหมือนกันแต่วิกล่าตรงนี้ตายด้านหลังแล้วเทียนบอกเฮ้ยอยู่ไหนกันเนี่ยตายอีกแล้วน่าโมโหจังเพื่อนไปไหนไม่รู้วิ่งไล่เลยแล้วกันแรปเตอร์โดนนะไม่มีดาเมจหรอวะของมันแบบของกันเป็นลอร์ดเอชกับอาร์แองเจิลชิ้นตะปาต้องขึ้นเป็นในตัวแอชชูไลเซอร์เสียบาลอนครับไม่มีทางที่จะไปขัดขืนได้นอกจากสปอนจะแฟดเขาไม่มีแฟดด้วยไม่ตีอะไรเดียวไม่มีทาง
Congratulations to B&K for holding on to Diablo from 2025 to 2026.
They kept Diablo. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, incredible stuff. And yeah, Nongshim Coach Voice is just trying to pick up the pieces. I think if I call that, like, saying, like, watch for the Rex side, cover for the Aphelios a little bit more.
นี่ก็มงไปสวยนะ
You know, in this situation, like, what can Taeyeon do? There's just too much CC. Vikla is on the other side of this fight, but that means there's no Malphite here. There's no peel. Malphite's not supposed to peel necessarily, but there's just nothing for the Aphelios, whereas Diablo's got all the resources, and Vikla dying there means nothing when your AD carry that's incredibly fed cleans up the fight. 5,000 gold in the lead now, 13 kills, and B&K are very comfortably in the lead in this one. Yeah, looking really good. Vikla didn't manage to collect a Baron, but of course didn't die during that, so we can see the Baron power play.
DRX มาก็ระเบิดฟอร์มด้วยจีนครับผมแต่มันเจอเจนจีนนั่นแหละเราต้องยอมอะแต่ว่าตายเละเทะเลย
But you can see now with the advantage that B&K has, it is only going to balloon as they take more and more of these structures off the map, and that's the real value.
And look at Clear, he's caught up that full level of XP that Kingen had over him in this game.
All right, Weave as well just to play defensively here, but still plates are falling down left, right, and center. Raptor off on an angle, is spotted there by, I believe, a Scryer's Bloom. But they can back off to the Dragon immediately after this Baron as well. It's really good timing, actually.
มงแฟดมงแล้วยกมาสวยมากตรงนี้ตายไหมตายแต่ผู้ได้เหมือนกันน้องชิมช็อตแบบกลัวคนดูง่วงแฟดละมงแล้ววิกล่ามีแฟดก็ไม่ทันนะมันเร็วเกินนะแล้วได้เดียโบกับวิก เดียโบวิกล่าแบบนี้จะจบอาจจะไม่ได้อาจจะได้อินทีหนึ่งบ้างแต่ว่าทรงแบบนี้เหมือนจะอยากจบเลยทีเกนไม่อยากเล่นแล้วแต่ว่าน่าจะไม่ทันได้แค่นี้จริงป้อมมันรีเพจมันไม่เหมือนเมื่อก่อน
There's two Nexus turrets to deal with. I don't think this is going to be enough. They should be able to get rid of the wave, but
just barely they
Nongshim,
ได้เลย
incredible stuff. Now that Rebel Baron power plays down to -800.
นงชิมครับ
big turnaround, you could say, as
ทางงานครับดูอีกรอบครับสปอนก็ยืนแบบเมื่อครับแล้วก็
an overstep. Flash unstoppable force. Wild growth, nice try. Definitely not enough to stop that.
คิดแล้วทำก็ดีทำมากกว่าคิด
And they're both just stacked on top of each other, maybe just misreading the engage range of that Malphite. Flash ult.
ทำวันนี้เสร็จเมื่อวานครับเมื่อกี้
I think they may have gotten a little bit complacent because honestly, I don't think Sponge has really been finding too many of these angles so far this game.
It's the first big one. Look, he's 1, 6, and 8.
Yeah, he hasn't been having a good time. But B&K, they will be able to get themselves a soul point here. As Scout is going to be able to take down this outer turret towards the top side of the map.
หาเงินก่อนครับตรงนี้ลงชิมก็ต่อให้ได้ยิ้มมาเงินก็ยังตาม 2,600 ครับ แล้วแอชชูเลเซอร์มาจริงครับทาริยาก็แรงมากนะเป็นไอเทมที่คิดว่าถ้าเรามีโอกาสนะตอนนี้รีบเล่นครับเดี๋ยวโดนเนิร์ฟแน่นอนนะแอชชูเลเซอร์
We're actually getting close to the oh, we got the extra boot slot, and it's going to be really relevant here.
Yes. I think GA would be good.
The game state here is really difficult to define because the extra prio that this mid inhibitor is going to grant Nongshim, the lack of mid inhibitor is going to grant Nongshim the super minions they have, is going to be very relevant up until the Baron spawns. And if they can get a Baron, they get map control for the rest of the game, then suddenly, you know, it feels very playable. Diablo doesn't have flash. If he gets hit by another unstoppable force, I mean, the game can, I mean, and will, in fact, just end this time around. So he needs to be really careful. He has otherwise been so incredibly careful and great at walking the tightrope in this game. That was just a really unfortunate moment there and a great proactive play from Sponge.
Well, there's another hook. It's going to connect.
แล้วเลแฮนครับ
and they will be able to find my hands. Now the rest of Nongshim are going to turn up. This time Taeyun is still alive. Man, the orbit section is doing damage. The hook from downtown. The double knock-up. And Aphelios just explodes. What the heck was that? This time Diablo's alive and he lets them know as it is only King left up and he is walking the other direction as now it's B&K's turn to try and end this game. And he's not going to be able to teleport out of that one. And there is going to be the ace. Yunara picks it up 16-3-7 for Diablo. And when he doesn't get hit by a Malphite ult, they are probably going to win the game. They're going to do exactly that right now.
Yeah, this time we will see the end. This time they're in the base. And B&K, there was the one big slip-up. But otherwise, they were able to outplay Nongshim in this one. Better team coordination with the pre-built synergy this roster already has from 2025. As you mentioned, keeping the identity of the dive alive. Edo's debut, he puts the Nautilus in the jungle.
Incredible Edo performance to start this one off, Wolf.
แล้วสเกลก็ไม่ได้แฟดหรือไม่มีแฟดไม่ทราบครับไม่ได้หลบนอตดึงครับเรียบร้อยทำให้ต้องไป
But this Diablo guy, you know, we've been kind of saying he's
good, man.
He's pretty good. Got hit by one Malphite ultimate. It could happen to anybody. Actually was hit by that other one in the bottom lane. Could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you know, really walking a fine line in this game.
And also, our first Nautilus jungle win of the season as well. Wasn't what I was expecting today, but Raptor actually looking pretty good at it. We do have some pretty great Nautilus players in this game as well, so as far as Fearless is concerned, now Lahens can't play it. Like, he loves just defaulting to Nautilus, not going to be able to do so in this game.
You can't pick Nautilus into my Zeri
anymore.
51,000 damage!
damage.
คือเขา
He did
เล่นเป็นเหมือน
do
ซับ
double
อีกตัวหนึง
what Taeun did.
ฉะนั้น
In
ก็
Taeun's defense,
ถ้าคุณเล่นก็
this
คุณจง
game looked
พิจาร
nigh
ณาไว้ว่า
impossible
คุณ
to
ได้
play.
เล่น
the
ตัวที่คุ
synergy
ณ
just
ทำเพื่อ
was
ทีมครับ
really not there. Like kicking out
ถ้า
damage
ทีมมันไม่
Taeun
แบ
was
ก
just
คุณก็
really funny.
Yeah.
จบสิ้น
Taeun did not spend a lot of the game alive. His gun management was insane. I felt like he had red white like every time I looked at him, but he just could not utilize it to its full extent.
Didn't quite work out. That is some incredible artwork. But
มันไม่
now,
ได้แบบ
ladies
ดา
and
เมจเหลือ
gentlemen,
เชื่อ
it is
เรา
time
ไปเล่น
for
ใน
us
แรง
to
แล้ว
take
เรา
a
แบบ
short break.
แบก
When
ได้
we get
มันคือ
back,
แบบให้เพื่อนแบก
we will have the space, and then game number 2, we'll see whether Nongshim can fight back and bring us to a 3-gamer.
ไอเวิร์นยังแบบยังเป็นตัวที่ไม่รู้อะเล่นง่ายกว่า Nautilus ป่าเมื่อกี้เหมือนยังมีปัญหาอยู่อ่ะพี่ว่ามันมีแรงกดดันอะไรสักอย่างในนงชิมสักเรื่องที่ทำให้รู้สึกว่าแบบมันมีอะไรบางอย่างเอาจริงตรงนี้ช็อตเนี้ยสปอนเห็นเมื่อกี้สปอนต้องถอยแล้วคือพอแบบดึงคาม่ามาปุ๊บก็ต้องถอยแล้วแต่ว่าแย่อยู่ครับถึงเวลาเล่นต่อวันนี้ไม่มี3 ทางเหรอครับคือวันนี้พี่เดี๋ยวจะลงไปทำคลิปต่อให้เสร็จครับขออภัยด้วยครับเมื่อวานมันไม่ได้ทำง่ายๆเหมือนที่คิดครับมันค่อนข้างใช้ระบบที่วุ่นวายอยู่เหมือนกันก็เลยกว่าจะหาหนทางได้ก็สักพักเลยครับหายป่วยแล้วมีเกมผีได้จริงไหมครับจริงครับผมจะบลิงเดี๋ยวนะพี่ย้ายไปแล้วนี่ไปเมืองหน้าด่านอ๋อต้องการบาแลกเอ้าปลดล็อกบาแลกที่จะช่วยฝึกฝนการ์ดที่ฐานต่างๆสามารถอัพเกรดเพื่อปกป้องเมืองไว้ก่อนไม้กับหินเหรอ มันมีตรง
Hold nothing back. When one Demacian suffers, all suffer with them.
เฮ้ยทำไมมันมาบุกเมืองนี้ตลอดเลยวะไม่มีอาหารแล้วว่า
The pieces are laid before you. What will you do, Luxana?
อ๋อมันจะขึ้นอย่างนี้มีเวลา5 เทิร์นที่จะสร้างอะไรป้องกันชีวิตเข้าใจแล้วอ๋อมันจะไอ้5 เทิร์นนี่พี่นึกว่าซ่อมโอ้ my god เคลื่อนที่ส่งไปยังพี่ต้องการหินน่ะไม้ไม่พอมือนี้ไม่ค่อยเดินบุกอะเอาเนี้ยเอาหินดีกว่าสบาย
Project finished to satisfaction. That must be a new feeling for you, Luxana.
จัดการมันเลยฮ่า
I'm shining bright.
ท่านอาเทียนาบทเรียนพวกนี้มีไว้ต่อสู้เกิดขึ้นเยอะเลยนะใช่แล้วมันทำไมเหรอยังไงก็ต้องเป็นบทเรียนทางทหารนะมันดูเหมือนว่าเป็นการต่อสู้เพียงแค่ตัวเลือกเดียวที่ยังมีอยู่แต่ทั้งที่ก็น่าจะมีตัวเลือกอื่นข้าไม่เข้าใจสิ่งที่เจ้าจะสื่อพูดออกมาตรงๆเลยก็ได้สิเด็กน้อยทุกถิ่นที่ข้ายึดข้าต้องต่อสู้และจัดการทุกคนที่อาศัยอยู่ที่นั่นถูกต้องแล้วแต่มันไม่มีวิธีอื่นที่จะไม่ต้องทำลายซึ่งกันและกันได้แล้วเหรอข้าสามารถเจรจากับพวกโทรได้นะฟังให้ดีนะการทูตจะไม่มีวันได้ผลหากมีฝ่ายใดฝ่ายหนึ่งมองว่ามันไม่เป็นเรื่องจริงจัง และเจ้าเพิ่งเริ่มต้นเท่านั้นถ้าอย่างนั้นข้าจะเริ่มเรียนรู้เกี่ยวกับการทูตภายหลังนะหวังว่าไว้ค่อยกันอีกทีไม่แน่ว่าจะมีวิทยากรรับเชิญด้วยก็ได้ yeah มีหิน2ต้องการไม้กับเราไปบุกได้ปะจัดการมันตัวอะไรวะนะไหวปะวะ
Show me the strength of the Crown Guards.
Oh my god เฮ้ยไม่แนวหลัง
Now I'm sad.
What the fuck is that
There are many stories about Orlon, one of Demacia's most celebrated leaders. And even more theories as to what happened to his fabled hammer.
โอ้ยป๊อปปี้มาแล้วต้องปลดอันนี้ก่อนป่ะไอ้เมืองนี้บุกยากว่ะเรื่องนี้อันนี้พอได้อันนี้พอได้เดี๋ยวเอาป๊อปปี้ไปจะไปทางหลักหรือทางเรามีหมอกหนาทึบเข้าปกคลุมกีดขวางเส้นทางการค้าบีบให้ขบวนเล่หาบต้องเดินอ้อมเป็นเส้นทางนี้มานานขึ้นจากเรื่องนี้ยังไง ส่งยินดีไปช่วย
This is how we will proceed.
Oh my god โอเคแล้วเมืองนี้อัพได้ไหมต้องใช้ไม้กับโอเค Demacia
A reminder that one's plans never go unnoticed. Prepare yourself accordingly.
เฮ้ยมันจะบุกเมืองนี้ไปช่วยเร็ว Demacia 3 เทิร์นทันพอดีโอเคอัปเกรดได้แล้วครับเป็นยังไงอัปเกรดมึงนี้ก็โดนบุกว่ะป๊อปปี้เป็นฮีโร่เหรอเท่จัดใช้สกิลออโต้แบทเทเลอร์ดีสตันอย่าไปยุ่งกับทหารบ้านฉันนะนาย
Laksana, you have exceeded my expectations.
เราไปจัดการมันเลยดีกว่าวิมาแล้วรางวัลอีก10อัปเกรดฐานท่านอาเทียนาท่านไม่เคยเล่าให้ฟังว่าท่านเป็นอย่างไรในตอนที่ท่านอายุเท่าข้าเรื่องเยาว์วัยเรื่องราวในเยาว์วัยของข้าไม่ได้เกี่ยวข้องอะไรกับบทเรียนของเจ้าข้ามั่นใจว่าท่านต้องมีมืออาชีพเอามากๆแน่นอนหากเจ้าจะรู้ให้ได้แล้วก็ข้าค่อนข้างเป็นคนหัวดื้อฮะไม่จริงนะเจ้าเคยสังเกตไหมว่ารูปปั้นทุกชิ้นที่อยู่ฝั่งตะวันออกล้วนมีนิ้วที่หายไปไม่นะท่านเป็นคนทำเหรอไม่ใช่แฮ่เทน่าเผยรอยยิ้มที่แยบคายที่สุดออกมาท่านอาเทียนาผู้กระทำผิดยังคงลอยนวลอยู่
Yeah, one more ban here for BNK before we get into these picks. Vikla looking like he's concentrating very, very hard on what he wants to do. And
มาเกมที่2ครับนงชิมเลือกเป็นเฟิร์สพิกก่อนครับแล้วก็อยู่ฝั่งเลดด้วย
A potential first pick Orianna, like Orianna's up. You have
โอเรียนาน่าของสเกลครับผมบอกกลัวเลอบองหล่อเมื่อวานโชว์เมเกอร์จัดให้แบบเน้นๆจนโลเมอร์แทบจะร้องไห้เลยครับ
Go over to the side of BNK as a response.
Oh, Nico Corki is actually terrifying.
Yeah, that's kind of
Diablo Kellen.
Insane. I think that may be in fact where we go directly here.
Well, it is definitely going to be Nico. I think that is a no-brainer. Will be picked up here. The Orianna, I'm not actually. I feel like that is a decent decision to make the Zia band, but
going
it's going to be Nico Pantheon.
Well, the face-up Pantheon, which is obviously not a flex in this case, with the Nico already locked in.
ไม่มีคามาแล้วก็น่าสบาย
I'm going for the
บาทจะมีอยู่นะบาทจินเลยแต่บาท
could have been an option as well. Saber has
บาทดูโอเคนะ
well in solo queue and
เซฟได้
just really a big benefit
หรือจะเอา Nocturne เหรอ
benefitter of all the changes to crit and stuff like that. Varus will be the option here.
Yeah, the Taeun
วารัสนี่ก็เป็นตัวจัดการแบบแพทยอนได้โดดเข้ามาปุ๊บก็คืออันติสวนไปเลยแล้วก็ให้มันแบบซึมไปเลยครับอลิสตามาดันเลย
Can be quite strong in the Nico, picking the Alistar a little bit less so.
Although good into Pop Blossom.
That is true.
That's
a great answer in terms of team fight and setup there. The variation of
คู่นี้จริงๆให้นงชิมแต่เห็นฟอร์มเกมแรกแล้วก็แบบแอบรู้สึกว่าต้องจูนกันครับเพราะว่าฝั่งของ BFX เนี่ยเขาทีมเดิมครับเขาก็เลยแบบไม่ต้องจูนเลยมากครับเขาเล่นสตรองอยู่แล้วครับแต่นงชิมก็เปลี่ยนเยอะครับเปลี่ยน3คนมันก็เลยทำให้แบบอาจจะต้องจูนกันเยอะ
So both of them going to be rocking those skill shots to see who can actually stick around in the laning phase. With Lehens on the Alistar, of course, it is one of his signature picks, but unfortunately will not be adding that much to the laning phase against a Nico Ezreal, which is going to be very scary.
They picked the Pantheon early, and they can kind of try to choke out the jungle pool here for Sponge. They banned the Jarvan, the Jace, the Nocturne, and...
แบนเลอบองอะ
You know, when you look at
เมื่อวานโชว์เมเกอร์อย่างที่บอกว่าโชว์ฟอร์ม
I mean, apparently Jungle Nautilus could be one of your best bets, but that's Fearless ban. I'm curious what they're going to do with this final ban here at BNK.
I mean, Xin Zhao is, you know, one of those champs that is still up and available and relatively strong.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those champs. I mean, Wukong, I suppose.
Yeah.
Could be another one they're looking at. It's kind of like those are the two that are left. As Ambessa, Jungle, not allowed as well with the Ambessa ban that happened earlier on in the first phase.
I feel like Wukong doesn't feel that great, though. I feel like the early presence that you'll have as this Pantheon is going to greatly outvalue that of an early Wukong. Not to mention it really doesn't get online that fast.
Yeah, not to mention the Ezreal is going to be able to buy space better than a lot of other AD carries into the Wukong in team fights.
All right, Gnar going to be taken away. A very interesting ban, although Clear is one of our known Gnar enthusiasts. Kind of like every other top lane here in the LCK, to be honest, but still.
จะบายพิกเลนแค่คิงเงิน
It kind of makes me
แล้ว
feel
ก็
like
ค
maybe
ง
King
เป็น
is
แบบ
aiming for a
นิ
Jax
ตาลี
pick here.
Could be.
Because that's
ถ้า
one
เล
of
เน
the
ก
picks
เล
that
เนก
Gnar
แล้วก็
depends on
เล
who
เน
you
กเอ
ask.
ถ
The
อก
Kings
แต่
have
ถอก
played
ไม่น่า
with
เล่น
both
แล้วแหละ
sides,
คิงเงิน
but it has been a great
ตัวเดียว
response
คือ
to
เลเนก
Takluz
ครั
in
บ
the past, even though Gragas does exist. So it's either that or maybe a Cassante. Those are the big things you're afraid of.
Ooh,
เลือก
Silas.
ไซรัส
There's no Gnar. Let's lock the Silas.
เฟลกอยู่ครับเฟลกอยู่ไซรัสจะป่า
It
แพ
is,
ทยอน
and
จะ
it's
กลางได้
interesting because theoretically the Pantheon is
แต่ไม่ค่อยเฟกเท่าไหร่หรอก
somewhat
แพทยอนน่าจะ
flexible. The
ป่า
Nico could be a mid laner again, like all sorts of weird stuff.
ก็เล
The
เนก
Silas
ครับ
could be
เล
jungling
เนก
like
แล้ว
you
ก็
don't really know, but
นิดาลีปะ
it's pretty,
เลเนกเจสไม่ได้เลเนก
pretty
นิ
clear
ดาลี
cut
โอ
that
เค
this is
ปะ
going to be into the Orianna thus far. And Alistar
เลเนก
already
นิดาลี
picked
ปะ
up.
ล่ะ
Does make sense that you're going to be picking
หรื
the
อ
Silas just because the Unbreakable Will is so powerful.
The Kingen Renekton comes through, and they will be picking up
Wukong
that
จริงเหรอ
Wukong, so they have a lot of threats here. I'm just a little bit concerned about how much
ไม่
engage
ค่อยชอบบูคอง
and how
ว่ะ
much
อันนี้
frontline plus the
ส่วน
safety
ตัว
of
เพ
the
ราะว่า
Ezreal
ไซรัส
team
กอบ
they
ดี
already
ครับแล้วก็
have, and they will of course still have
มันทามมิ่งมัน
for the
เลเนก
top
มัน
lane here.
มันจะเหนื่อยหน่อย
And the
คือ
Silas
เลเนกมันอยากได้ตัวที่แบบเล่นกับมันไวๆก็จะ
Critical
แจ่มเลย
ultimates, like the Wukong ultimate makes it even better.
แล้วก็กด
Yeah,
เคส
I
เล่น
mean,
มา
like, the Alistar one is the one you want most of the time. Well, see that same cannon response we saw from Rich earlier today. The Gunblade cannon can be quite powerful and buy a lot of space. I mean, this is
ก็ไม่รู้ว่าจะ
basically
ขึ้นกันเบสหรือว่าล็อกเก็ตเบลนะพี่ก็คิดว่าล็อกเก t ตเบลน่าจะแจ่มกว่า กันเบสมันเป็นแนวแบบในแรงไม่หน่อย
for an 80 carry that's already so difficult to lock down, and it is Diablo on the Ezreal. Even though the Orion went over, and we kind of were like, wow, that's crazy. That's a lot of power budgeted into Scout on a champ he's quite well known for. I think B&K definitely went out on the draft in my mind.
Yeah, actually feel like it looks pretty good. And Clear has been a bit of a Kennen enthusiast in the past. Hasn't exactly got the most games on it, but has certainly played it, especially in Challenger on DRX back in the day. So looking forward to seeing how he's going to go, as we did see Rich have a pretty good time into Keen in the Kennen versus Renekton matchup. And so we'll just have to see. I'm interested. I do feel like B&K are once again looking like they have a lot of control and power in this draft. And I like the way... it must not necessarily be about the coaching stuff. It must be the players that just like playing with lots of setup CC and control. You know, and a lot of these skirmishes are often built around that, and it's showing once again. You've got Pop Blossom, Slicing Maelstrom, you've got a Silas that can pick up so many different things. This could be another blowout for B&K. That being said, would be really good if we made it to 3 games. So Nongshim, let's see what you can do as we hear, as we are here, loaded onto the rift here for game number 2. And minions already making their way down the lanes.
หรือว่าจะแตกพ่ายครับ
As Diablo
กลุ่มบอลลอนตอนนี้ก็
and yeah, there's
แต้มน้อยเหลือเกิน
this is going to be a very rough time for Nongshim in the early laning phase.
Yeah, they opted into this. It is Comet Varus, so lethality, the option, ignite Kennen rather than the teleport variant. The shield is actually quite high value for Kennen. He doesn't build a lot of health, obviously, so he's not going to have a massive shield, but having the shield really helps you set up your ultimate. But it does mean that you have potential kill pressure in this lane. A lot of power, ignite value, interact, and when you're looking for an all-in is insanely high, so really interesting tech to come out here from Clear. It's pretty easy to proc the electrocute.
Yep. I do like having a little bit of that extra power. Chain's going to connect here on the Scout, as Vikla does find level 2, but still, the Orianna should have a pretty good time. Orianna into melee matchups actually gets to make use of her passive quite well, and so isn't going to be too worried about this. The early landing phase should be a little bit tough here for Vikla.
I mean, we have right now 2 crushing lanes, right? You have the top lane winning for B&K, you have bottom lane with the Nico. No contest, right? And then in the mid lane, the fact that Vikla was even able to get those chains to connect, and he had it perfectly timed with his level 2, found the angle there, hits on the Scout, just gives you this feeling that like B&K are locked in right now. You know, they have so many edges in this game to start things out, plus the fact they're already one up in this series.
I do think that as the game goes on, this Nongshim draft is looking really good. Clear needs to actually last hit minions as well. That would be really cool. As Kingen doing his very best to pick up as many of these as he can underneath the turret and is doing a great job at that.
สวยครับได้หมดเลยเนี่ย
Still, it is going to be clear.
สวยจัดครับ13/14
Kingen does have to deal with both this Pikachu as well as
ไปแย่นิดนึงครับ
the
มี
turret trying
ฟูลี่
to
อยู่
take away all of his minion kills.
Yeah, the electrocute is very annoying to deal with here.
Oh, nicely played there by Diablo.
แรงแข่งกับมีซาเฮนมีแล้ว
So clean. Taken takes a lot of
เฮ้ยมี
damage.
ป่ะ
In the past, would see the lethality Varus just crush Israel in lane, but not living in that world anymore, especially with an Alistair by his side. Yeah, Nico existing. It is a thing of the past to think that the Varus can go toe-to-toe, even though he has that range, he has that poke, he has that comet. He is really just trying to get anything he can, but you can see here, the poke is real.
Yeah, and it's the fact that there is Nico alongside and the cow instead. So it's just going to be a rough time regardless.
But that was a risky ward for Vikla there. Yeah, the Raptor is coming up and like...
It is going to be a 2v2.
With Kingslayer, I mean, this is kind of playable.
We'll have to just see as the dissonance does do a bit of damage to Vikla. Scout very out of mana.
Yeah, that's
Raptor is rotating over.
And Raptor is prepped.
อุ้ยเอาโดนเฉยแฟดเรียบร้อยสเกลตายไปเนี่ยสเกลไม่ตายมีโล่แต่ว่าโอ้ได้เหมือนกันหน้าตายคู่ป่ะแต่ข้างบนวิ่งเร็วข้างบนวิ่งเร็ว
It will be the kill followed up. The first blood goes over to Nongshim, and they'll have a bit of extra money for that.
Yeah, 2 flashes expended on both sides. All 4 flashes in the exchange going over to nothingness, going over to cooldown.
และทำให้สเกลไม่ต้อง TP แล้วเวฟดันเข้าครับสวยจัดครับ
Mid laners trying to make the play.
We
I
got
really
TP
thought
now.
that I was favoring the situation there for BNK. If those chains connect, they do. And he has Kingslayer, but
ล่นบนมันก็ชิวๆนะ
confident. And in fact, they were able to trade it back and get the first blood.
Yeah, it was nicely done.
คือเคนเนนมีหน้าที่ในการที่จะดึงเลือดให้เยอะที่สุด
trying to fight with zero mana was a real difficulty. As now Clear does get closed in on by Kingen, but able to answer a lot of damage back with that W.
ตอนที่คิงเอ็นลัดมินเนี่ยนในป้อมโอ้ทีพีไปแล้วด้วยโอ้ยแย่แล้วว่าคิงเอ็นทีพีแล้วนี่ว่า
going to be able to navigate this. Right now it is just taking abuse here on this top side and trying to take the farm where he can.
Yeah, remember Clear has Ignite.
Taken out.
So
อีกไหนเนี่ยที่พี่บอกว่าเคนเนนแพทเนี้ยมันเอาอีกไหนมามันเก่งครับแล้วยังมีกันเบส
Level 6 is going to be there faster for Clear. King has to back here.
เราจะไม่ค่อยได้เห็นเคนเนนเอาอีกไหนมาเท่าไหร่ครับแต่แพทนี้ก็จะได้ทีพีฟรีก็เอามาได้ครับแต่ว่าต้องพี่คิดว่าถ้าคุณเอาอีกไหนมาคุณต้องมีคอสมิกอินไซด์ไม่งั้นทีพีมันจะคูลดาวน์นานไป
Can be a tough time. See whether Clear can actually carry that one forward or whether it's going to be Sponge creating that advantage. You can see Kingen does make his way back. It's a cannon wave.
คือต้องเอาล็อกคูลดาวน์สเปล
so
มา
he is able to get back here.
Yeah, he is significantly down in CS as you'd expect. As here comes the ult.
Yeah, Oriana comes. So the Shockwave comes in from the Silas, and now Scout's in so much trouble. Vikla looking for it. No flash, no chance. Solo bolo for Vikla in the mid lane.
Yeah, Vikla is just feeling himself in this matchup. Like he has had played even level 1 with insane confidence. Gets to level 2, right? Gets that stun, and he has just been non-stop. You know, basically hands checking Scout, and he's winning out. Gets level 6 faster there, the faster Shockwave, and he just does not miss today.
Yeah, that was not how I was expecting this early game to go, as this was the lane where I thought Nongshim were going to be able to play through, right? The mid lane was going to be it, and now it is kind of a disaster, as a Silas that can run away with the lead is just going to be so difficult to deal with. Let's have a look at this one more time.
Goes in, gets level 6.
Yeah, and Scout didn't have it yet.
And Scout, I think, just did not realize he would have level 6 on that engage. Shockwaves the minions and dies.
Yeah, I think probably just knew that he was dead. No flash, no chance. And now Vikla, level advantage, and feeling absolutely fantastic here in this mid lane.
I mean, this can really snowball as well, this type of lane, if the mage falls behind in any matchup, or even though you have the range advantage. Like, Silas just starts trading with you, he's got health.
Oh, the hands just dead!
Oh my god.
Okay.
แล้ว3คิวเป็นแบบ
Well, now Taylor's in a whole lot of trouble as well. Does still have flash up and available, but man, where did that
ตายแบบไม่ได้ไฟ
go?
อะตายในเลนอะ
To the death chamber.
Ah, right. Sorry, thanks, Wolf.
He'll be back in about 2 seconds.
So glad that this is a
ลิ
duo
สต้า
cast.
มันมาเล่นกับ
He's
วาลา
got
แล้วมัน
teleport, so he can get right back in there. He's gonna maybe try to make something happen.
แต่อันตีดีจริงอะตอนนี้ไซรัสออกได้แต่ละตัวแจ่มๆทั้งนั้นเลย
Shot out, clear. Kite and Kingen around. Does manage to at least snag him with that Q.
It just feels like there's no
ตั้งใจรวบมินเนี่ยนครับ
like you mentioned the mid lane
เพราะไงก็ตายอยู่แล้ว
felt like the most stable start
ส
but
เกา
you're
ก็เลย
like
ต้อง
oh man the
รีบ
early
เคลีย
game
ร์
is
เหมือน
gonna
อาร
be
มณ์
great
แบบ
for Wukong either in the
ลัมเบอร์อี
Pantheon
ควอไลเซอร์ใส่
because
มิน
ultimately
เนี่ยน
they were able to
มันก็
trade that
ไม่ร
kill
อดอยู่แล้ว
back in the mid lane but otherwise you're just kind of losing everywhere. How do you get back into this game without big power from your jungle? And this
ข้างบน
is just
โดน
Lens
เคาน์เตอร์พิก
getting
ตรงกลาง
caught
โดนเคาน์เตอร์พิก
and gets rooted. And that's that.
Oh.
Diablo does not even hesitate. He's like looking for more
ก็เลย
skill sets.
ลำบาก
Like, oh yeah, I guess he's just dead already.
And the flash had to be employed as well.
ข้างล่าง
and
จริง
it
ก็โดน
just
เคาน์เตอร์พิก
adds
นะเพราะว่า
insult to
SBL
injury, doesn't it really? So it's almost a 2,000 gold lead here for BNK at the 8-minute mark. And I just don't feel like it gets better just
พี่ว่า
yet
เฟิร์สพิก
from
อาจจะไม่
here,
ดี
right?
ว่ะ
Obviously, Sponge does now have the Cyclone
ถู
up
ก
and
ป่ะ
available.
ต้องเล่นเป็น
Later
ต้องเล่น
game
เป็น
team
second pick
fights
นะ
are going to look strong, but
ไม่งั้นไม่โดน counter pick เลนเป็นระเบิด นอกจากเลนจะแข็งแบบ Gen G แบบไม่สนอะไรเลยอะ
hasn't been shown yet.
คือเจอได้หมด
throwing out an ultimate here in lane just to try and keep himself alive and get a shove going.
I mean, the quest advantage for the lanes here is going to start to be felt,
Dandy อาจจะ
you
ต้อง
know,
เปลี่ยน
pretty soon. Once those
เปลี่ย
start
นวิธีคิดว่า
completing,
คือ
Silas is going to have his first because he's been doing so much damage to Scout.
เลน
Now
ยังไม่
his
แข็ง
bottom lane
นะ
has
ก็
been
ต้อง
pushed
ต้อง
in
ได้ counter
super
pick ไป
hard,
ก่อน
and then top lane needs no explanation. Kingen doesn't have money.
Oh, there's a slicing maelstrom here as Kingen doesn't have that ulti available. Ult comes through here from Raptor as well, looking for the flash stun, and he will be able to find it. Clear will have the follow-up as well, and finds the Qs from both of them, and Raptor's able to lock down that kill. There
น้อง
is
ชิม
the
น่าจะ
triple rush on the
2-0ป่าวะเนี่ย
lens, taking a fair bit of damage himself. Does have the ulti.
ไม่รู้ว่าเลนไหนจะช่วยได้เลยอะ แล้วอย่างที่พี่บอกวูคองพี่ไม่ชอบเพราะว่ามันซ่อมเลนอย่างนี้ยากเว้ย
it comes through there from Raptor, and Kingen sees it, instantly flashes, but it's just
มัน
not enough.
มันซ่อมเลนให้ไม่
He's
ได้
able to
อะ
flash follow there for the stun setup. They have just enough damage. He gets the
เพราะว่า
empowered
มันต้อง
Q to take him down.
มันจะทีเผลอแบบมาแบบแพทติออนไม่ได้
Gold leads here. They're in every roll over a kill.
Oh no.
มัน
That
ตีไป
was an
ไม่โดน
E. That was not even a flash.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit dire here for Nongshim.
He has barrier, by the way. I don't even know if he can do anything with that if he hits that.
No, I don't.
และถ้าพรุ่งนี้ทีวันแพ้อีกก็คือมีหัวหน้ากลุ่มคนเดียวว่าที่ชนะ
That's what that ulti was saying. As Diablo able to
ยังเหลือ
snipe
ทีมนึงที่ว่ามี
that cannon as well, which is very satisfying. Raptor now Sundered Sky in hand. Does
ไม่
have
เหลือ
that
แล้ว
item
ไม่เหลือ
advantage.
พรุ่งนี้ถ้า
Trinity
เกิด
Force is on the way here for Sponge.
ถ้าทีวันแพ้ก็
Going to be able to avoid
มีแค่เจนจีที่ชนะครับที่เหลือคือ
the route there. But now
กลุ่มนรก
possible
ครับ
opportunity as Kingen does have backup this time
พรุ่ง
around.
นี้ DN Super ที่เจอ DK
Yeah,
นี่
Can't find an inroad.
Yeah, Clear is just like,
พี่ว่า
well,
สูสี
I
ได้อยู่นะ
expected
เพราะว่า
this. I played around it. He has control vision
Super
on the
ก็
tri-brush
เก่ง
as well.
DK ก็
And
ดี
so
ครับ
there's just no in, like you say. And this is just going to be Dragon. It's a slightly late Dragon, to be sure, at 10 minutes here, but
Oh no, he's
goes
lost
over.
the wave. Oh dear. Well, it's going to be difficult for Kingen. We've got 3 seconds on the Slicing Maelstrom as well. Clear is once again going to be dangerous.
This blind Renekton might be, when Kennen is up, might be something to avoid in the future.
Man, and it feels so good as well, building Gunblade on Kennen specifically, because like you want to have a Vamp Scepter in lane. Like it just feels so good having that item.
Like we saw Zeus, you know, use Vamp Scepter in lane when he's going to AD Kennen, but this is something else entirely, obviously, and Clear is
พ
just
อได้
like,
การเบร
I'm
ดมา
going
แบ
to
บ
proc
เคนเน่มันเลือดแบบส
every
บาย
chance
อะ
I get. And
มันสามารถตี
you know, Electric
ตรง
has been
ข้าม
buffed
ได้โดย
quite
เลือด
a
ตัวเอง
few
ไม่ลดเลย
times,
เพราะว่ามันมีทั้ง
I like to say.
โดรันเบดแล้วก็แวมพลิก
When you have these
ก็คือ
item
มัน
advantage,
sustain ใน
and
เลน
once
ตัว
you
เอง
have
ได้สบาย
Gunblade,
เล
you
ย
can slow and just like guarantee your stuns. Your ultimate's always going to be big. You
เคนเน่น
can
พี่
heal
ให้
with
เป็น
it,
S
get on
บว
top
ก
of the
แบบ
enemy AD carry. Peel
พร้อ
even
มสับ
against. I mean, there's just so many things.
Oh, this time Chains of Corruption is
Don't die
going to
on it.
land, and there is the
Die support,
wombo
but don't die.
combo. Taeun on the board.
Oh, Clear.
Got to take one down. Okay, Clear is also in trouble. Does find the Slicing
Yeah,
Maelstrom for a
maybe
bit of
fat.
a stun, and
Oh, yeah,
Kingen
yeah.
is able to wipe him out.
Raptor
Raptor's
wow.
going to show up, but he's by himself. As now
Kingen
Viklo
miễn
looking
tỷ
for
à?
it once again, but this time Scout able to stand his ground, make something happen. Kingen just wants to have some spare time with this lane, and he will be able to get it. Teleport is there for Clear with his top lane quest. And so we'll be able to make it back to this lane if he would like to, but there is a good answer for Nongshim, and they really start closing that gold gap that was really starting to balloon.
Yeah, well, that was a really cool move there from Vikla. I thought perhaps he was going to try to bait Scout in to a bad exchange. So going back to this one, unfortunately, as Diablo has Arcane Shift with his Nico, does not flash the chains, and it gets taken out. And they are going to try to make something happen in the jungle here, but I don't think it's going to amount to anything in live. And the reason why Clear steps up like this, despite knowing there's a really high chance that Sponge is still here, is because he has his jungle nearby with ult.
เอา
The
จริงเนี่ย
timing, though,
ฆ่าได้นะเว้ย
of the
พี่
engage
ว่า
of Sponge,
ฆ่าได้
quick snap flash,
เสียดายจัด
Cyclone, he
แต่
gets
ว่า
it
เพราะว่า
out,
แบบ
which
พี่
means
เงินบอกว่ามันโดนติด
he
อีก
gets
ไน
the
อยู่ไง
ult too. This is timing is too
พอพี่เงิน
fast
ติดอีก
for
ไนอยู่
Raptors
ก็เลยแบบ
ultimate to come in and pack
กด
the
อันติ
play
อาจจะ
time.
เลื่อนเด้งไม่
It
โอ
was
เค
well
อะ
played
ก็เลยแบบ
by
ปล่อยดี
Nongshim.
กว่า
Be able to have sort of a little bit of an advantage, and when you're against the global of the Pantheon, it is
แล้ว
difficult
ก็
to
ได้
have
เคนเน่น
that
ก็โอเค
moment.
แล้ว
So well played by them in order to do so. But Vikla, you can see, has his dash cannon now completed, and the Silas, when he's unlocked, is just going to be so difficult for Nongshim to deal with. So BNK still haven't seen quite the team fights that we're kind of looking for here, as he does avoid so much of the damage out of Scout just there.
Man,
เควส
Vikla
คือแบบ
is actually out
ตาม
of
หลัง
his
อยู่
Dancing this game.
Yeah.
พิกล้าเก่งจัดเลย
It's like
แต่คือ
he's moving
ซีซั่น
like
ที่แล้วยัง
Messi,
ไม่ได้
man.
ดูเก่งขนาดเนี้ย
He's
ซีซั่นนี้ดูเก่งจัด
dribbling
เลย
He's in Scout's head completely. He lives there.
Actually out of control. I mean, obviously that he just avoids everything and like nothing happens, but it was really cool to watch.
It was very cool to watch. And that may actually, you know, affect the mental game for Nongshim, right? So it might be relevant as Taeun going to be moving in, looking for Kellen, wanting to try and find that option as he does connect the Q.
Doesn't use his ult, just wants to push
Lang
Kellen
จัด
out without it, so he can still use that tool later, and he is successful. Kellen still has his flash.
Yeah, Arcane Shift just to avoid getting pulverized there by Lehens. Does do a fair bit of damage here, does Diablo, now that Trinity Force is complete.
The game state here, you know, obviously after those big plays, like they were able to kill Clear, they were able to get the kill onto Kellen. Feels a little bit better here for Nongshim, but the problem is they haven't really been able to get back control of, you know, the top or mid lane. Bottom lane looking a little bit better with some resources given. Let's see if Sponge can make anything happen here. I mean, this ward is going to say, I think, absolutely not. But
yeah,
I think what, I was just going to say briefly, like, I think what Nongshim need to get back in this game fully is just a one-team fight on an objective with a really nice Cyclone, Shockwave combo. Then they can get back into the driver's seat. But right now, around the map, it's just kind of like duck and cover.
Yeah. Well, there is the Cyclone on to Kellen. He will find a pop blossom on the 3 and flash his way out. As now Raptor looking for that opportunity. There's a decent Shockwave to come on through, but not quite getting the kills. Is now Scout over the wall to try and keep himself alive. The Unbreakable Will just in front of BNK. True Shot Barrage sails over to provide morale for the team that is otherwise not doing too much more, and everyone walks away.
So mess up Clear's lane state.
Chains of Corruption does come on down as Diablo takes a lot of damage from the combo out of Taeun.
Starting to hit pretty hard. Raptor is going to come up here and start up this Herald. As all those health bars were expended in that last fight, the flash is down for Scout, his ult is down. Raptor is just going to start this one up, knows that he has a cannon coming up here, who also has teleport now, by the way, with this Royal Quest, of course. Really hit on that, but that is why you can take Ignite now. Even though he didn't get a kill with Ignite, like that extra pressure, the fact that that existed is part of why that CS advantage is there. Raptor does take the Herald completely with no challenge, and that may just get dropped into the mid lane to try to secure Bio for this Dragon fight. Scout's ult's coming back up, Sponge's ult's coming back up, Sponge has flash. Like, this feels like the best chance Nongshim have to get back into this game if they can root for this fight. But if they mess it up, you know, it feels like just you're not ever going to get back in.
It really could be a catastrophe, especially with the fact that
if
Vikla is able to run amok utilizing that Unbreakable Will that we haven't quite seen just yet in this game. It's a difficult
เพราะว่ามันเป็นไอเทมแบบ
See whether he
แก็บโคเซอร์ที่แบบดีมาก
right now. It's like he's not opting in for it just yet.
คือถ้าเกิดนับว่าพาวเลอร์คือดีสุดอันนี้น่าจะลองลงมา
Champs have their 2 items, right? Orianna is sitting on a Rod of Ages on 3 stacks. You know, it doesn't feel
เกลฟอร์สมันก็
like this is the big oomph moment. It's going to be about the CC more than anything else.
อาจจะเล่นได้แค่ ADC.
Gets that flash headbutt pulve onto Kellen, but he's able to walk his way out of there. The Unbreakable Will is now going to be put together. Pop Blossom connects onto 3, but King and makes his way back into the back.
แต่ว่าข้างหลังมาสวยจังแล้วโอ้แต่ว่าในป้อมมันดีเคลียร์โอ้ตัดให้ไป2
Take 2 of them down though, as Diablo is free hitting in this back line. Taeun still alive though.
ไทยุนเมื่อกี้ถือว่าเรียงสกิลสวยดีครับ
has the turret and has his all
ได้เคลียร์ไป
to help him out. 2 on the floor on both sides, but it looks like BK have control of the map.
เคลียร์มาแบบเคลียร์ให้จริงแต่ว่าได้กดกันเบสฟังงั้นนะเหมือนจะโดนซีซีจะกดกันเบสไม่ทันนะอุ้ยสเกลตายอีก
Get Dragon, I might kill the champion first, then get the Dragon.
โอเลียนหน้าตอนนี้คือใครเล่นไม่มีอันเป็นไปเหรอคือแบบหนักเหลือเกิน
Yeah, Rift Herald's still there. Diablo looking a little worse for wear though. Lehen's now without the ulti, but Diablo is very close to dead. Taeun just pushing him out. As now Kingen getting into that front line. Raptor wants to find it. Taeun, no! Oh, the overstep, and Kingen cannot help him there.
I mean, BNK were like, you know, we could just drop Herald, let it go, let it crash, take a Dragon. But we could also kill Scout and then bait Nongshim into another bad fight.
ปู่น่าจะโดนแบนอาเซียคือว่าอาเซียปู่
As I mean, this starts off looking like okay, maybe
คือพี่ไม่ได้กลัวอาเซียปู่กลัวเจสโอเนอร์นี่แหละ
But then I think it's Taeun who actually catches clear here.
แต่คนอื่นไม่ได้อะไรบ้างเราแต่เจสโอเนอร์เนี่ยไม่รู้เป็นไง
Oh, and it was Chains of Corruption stolen
by
Vikla as
owner
well. That's what held them all in position for so long after the cannon ulti.
But then here, Scout avoids this Q. Diablo takes an extra turret shot, but then, I mean, what is he going to do? He doesn't have ult, he doesn't have flash. Raptor ults him, they take the turret out, and then Lehen's and crew are like, we have to stop them. And they unfortunately are unable to do so. The stun comes through from the Pantheon. Lehen's super low, doesn't have his ultimate, can't peel for his team anymore. In live, by the way, it's more of a disaster.
Yeah, Clear is likely to die. There he is. Just sort of sliced up. Pop Blossom is going to connect onto a few, but Raptor's also dead. Vikla now has the ulti.
วิกล้าแต่วิกล้ามันไซรัสมันตัวแบบ7 บาทเลยดิไม่ไหวเว้ยโอเลน่าตัว2 บาทดาวเดียวอยู่เลยไซรัส2 ดาวแล้ว
going to deter BNK from going for anything else.
This game is getting weird.
Very weird. As Diablo and Taeun, this could be a battle for the ages, but just going to walk away.
I mean, it looks like Kingen might get the whole turret here. There's just no one to answer his push right now. He got the kill onto Clear. Raptor was bottom side. And
Oh, Kingslayer to close the gap here on to Scout, finds the chains here as the Oriana's in trouble. Pickler doesn't have the ulti, but he's kind of feeling okay about it as Kellen's moving in. Does not manage to get that snare, but there is the shockwave to lock it down still. Sponge able to answer one back. Diablo moving down here towards his bottom side as the Warrior Trickster will get Sponge out of there. A 1-for-1, but the turret not long for the world, so a bit of extra money into BNK's pockets.
Kingen did not get the full turret on the top side, got it down to one plate. Still was able to pick up a significant amount of money. It just doesn't feel like it's equivalent still. As we'll watch how this broke out. He just gets the stun as ult is ticking. And the stun is not enough here for clear. Just gets Renektoned. Yeah. Doesn't have any friends, doesn't have enough damage to use that stun to kite him out and take him out. Then here, aggressively pushing towards the bottom side of the map is Raptor, right? Which is why they were able to make that play on the top side at the same time. Lens is Alistar, so can buy a bunch of space here, but there's just too much B&K. And Vikla has just been getting so much value out of his stolen ultimates. I mean, he's untouchable in this fight. No one can shut him down.
And let's see whether we can find yet another one. May not be able to get another unbreakable will, but we'll just have to see as the Cloud Drake does go over to Nongshim. It's going to be one apiece. Chemtech Soul in this game. Does feel fantastic if you're a Sylas, to be fair, but also for Renekton, feels pretty good. All right, well, both teams probably feeling pretty good about where the Soul is at, but right now, I don't think that's really at the forefront of their minds. BNK looking to try and continue pushing this advantage that they've managed to accrue for themselves.
We kind of got to this game state now where, like, yes, B&K have a pretty huge lead. It's 2,000 gold for them. As Ezreal is looking phenomenal. Sylas is quite large. Pantheon has been running the jungle. But there was a few like weird exchanges that happened where Nongshim is still kind of in touching distance and some of their spikes are starting to get hit. And the Orianna is eventually going to finish that Rod of Ages. Once she hits 2 items, be a bigger threat. So BNK need to be measured with their aggression, but can continue the aggression. Yeah, this is not looking too measured.
ปั่นสวนรวมมาปั่นต่อแต่ว่าอยู่ไหนเลนตันมาแล้วเลนตันมาแต่สเกลแล้วโดนกาแฟออกคิงเอ็นเล็งไปที่แพนดิออนก่อนแพนดิออนต้องตายแพนดิออนตายแรปเตอร์ตายตรงนี้เคลียร์ไปในการสเกลจุดไฟสเกลตายไหมไม่ตายเหลือนิดเดียวเคลียร์ตายไหมเคลียร์ตายแต่ก็แรกกับสปอนแค่ยูบอกช่วยกูด้วยช่วยกูก่อนเคียร์พยายามแบกอยู่ครับจระเข้
and we'll be able to stop them from moving forward. So it's
คี
actually
เย็น
a
มันไม่มาเมื่อกี้
1-exchange
คิดว่าจะระเบิด
They end up winning out. Taeyeon was unable to join the fight, and yet still, like the beginning of that fight was okay. It didn't look measured, but it was fairly measured. However, oh, that was really scary.
เคไหวกับไซรัสเปล่าพี่ถ้าเอาอีกไหนมาไหว
Scout's like, no, I'm gonna cancel this one.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Just in case. Smart move.
แต่ก็ไหวนะพี่ว่า
But
ไม่
the aggression
เป็นเอาอีก
stopped
ไหน
being
มาก็
measured,
ไหว
right? Like the initial part of this makes a ton
มั
of
นตัน
sense. Like
เรื่อย
you have the numbers advantage, right? You're gonna get this turret. It's all
ๆเคมีทัสเต
fine.
นด้วย
But Sponge has this really
ของ
cool
เขาเลิก
combo.
กับ
The
ท่า
Orianna
คิว
doesn't do that much damage yet, but from here you can just go, all right, well, we got the turret. It's fine.
สวยจัดดูแรปเตอร์ครับโดนจึกจึกจึกจึกจึก
And then Diablo sees that there's a Varus in there, and he's
ส
like,
เกาตรง
I'm
นี้
not
คือ
even
แบบ
gonna go with my
เกือบ
team.
ตาย
I'm
แต่
gonna
ไม่
chase
ตาย
Taeyeon out. I think if he just goes up here, they do a lot more.
อ๋อเคยูตาย
He got
คือมึงเราจะกลับมาได้แล้วว่าแล้วตายเฉยเลย
Context. You don't need context. He got poked out, and then was in the wrong position as Nongshim now all grouped. As BNK looking to try and siege this inner turret in the mid lane. Got a cannon towards the bottom side as well. Clear sort of free pushing right now as well. Teleport in hand if he would like
ไม่รู้จะกลับมา
to
ตี
use
ใคร
it.
อ่ะมันดีทุกคนเลย
While they keep them busy, this cannon is just going to have free reign, and that is exactly what we can see here.
มันไม่น่าเป็น
Already
วู
taken
ขอ
a
ง
plate or
น่า
two.
เป็น
Might
แบบ
be able
นิ
to
ดา
get
ลี
another
อะไร
one.
เงี้ย
As you can see, 3 grubs here on BNK at the same time, helping out with that split push.
Yeah, I mean, this is for Nongshim now. There's just no real estate that belongs to them.
Do you want to know the cup half full though, Will?
Sure.
It's been about a 3K gold lead like this whole game.
It's like it went up like a little bit. It was 2K for a while.
That's
แต่แค่
true. But it
3,400 ครับ
hasn't gone up
เฟียร์
noticeably
มันไม่ได้
largely.
I think that
ไม่ได้หนั
more
ก
than
มาก
gold right now is the fact
เงิน
that
นำแค่นิดเดียว
Nongshim just don't have any vision. They have no part of the map I was just getting into that belongs to them. Like they don't have control over Baron. They don't have control over River. It's not like they have a strong side of the map they can play through here.
โอ้โหไม่ตายยังไงดีวะ
I guess he was like, I got edge tonight. I'm fine. In fact, not fine. As this was right after they had a big win on the top side.
หลบไปไซส์สเต็ปไปโดนตลอดเลย
By Raptor.
โคตรแซด
He's a very, very large Pantheon as well, 5, 2, and 4.
Notice
champion
that Nongshim are just kind of huddled around the Wukong right now. Like maybe they'll overextend
บาลอนนอกจากเจจีก็มีอะไรเฮ้ยนี่คุณหมิ่น T1 ขนาดนี้เลยเหรอแชมป์เวอร์นะครับแชมป์เวอร์ปี2026นะครับ25
Yep. Vikla also now has his arm guard complete.
เจิมนะเมื่อกี้ถือเป็นการเจิมมั้ว
dangerous Silas in these fights.
I mean, if we get to a really late game scenario, Scout will actually do huge damage, but it's just surviving until that point. That's where the Baron comes in, because more than Chemtech Soul, which is pretty good for Silas, but we're still so far away from it because it's such a late third dragon.
I mean, it's good for Ariana too, right? You got the shields.
Sure, it's just not that's the main point that teams are going to decide this game over. I think the Baron and how BNK decide to start it, turn off of it, or rush it. That's going to be the big sticking point here, because if they bomb a Baron setup, then Nongshim can get right back into the game. It's a massive lead, and they look like right now they have no intention of trying to do a Baron throw. They're just going to play through their prio and map control instead and try to set traps and try to set the idea of a Baron take is what's going to eventually pull Nongshim into them and they can win the fight. Because defensively, that Wukong ultimate is a big problem. Oriana, great in choke points defensively, but trying to walk over and use them against the Baron setup for BNK is going to be a little bit more challenging. They have so much vision, as you can see, to the right of the Baron pit all over the map. And they've even got this control ward here in the mid lane.
Yeah, the dragon has just spawned, but it looks like BNK, they have Baron on the mind. Look at the amount of vision. Like, it's kind of insane,
yeah, like,
the amount of vision control that they have.
BNK are just like, well, you guys
จะ2-0 หรือเปล่าคุณผู้ชมโอ้โหเจจีอุตส่าห์ชนะมา 2-0 ได้อย่างน้อย 2-1 ก็ยังดีได้ครับยิงลงตรงนั้นด้านหลังนี่หนักเหลือเกินแทยูนแฟนออกมาแล้วเจอวิกล่าตามจูบครับเรียบร้อยคีเกนสเตอร์แลกเด้งต้องออกแล้วตรงนี้คีเกนตกไปแล้วครับไม่ได้โดนไล่สปอนโอ้บายก่อนวิกล่า 1-3 ครับ 1-4 ด้วยซ้ำเพราะไปฆ่าแทยูนมา
A Vikla POM in my 2026 Wolf.
I mean, I've already got it locked in because this guy also saved the game so many times on Ari. Yes, Diablo is popping off, and yes, he got 13 kills on Yanara in game 1, is having an incredible Ezreal game. But for me, this game has been all Vikla all the time. And the second game, where he just runs it to you amongst 3 people and just murders them all and then walks out casually. I think it's enough for me to say, we knew this guy was good at Silas, was one of the picks he prefers.
คือคนที่ตายก็มีแค่เคเล่นคนเดียวที่เหลือคือแล้วดูดิแบบก๊อปอลิสตานตีมาคือแบบดูดิคือแบบโคตรอ่ะไอ้เชี่ยทำอะไรไม่ได้เลย
Oh my god.
As Clear peels Kinging away, Pantheon ult to follow up. He knows he can go this deep. He knows his team's there for him for backup. They already got the Baron. And this is the game-ending play.
And he still had his arm guard.
Yeah, he's why would he ever try to be safe?
Yeah, Kellen having a pretty good time as he kind of died at the very beginning of the fight without doing too much. But the rest of his team, my goodness, what a performance. 6-1-2. And does have 10 stacks on that Dark Seal as well. Would like to see the Forbidden Book
ทำอย่างไรดีครับพี่ตัดฮิวแล้วแต่ว่าคืออลิสตาอันตีมันแจ่มมากๆเลยสำหรับไซรัสเลเนกต้าอันตีก็ดีมูคอันตีก็
Precisely.
มีวาลัสกับโอเลน่าที่โอเลน่าก็ดีวาลัสก็เฉยๆแต่จริงก็ดีนะCC แล้วแบบ
that's going to be enough. We'll see whether BNK can actually win Worlds, but I think that maybe it's too early to tell.
โอ้เปิดสวยอยู่อันตีไม่โดน
Chains of Corruption does go wide though, and now Kellen off the bus and straight into that backline to look for the Pop Blossom, and they'll wipe out 2 of them before this fight has even really started. Kingen gets melted as Vikla doesn't get the chains, as there is a Grand Starfall as Raptor flashes forward, Scout not long for the world, and Taeun this time around is going to be saved till last by BNK as the chains connect, and the cleanse ain't enough for him. A double kill for Vikla, and they will now put an end to this game.
Yeah, Vikla was like, guys, keep up. Raptor, why haven't you ulted yet? Get in the space. Go in between the turrets. I am going to maul them. Then down they fall. Nongshim looking out of sorts in this one.
And BNK looking amazing.
The dive, the setups, the coordination, unreal. The draft
คือบายพิกเยอะไป
pretty unique here as one last ceremony for Vikla, as I think he, even though Diablo
บายพิกกลางบายพิกบนบายพิก ADC ล่างโดนเคาน์เตอร์พิกทุกเลนระเบิด
Got the cameraman vote as well, as you can
ไม่มี
see.
เลนไหน
The
ผ่านเลย
first one we saw as we hopped out of the game. So incredible performance by Vikla.
แต่ว่า
My
คิงเงินอ่ะ
goodness, like
ดีสุด
there's
ละ
a few
คือ
things that weren't
ผ่าน
on my
มาได้
bingo card, and one of them that wasn't on my bingo card was Vikla having a complete pop-off first game here in the LCK Cup. And a great look for BNK FX.
Scout had a rough 2025.
FX นี่เป็น
His
อะไรที่แปลก
Kesper
มาก
Cup was shaky
ปีที่แล้ว
at best,
T1
even though
เลื
he
อก
had some
FX
great
มานะ
moments. But
แล้ว
Vikla
ก็
was the reason I voted for Nongshim. I was like, I think he will beat Vikla. I think he'll outclass
แล้ว
him.
FX ก็แพ้หมดเลย
We'll see a big bounce back in the bottom lane. We did not see any of those things, and BNK played
แล้วพอปีนี้
phenomenally
แบบ
and absolutely smashed Nongshim in this series.
ไม่ได้แบบคืออยู่ฝั่งตรงข้าม
And this is a great look. His hand's still shaking. You can see there.
Yeah.
It's the kind of game you play where nothing can get you down.
ปรากฏ
Your
ว่า
confidence is through the roof.
ชนะ
You can't even chart it. And that's the explosive play from Vikla we've seen at his best. The explosive play that sent him to FlyQuest, right, where he was scouted and sent to the LCS.
I reckon, like, whoever it was that scouted Vikla on FlyQuest is, like, watching today and he's like, see, this is why.
พรุ่งนี้ก็คีวันกับภาวนาครับอย่าพลาดนะพรุ่งนี้
We took the LA
มารับชมกันได้ในวันนี้ต้องขออนุญาต
Exactly.
ลงไวเหมือนเดิม
It took a bit of time
ไปทำคลิปให้เสร็จก่อน
before we managed to LCK him again.
แล้วเดี๋ยว
thanks
พรุ่งนี้จะได้ลงคลิป
for
แล้วก็
creating so much work.
สบายๆแล้วครับ
How could Papa Smithy have known that his true home was the LCK?
โอเคครับวันนี้ก็ต้องขออนุญาตครับทุกท่าน
I don't know. Vikla, we're gonna have a look at the
ขออนุ
Vikla
ญาต
highlight reel here.
ลงไปทำคลิปเทียร์ลิสต์ให้เสร็จก่อน เดี๋ยวไม่เสร็จเฮ้ยเจอกันครับทุกท่าน รอรับชมเทียร์ลิสต์ได้ครับ วันนี้ขออนุญาตครับบายบายครับ ไปทำคลิปต่อแล้ว ย่า เจอกันครับบายบายครับ เจอกันครับ ย่า